Those players, those 10 players will be taking the stage. So let's welcome in our first team.
Udah berapa ban gue? Udah terkumpul berapa?
Welcome on stage, Team Liquid.
We got Mika, Nisha, Poppy, Insania, and TI champion 33 taking the stage under leadership of
minuman mabuk
This is the team that has been a dominant run through this upper bracket 2-0 everybody. That's
Dia mau
their
jadi
way,
bandar miras,
including
minuman keras.
that they are so familiar with by now. Let's welcome on stage Gaimin Gladiators.
Itu boleh, bro. Seminggu ini kadang dino setur, dino iki ngono ya, Mbak ya.
I know there's also so much love and friendship, and I know they're gonna give it their all on the battlefield. I don't think we're gonna go for any favorites here, especially after what we saw yesterday when both of these teams faced each other. This is a fresh start for both 𝙎𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼. Both teams fresh in the booth, one best of 5, that's all.
That's all it takes. You got here, I'm not gonna say you're gonna forget about how you got here because there's a lot to learn. If we go back to 2023, the way Gaimin played, when they got out of the groups, they were not playing as fast. Suddenly, they are stepping it up. They're turning these games into 20-25-minute games. It's all about the speed. These two teams are super effective at dominating the early stage, turning that early advantage into Roche into high ground push.
And that's going to be the question I'm looking at in the grand finals. Both teams have been the quickest so far at the international. The way that they break down their opponents, close out victories, really build leads when they know they can come back. Well, either team, if you pivot coming into grand finals, go a little bit more defensive, play for a late game, kind of bait their opponent in. Because at the moment, it really is a two clash of equal play styles.
So last year, it felt like GG always had Team Liquid's number because they played very similar playstyles, but a lot of Team Liquid's tempo snowballing started from the lanes and depended on the lanes, whereas GG did something similar, but they crushed lanes too hard, and Liquid were never able to get the upper hand in that sense. This time around, it feels like Team Liquid, while still crushing the lanes, have focused a lot more on their early game map movement, their twin gate rotations, their smokes to mid. They've been looking so sharp and clean, and that's where they've been getting majority of their dominance from, not just their laning stage.
And we'll see who comes out ahead of laning stages in this upcoming game. I think it's also time to talk about one lane in particular with that in mind. It's a lane that always draws attention. Of course, I'm talking about Quinn versus Nisha in the mid lane. I think 𝙎𝙀𝘿𝑄𝑟𝑒 this tournament, Nisha has been on fire, one of his best tournaments, if not the best tournament he's ever played.
I think we say that pretty much every single tournament where Nisha participates. If we go back to earlier at the start of the year, he did win that 1v1 tournament at 𝐵𝐵. This guy is just a beast. He has been, I would say, the most stable Dota performer of all time. I don't remember last time Nisha had a bad performance in a game where it really matters. And heroes that he does play, he has a pretty large hero pool, and he's always super active. If you look at the KDA stats, he's always going to be pretty much in top 5. This guy is just a beast.
He really is, and he's incredibly talented because I think out of all of the top performing players at TI, he has the highest performance to pub ratio. He does not need to be pubbing 24/7 to play at the level that he does. And that really is just pure talent. On that topic too, usually at TI, we have a handful of rampages per year. This year, there's only been one rampage, and it's been by Nisha's Puck versus Extreme Gaming 7 days ago. So he has definitely made his mark here already.
Not only that, just like the way in which he's conducting himself in the playoffs. It's like he's got 2 deaths in one game, 3 in another. We are going to see the rampage here. Like it's the clutch, disengage to then find the opportunities, and that is where Liquid is looking so exceptional. They're enabling each other to pop up. And Nisha on the puck, that is a hero that I'm looking for in the grand final. So far, he's 4-for-4 with it. But in the draft, can you really get that ban in play? Can you really ban a puck and feel good about your integrity? And there is a rampage, a rare occurrence at the international, like Effie was mentioning. But yeah, Nisha, he is insanely good right now.
And in top form, it needs to be said. To be fair, though, both of these teams have been in top form. Otherwise, you do not make it to the international grand finals. Another matchup that draws attention from us is that off lane. We have to compare the 2 off lanes. First of all, we already mentioned Ace, a hometown hero, but also one of the players, Tigov, that has the most experience possible in competitive games.
Yeah, so Ace is about to potentially, if this goes to 5 games, he'll hit 2,000 Korea pro games played. And that's an elite club. There's only like, what, 20, 25 players in the world that have got 2,000 pro games. So to think about Ace, he's had such a long career, in and out of the limelight, but right now, on the grand stage, it's just to think, 2,000 games.
That is a lot of pro games. 33 still has a little bit of a ways to go, but both offlaners having a strong mark, Effie, on the way that these 2 teams operate.
They really do, and 33 is such a niche style of offlaner in that he has a specific hero pool that he hones to perfection. He is so farm intensive. He hits his timing so fast, and typically any team that plays with 33 plays around his timing, his snowball, his calls. And that's why Team Liquid at the start of the year looked a little bit shaky, because when you're adapting to such a niche offlaner, it does take time to get there. But they finally did. We saw them at the last Riyadh Masters. Some of their games, they were a little bit disjointed. You'd see 33 boots of traveling to a bot lane while the other 4 took a fight on the other side of the map. But as that tournament progressed, they got to the point where they finally connected and they made it to the grand finals there too.
33 is what we call the biggest nerd in Dota in a good way. This guy pretty much experiments with everything. He is the guy who innovates the most. When it comes down to his hero pool, it's not as big, but he also tries to break the game with some extra gold. He's playing the Visage, he's playing this Doom. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, he was testing out this Doom and bought Hand of Midas 5 or 6 times with his facet, so that allows him to get more gold, buy an item, sell an item, go back for an item. This guy always finds something in the game, something that looks game-breaking, and it looks really good. And we're gonna see the new couple, the lane for life, new partners.
That's awesome. But just on the topic of 33 as well, he is such an asset to a team, not just as a player in terms of his skill level, but in terms of his ideas, what he brings to the table in terms of the draft and the meta. When a new patch comes out, you need players like him on your team that can break the meta, find out what is good fast, and you can see that his ideas have already leaked into the team as well.
I just hope that Gaming coming into this, how one-sided it was in the upper bracket where Liquid put them, Gaming to lower bracket. We've identified that he is the timing type player. In 15-20 minutes, he always hit his stride.
Emang dia udah lama kan pakai kacamata,
Cok. Aggressive key fight. They shut him down. We'll finally see Liquid have to play in a different style than pretty much their entire playoff front. Like, we're yet to see it. So maybe Gaming, if they can focus on their safe lane, try and punish 33, that's when, the real games will begin.
Yeah, I think there's one matchup that we haven't highlighted, I feel like, at all maybe in the last 2 weeks that we've been here. And that is the matchup of the 2 coaches, because just over 2 years ago, CY joined Gaming Gladiators, and at that point, because nobody knew who he was.
No, he was pretty much not known to the scene, but now we can see why they decided to pick him up because this guy is way too good. He's bringing so many fresh ideas. And on the other side, you had Blitz, 2019. He's sending out a tweet that Team Liquid, they need a coach. At the time, they were called Alliance. So he's building up a squad. He ends up coaching that squad because the rest of the team wants him to coach it. This guy too good. And also, Jabs, as an analyst, joins at the end of 2020. Now they have a KP as well. Dota player that has, great achievements throughout his career during the Elite League. They also had Jerex at one time during the coach. So the vibes that I'm getting from Team Liquid is one big happy family that has pretty much everything in their place. Every single time you see those guys on camera, they're pretty much vibing.
I think both teams just share the same philosophy, right? Like Dota's about not only competing, but also being friends out of the game, ensuring that you're able to work on your problems. If there is a problem, back in the day it was if there's a problem, kick them, get a new guy. Nowadays it's like, how can we work it out? Maybe is it a point of pressure that is being applied to you? How can we sort it out? And I feel like when you look at Celery, Tofu, CY, kind of that kind of gang compared to Blitz, like they are identical copies of themselves, just two different jerseys.
Yeah, and on the topic of coaches, it should be noted that CY, the coach of Gaming Gladiators, is also Danish. So this tournament does mean a lot to him. And that's actually how he got to coaching GG. He was friends with Ace for a long time. Ace vouched for him. He was brought to the team, and it clicked. He focused on leading by example. We would often see him in the lobby, telling his players to go to sleep early, to go to the gym, and he, similarly to Blitz, just wants them to all be able to be friends with each other. If there is a difference between these two coaches, though, I would say that CY is a lot more stat-oriented, whereas in Liquid there are people assigned to do that. CY also kind of takes the brunt of the research and the analysis.
Yeah, leading by example and growing as a team, I think for both of these squads, that has been the theme over the last years, I should say. This is the last years. That's why we see these 10 players, maybe 12 if you want to call it, or if you want to count all of Team Liquid's entourage as well. It is two big families on that stage up against each other in a best-of-5 grand finals. We also have to mention that we have the chance for one of these 12. One of these 12 has the chance.
Let's go. Ya belum ada, Cok.
Maybe even lead some of the team talks, depending on how game one goes. Like when they go backstage after game one, you're going to lean on 33. Okay, how for the grand finals? Because for these players to not lift an Aegis already, like then no one's going to know what this feeling feels like. There's not many players or teams that get to this stage. So I think Liquid might have the slight advantage there. Also, a little bit of a crowd advantage. All these camera shots that we keep showing. I'm seeing a lot of Liquid, banners. But yeah, TI appearances. They have been on their pursuit for the Aegis for multiple years. Interestingly, though, of course, Tofu, Celery, and 𝙈𝘀𝘶 only ever played with gaming. Hence, again, the camaraderie sticking together. It helps so much.
And to think about that, Quinn, he attended 6 TIs. This guy almost quit, and we would not witness his greatness. Because before joining Gaming Gladiators, he was, talking to him in an interview about it, that, because the results were not there. So he needed something else, some kind of a bump. And that's where the rest of the Gaming Gladiators kicked in.
Yeah, I mean, Quinn had such a long journey in his competitive career where he was so perseverant. He tried and he tried and he tried for those TIs, right? All the way, like, you go all the way back to FDL, Team Freedom, Quincy Crew, finally Sonics. It felt like as much effort and as much grinding as he was doing, it didn't amount to anything. And he was ready to retire up until he got that offer from Gaming Gladiators. And imagine if that hadn't happened. Everything would have been so different last year. The whole competitive scene would have been different. So Quinn really should be commended on his perseverance within the scene.
100%, 100%. And we should also highlight two people that we don't really talk too much about, because let's be fair, Nisha and Quinn, they take a lot of the spotlight, that happens with the mid lane. There is one person that for Gaming Gladiators, when they're winning, it's Quinn doing great. When they're losing, 𝙈𝘀𝘶 is the scapegoat every single time, T.
Yeah, but that's because 𝙈𝘀𝘶, he likes to be aggressive. He likes to go for the twin gate. He wants to be finding opportunities, taking the fight. And when we look at the overall structure of the team, Ace is a little bit more of a focal point for late game scaling, and 𝙈𝘀𝘶 he has to open up the game somehow sometimes. And so it can hurt them a lot, or it can get them to the grand finals of TI.
I mean, I think it's a perfect meta for that kind of carry style. First of all, the carry hero pool in these Wind Rangers and these Miranas and these Lunas and these Blink Dagger first DKs, this carry pool is made for hyper-aggressive early game players and not for the typical late game carry. And throughout this TI, we've seen that the teams who are unwilling to sacrifice their carries did not make it very far. Teams like BB Team, teams like XG, teams that refused to put their carry in a situation where they would die in the early game and they needed to enable them to have a perfect game, they just couldn't cut it. We've seen from Falcons, from Liquid, from GG, you have to be willing to throw your carry in a bad position early game if it's for the good of the team.
My only hope for that in this series, that we don't see Dyrachyo kind of move into the Clinkses and the Muertes that we've seen him trying to pick up, in earlier stages of the tournament. I want to see him on like the Alchemist, the Razor, Lone Druid, DK, the heroes that can throw himself into the fight and have that turnaround potential. When he's on these types of heroes, it is a scary game for gaming every single time.
And some of the top 3 safe lane combos that we've seen throughout the tournament, Mirana, Treant Protector, win rate is not there. I don't think we're going to be seeing Mirana played from a carry role anymore. The hero shines from position 4. The big one for me is Luna and Tusk. These are the heroes that kind of are dominating, especially Tusk being the first pick material, having overall pretty much every spell in the game that you need. You have double save, you have roach taking potential, you have extra damage, you also have BKB piercing abilities, block, whatever you need, you have it in Tusk.
You really do?
If we could walk down memory lane a bit, so we should touch upon the history of these two teams in a grand finals, because something happens to Team Liquid. Something happens to Team Liquid when they play that best of 5, because their history against Gaimin in best of 3s is actually really good. They've beat them multiple times in regular series, but once they get to these 5-game series, it feels like
something goes wrong, but that is when they come from the lower bracket. Potentially, this time will be different. As we mentioned earlier, this is a fresh series, a fresh best of 5, and how it will play out, nobody knows. But it is time to get started with our grand finals.
Team Liquid versus Gaimin Gladiators Grand Finals. Game 1.
It has begun, game 1 of our best of 5 here in Royal Arena in Copenhagen, Denmark. And for that first game, we got Team Liquid coming from the upper bracket to the dire side with first pick. They already got their hands on Nature's Prophet. Gaimin Gladiators will play this first game. From the Radiant side, they will also get that strategic overall last pick. And because I think we are seeing an opening here from both teams that is basically throwing out the playbook.
Pretty much. Team Liquid, they did not lose with Nature's Prophet yet. They played 2 games on 2 different roles.
Kamu kok centang 1, Males.
Open up earlier today, literally 2 hours ago when they played against Tundra. We kind of expected the hero to come out when Gaimin is going to be pushed against the wall, when they're going to be backs against the wall. So Underlord back in action.
Udah lama gua nggak ngeliat Furion carry.
3 going for that Hail Mary play behind the enemy throne and kill it.
Also, Nature's Prophet is a hero that is typically counterpicked, or was typically counterpicked throughout the last few months by Dragon Knight. Often teams have reacted to NP with this hero, but yesterday Team Liquid put Gaimin Gladiators in a position where they picked Dragon Knight twice and lost twice. So they're kind of just throwing them the gauntlet here. I dare you to pick Dragon Knight, I dare you to counterpick our Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, and the thing here with Nature's Prophet, I like how Gaimin have already made a statement. Nature's Prophet cannot play Dota if in the first 15 minutes you don't take towers. You can fall off and your entire game is built on momentum. So you pick an Underlord in the off lane, Quinn gets an anti-Prophet hero from the mid, and have a really strong safe lane. Now this Nature's Prophet will be a little bit lost in the early moves, looking on other heroes for Liquid to step up and fill that void. But luckily for Liquid, they're so aggressive that the weaknesses of a bad counter pick for the Natures, it will be fixed by other heroes. But something to consider.
Yeah, and betting out the Enchantress, this hero, we said it a lot of times, but I would say position 5 as well of the tournament, besides Tusk, when it comes down to damage dealing. Win rate, I would say it doesn't do her justice. This hero has been pretty much a turret with the pure damage, and also because you're playing off the greater treant, she can easily steal that, use it against you, so very good ban from Liquid.
And as we have the Grand Finals mini-meta already clear in Game 1, Gaimin having to ban the Rubik in the second phase because of the Underlord. You give a Rubik to Liquid, that's a free Pit of Malice, free Firestorm, he just becomes the better version of Underlord, but you'd never see that ban really if the Underlord wasn't picked.
Pask is still available. This is the hero that kind of struggles against root mechanics, against leashes, but we've seen in the previous series what he can do, even though playing in a bad matchup. This is just overall one of the best heroes that gives you everything, so I would see this hero being contested in the second pick phase.
Mirana and Omni-Knight are also available heroes that haven't gone ignored that much this TI. Mirana is a really great hero that you can build your draft around. Both teams have a good track record playing it, and it amplifies a lot of damage coming out from ranged cores like Furion. I would imagine picking Chen as well kind of increases that hero's value because of the arrow as a counter to his creeps. There is still the Tusk too, which is, again, hard to ignore. They've been playing it mostly on Boxy, where other teams have been running it on position 5 instead.
Chen is, in the hands of Celery, one of the best heroes that he can play. You got the Divine Favor for the armor as well in the games and the fights. Like those so many clutch moments. It's the aura from the Chen that he buys, the aura he provides from his spells, the bonus healing with then any jungle creep he wants to try and influence. It's so hard to deal with. Auras from Underlord, auras from Chen.
And it's all about the speed. If you have Underlord plus Chen, that also means that you will have two heroes who are going to be buying into auras, so you will hit an earlier timing, but I like this. This is Team Liquid's bread and butter. Tusk that we did mention, plus the Visage, super strong lane. You get that extra gold whenever you get the kill with Visage, up to 210 gold with the Facet. Super speedy draft.
It also gives you an overwhelming amount of tower pressure, because now you're looking at Visage plus the auras with his familiars at level 6. You're looking at the Nature's Prophet TP in with the Greater Treant, and I would imagine that Liquid want a hero that can go through the Twin Gate early, get that bottom lane tower with 33's Visage, kick the enemy carry out, and make Gaimin's maps smaller. This is where Chen does come into play a little bit, because Chen is also considered a counter pick to Furion, because he can enchant his Greater Treant and take that away.
Again, with Chen, the jungle, if you get the Frost Mage, get the Ice Armor from the jungle creep, you're throwing even more armor into a Tusk and a Nature's Prophet that likes to utilize the right-click damage, but still, CK. Strong lane. They're fitting the formula that I mentioned, right? Strong safe lane to try and apply punishment. Off lane that doesn't care about profit. They're taking the fight to Liquid in that laning stage.
CK was also one of GG's favorite pairings with Chen at the last tournament, the Riyadh Masters, where they would just throw in CK's body with all of Chen's healing and auras and try to out-pressure the enemies. This hero did fall out of meta. They're so cute. This hero did fall out of meta though because of the meta shifting to the semi-carry ranged laners, but I think within this draft it still does a great job.
Yeah, they've not played CK so far at the international. Again, we know that they play it throughout the year, so it shouldn't be a shock to Liquid.
I want to see which facet he's going to go for. Phantasmagoria, it does give you damage reduction on CK illusions, but Irrationality, that's the one that has been buffed. You can apply Break, Disarm, or Silence for a 50% of the base debuff duration. So it could be really nice against Visage.
This Batrider also very nice against Visage, especially in that early game. You want to kill Visage where he's most susceptible, which is the laning stage. If he has heroes that can go on him, that can reposition him, that's where you can threaten him the most before he gets his familiars up early, before he starts taking your towers early. So I would hope that this Batrider is being played on Tofu, that he's going to go through the gates and try to get 1 or 2 kills at least on Visage.
Now you see the mid lane, the undefeated Puck from Nisha coming in to punish the lack of lockdown. The Batrider, the Chen, if this is your support duo, it's really difficult for them to ever kill off the Puck. Same thing, like Underlord with a root, it's nice, but it's not enough. You always need that +1.
Remove Monkey on side of Liquid. This hero is still a bit... Oh, never mind. He's banned. He's banned. This is one of the worst matchups from Pucks we've seen. Gaming Gladiators kind of owned the map 7-8 minutes in. Yeah, I think Quinn in one of those games was godlike.
I would like to see Quinn get maybe
I was
about to say.
I want like a little bit of instant stun. Again, DKE is available, but that was like the old school. The new school is going for Earthshaker. Instant stun, there's going to be, again, not a lot of treants because it's the only single tree, but with the birds, the tree, the grouping, the natural objective pressure Liquid applies, you're going to have opportunities because Underlord will soak the initiation to get good jumps.
The Omni Knight ban would have been such a great hero for Liquid, especially with this Bat Rider coming out. The need to counter the lasso to make sure your carry Nature's Prophet isn't getting jumped on early on, it gets taken out. Another potential save support that Liquid could run versus the Bat Rider is Oracle. It is a hero that they enjoy.
This is gonna be sustained. Big fight. Nobody's gonna die instantly. So many saves coming out from, just Underlord with his auras, buying Chen with his ulti. Everybody has some kind of a lifesteal as well. I don't see any Shiva's buyer or Scotty buyers yet on side of Liquid.
Interesting, Gaming opt to ban the Clockwork instead of the Treant Protector. I think Liquid, Treant Protector, living armor against the CK, the overgrowth to kind of secure some additional team fight to ensure your lane goes well for the Nature's Prophet. Could have been pretty cool, but again, Clockwork a little bit more aggressive for the mid game at least potentially, but yeah, I'm expecting Treant from Liquid here.
Gaimin at the moment maybe realizing that Team Liquid can't really commit that hard. They don't really have a strong initiator like Clockwork would be if they got their hands on it. And Liquid ban out the sniper, and they got the double saving support with Shadow Demon. Still last pick for them.
They do. Shadow Demon also functions as an excellent save versus both the Bat Rider Lasso and the CK Stun. You just disrupt the target he goes on, and you just build those stacks up for your Visage in that triangle so that he could hit his timings faster. And it gives you the ability to set up on the map for the Nature's Prophet TP, which is very important. That is what Furion wants to play with, aggressive side lanes, so that he can take advantage of his global presence early on.
The one thing to add, Shadow Demon against CK, against his innate ability, whenever CK creates an illusion, there's a 50% chance, and their chance also applies to Shadow Demon. So if he uses Disruption, he could create more illusions out of CK.
It just helps against the aura as well. When Liquid want to push early on, one cheap aura from the Underlord is now mitigated. When you go on a hero, Shadow Demon can get rid of any of the buffs, so yeah, it helps Liquid secure their first Roshan, get that Aegis, and push forward in 20 minutes. That's what the SD is going to secure. But they had a minute of reserve time for Gaming on this last pick. They now pick up the hero. They go for a Ricky.
Ooh,
finally, everybody. Everybody was playing this hero coming into TI, road to TI. Every single mid player had 7+ games on Ricky. What makes this hero super strong is now with his facet, you get 4.5 extra agi, so you're kind of one-shotting the creep wave, and also with your shard, you don't allow Shadow Demon or Tusk to be able to get their saves off.
And not just that, the facet makes it so you're not just one-shotting creep waves, but the jungle, you clear that so fast because Ricky's abilities are low cooldown. But the biggest factor for Ricky here is his silence, his smoke. He's going to use this to try to kill the Puck early game with the defusal plus smoke cloud plus rotation from his team. Puck should always be dead. Also, when you've got two save supports to you, like Tusk and Shadow Demon, you need backline control like Ricky provides.
You can't target when you're a shard, and on top of that, you're going to force Nisha to have to think about a 4-staff or a BKB on the Puck. That just sounds awful, because every Puck player, they want to go for all the damage, the Witch Blades, the Blink, the Kaya, everything other than save. And now you have to think about it. So yeah, Ricky pick, pretty niche. I like it. A lot of cool options, and yeah, nice refreshing draft. Gaming bringing up, what, 2 heroes that we didn't see so far at TI in game 1 of the Grand Finals.
I love it. I am very curious to see how this first game is gonna play out. I am also very curious to hear some words from Coach Blitz, who's on the stage.
Nama siapa? Gaming Gladiator. Kali ini gua spray benar.
Ini bukannya dulu analis ya? Sekarang jadi coachnya Liquid anjing.
Nggak tahu cuy gua ya.
Prepare for battle.
I just woke up. Leave me alone.
Ciblit.
Пушка Буба сейчас все у нас.
Сегодня я не в форме.
Tapi ceknya hampir mirip tadi kayak game 2-nya lawan GG.
Copenhagen, are you ready? Dia nggak mungkin deh.
Incredible atmosphere, ladies and gentlemen. So as we're about to get ready to get stuck into the action of the Grand Finals, Gaming Gladiators versus Liquid. Folks, we've seen this many times before. We know how it tends to go, supposed to go. Could it be different today?
I think we all hope so. I think we're all hoping for 5 games, but the best thing is we're definitely going to get 3 games.
But that's true. That's true. We've already been spoiled with quite some fantastic Dota already earlier in the day today, and let's hope that continues here into this best of 5. So as we heard, exciting talks around the Riki coming in from Quinn to end the draft from Gaimin. Do you think this is something that did go under Liquid's radar?
I mean, we've seen people talking about it. The pubs have been riddled with it. Topson was playing it a ton. Quinn and tons of these pubs as well, too. There's just a lot of heroes that you have to think about, and it is grand final, so this becomes its own mini meta. So things are going to come out that you maybe didn't expect fully, but we'll see if it ends up working, because you can tell why they wanted it. Panel talked about it, the anti-saves, the silence versus the puck and stuff like that. So, yeah, let's see what ends up going down and how these matchups end up going. I haven't seen a Riki versus puck matchup in a long time, if not ever.
It's going to be exciting to see what Quinn can pull off, especially as we saw in some of the replays earlier being shown from Nisha this tournament on his puck. He has had some insane showings, and let's see if he's going to be on the way to get some more of those rampages that we know he's able to pull out on this hero.
Kalau misalkan
Do you have a preference with the style that either of the teams decided to pull out here in this first game of the best of 5?
Liquid's gone more for just a standard of this tournament, right? I feel like Gaming, they've clearly gone a little bit different. Yes, 3 of the heroes look very, very normal, but the CK and the Riki are a bit of that oddball out, at least currently in this meta. So we'll see what 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 in particular wants to do with this, because what I'm looking at with this lane is that they're just trying to sustain versus this damage that comes out from this Visage and this Tusk that can be very, very oppressive. They've got tons of sustain with Divine Favor, they'll be able to mana burn, and of course CK just has built-in sustain from that Chaos Strike.
And how much does that sort of mess with Liquid's game plan if Liquid's duo lane down here isn't necessarily able to find early kills?
I probably messes it with it a decent amount, because that's the way they've played with 33, just looking for constant kills. But Liquid is not afraid to break 33 out of this lane. I've seen him roaming at like the 6-minute mark as this Visage, and it ends up working out a lot of times. So it's all going to come down if they can get those type of trade kills or not. It feels like it could be difficult for them to pressure this lane down bottom, but they are taking care of that Satyr. So that's the second time now Celery has put that, the Satyr, the one that burns the mana, the Mind Steal, I believe it's called, and it killed it twice. So that's actually huge, because it reduces that mana. Also, it gives that extra mana to 𝙈𝙀𝘄 too. So it's good that they're able to clear that one out to at least try to apply some pressure onto this CK. Mid lane, Quinn is giving it to Nisha.
He certainly is getting a fair few denies, and of course already in this Riki versus puck matchup. Now in with the trick of the trade, he's going to find the first puck. Well, I said I don't know if Liquid expected this Riki to come out, and I don't know if Nisha was prepared to play this matchup, or at least expected something like that to come out from him. Quinn just jumps in and kills him off first.
After already decimating in the laning phase too, the first 2-3 waves, 10 and 4 on this Riki. You heard it from Blitz. Quinn likes to play these bit of cheesy heroes in a way, but this one, at least in the first few waves, it's going to be great. And you can see, we talked about the reasons why they won it later on. So if he's off to a good start, can be a very dangerous hero.
Absolutely, he's going to be just such a nuisance for every single one of Liquid's heroes if Quinn does start to ball out of control.
Honestly, a lot of them do really suffer.
What do you do? Yeah. What do you do? There's Riki sneaking around, jumping on top of you, slamming down a smoke screen and killing you off with this incredible amount of damage with the tricks of trade. Yeah, Quinn gets his first item at a quick timing. Liquid, they've got some serious problems they're going to have to start answering.
Absolutely, but they do have strong lane up top in particular. Mid game, they do have great ways to rotate around the map and pressure everywhere too, so should be able to react. It's just, if he's able to sneak into these back lines, it's going to disrupt a lot of these potential saves that come out either from Boxy and from Insania.
Now looking at the top lane so far, Mikkei's farm, perfectly fine. Obviously, Gaming Gladiators getting the Ace Underlord in. We saw how incredible Ace is on this hero and just how much this hero offers, right? In that crazy game we had earlier, this can absolutely be the hero that is that crucial part to just get you the win, get on top of the Ancient, end the game. There's so much you can do with it, and Ace, he knows how to do everything with it.
Yeah, it matches mobility as well too, which is really, really nice versus something like Nature's Prophet when the game starts getting to these type of moves that are happening all over the map. So yeah, it's definitely, obviously, their bread and butter, and they've moved up that priority so much, just first picking it now.
And they're not afraid to do so whatsoever. On the other side of the map, 𝙈𝙀𝘄 still continuing to have very little pressure applied to him because of the nature of the setup that Gaming Gladiators went with this duo lane. Is definitely playing out, as you'd imagine, just consistently staying at full HP and finding opportunities to get a little bit aggressive themselves. They're in on the 33. It's going to try and hide in the trees.
Another nuke.
Going to be the block off there from Boxy. He's able to present himself, make sure the Celery and 𝙈𝙀𝘄 cannot continue to chase. Maybe if they can turn and try and take down Celery in return. Another Solar Subject comes in. It's enough burst. Liquid.
Very nicely done. Boxy giving it to 𝙈𝙀𝘄 too.
Able to bait Gaimin Gladiators in there deep enough and turn around. You can never underestimate the damage coming out when these few fully charged soul assumptions come flying back at you.
Or how much Drinking Buddies just does in general, right? Boxy just giving them that mobility, being able to turn that fight beautifully. And they killed the creep. That's the important thing too. We saw it again. I think they've killed 4 of them or something like that. And that one was the Harpy Stormcrafter that they were able to bring down while the chase was coming out as well. So very good identification of making sure those creeps just don't bully them out. But mid continues to be a big problem. Quinn, 23-10 to the 16-2.
It really does. It's going to be one of those sort of situations where I feel like Nietzsche is going to really be keeping his eyes open for big opportunities on the side lanes once he hits the 6 to see if there's heroes who can team up and help him out, or maybe even some sort of early potential from 𝙎𝘶 to come in with a teleport and maybe a support rotation. Probably looking around that 6-minute power rune timing to try and catch Quinn out.
No, absolutely. And I would imagine like the combos that they can do with the coil plus the Wrath of Nature, they might want to give 𝙎𝘶 just extra levels up here. So I want to see Insanio maybe play just further on the side, just get that 6 very early on so that Nisha can make that first move with that extra big bonus damage. And 𝙎𝘶's actually making a potential move. He's canceling a few times.
Bottom lane.
Getting gun on top.
They're going in with a dive on towards 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄. The Soul Assumption burst come in, they take him out.
Celery's going to get a trade.
Same time indeed on that top lane, losing 𝙎𝘶. So whilst the aggression came out from Liquid first down bottom, overall they're the ones to lose 2 heroes, top and bottom lanes.
𝙎𝘶 started TPing right in front of them, so they just put the pin on him and committed onto him. So it's a little bit of an overzealous move that he tried to join down bottom and will get punished immediately from Ace and from Tofu.
Yeah, rare mistake from 𝙎𝘶, Prophet. Something that can happen, I guess, when you're watching the minimap, looking elsewhere, and not being too careful with the position that you're actually leaving your actual unit in. 𝙎𝘶, it's got to be more careful against these 2 top.
And overall, I would say for 𝙎𝘶, it is the first pick hero this game, and it does feel like it does have a lot of counters in particular. We saw it struggle a couple times on this main stage as well, so we'll see how 𝙎𝘶 can endure. Just these heroes getting on top of him early.
Boxy trying to bring Nisha over to help them close the gap onto what's Quinn. They come in with a TP from 𝙎𝘶. This is the move you expect to see here at the 6-minute, trying to punish the rookie. Quinn, he'll jump over to the creep wave. The Soul Assumption will be dodged with that movement, but the snowball connects. They bring Quinn down. It takes a lot.
It takes 2 sentries, a dodge, and a commitment from the Nature's Prophet. That is a lot to get this Rookie down, but a move that maybe was necessary to slow him down.
On top lane, Nisha come in with a rotation, see if they can pick something more out of this early action. Liquid it's down on towards Tofu, but indeed with the orb missing, Tofu's going to opt for the TP out. There's nothing to stop it, so Liquid, they won't find anything more.
Just trying to get involved though as much as possible, get these early moves to just slow down the Rookie who's having that amazing start. But yeah, a lot committed. Literally 2 sentries plus a dust plus an extra rotation, and now Celery, he's felt the option to be able to actually move top and potentially play around Ace here.
And Ace, pretty terrifying already, of course, as the Underlord. We've seen so many times when he's on this tier, once he gets the ball rolling, it definitely becomes this laneless area that the opponents just don't really want to go to, and if they do, it just takes so much to try and slow down an Underlord when he's really hit his stride.
Yeah, and this is kind of draft, right? These auras are going to come, and they're going to come quick, so if you start losing these towers too early, those auras will come even faster, especially that pipe in particular for Ace that will come out, which is going to be pretty crucial, honestly. Like, the damage from Liquid in the early game is pretty much all magical, besides that Visage plus that Drinking Buddies.
Heavy pressure being applied that at the moment isn't being matched quite yet by Liquid, yet to do that much damage at all to the safe lane tier 1 of Gaimin Gladiators.
The nice thing though is that 33's actually just been able to sit bottom. He's top net worth on this Visage. We've seen a couple times this hero can get ganked and pushed out of lane a little.
Celery, nice grab there, takes over the Hellbear Smasher, gets it clapping on towards Insania. Tofu's in on top of him. Gaimin Gladiators completely taking over Liquid's jungle. This top half of the map, not a safe place for Liquid to be. Over in the river, they've got the Dream Core. 𝙎𝘶 comes in with the TP. Liquid did get the smoke screen down in time, and it's definitely helping him out, but is it enough to allow him to jump away? Tricks the trade there. Blink strike out to the side. He's able to get out, and he's able to get a regen rune as well. Liquid then desperately trying to find Quinn. This time, they don't get him fogged.
Oh, and he gets a regen too. They committed 4 heroes plus another dust, just trying to bring him down. They're really just trying to get rid of this rat. But Quinn, surviving, just staying under that smoke screen.
I mean, they're bringing in the action. 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄's collapsing in the mid. Ace is ready to come up with the ultimate. They want to try and take this fight. Gaimin Gladiators, they jump forward. 𝙈𝘀𝘿's going to get caught by the immediate shutdown, but now he's ready to turn. Have to control it on towards the tusk. Boxy to fall. Gaimin Gladiators, they're feeling strong with the group up.
They lost the birds, the familiars. Both just get taken out immediately from the group up.
And they're ready to split back up. Underlordnya
masih belum berani TB.
Stick around in the mid. Putting this pressure on. I mean, they're just showing themselves, you know, Liquid, they can try and make these moves, but now Gaming Gladiators, they will be ready to respond. And under the tower, Quinn's in with the tricks of the trade. Instead, he's already used the disruption. He's trying to juke around the tree line, but Quinn will find him. Another one for the Ricky Celery. In return,
boleh lah, support jadi support.
pick him off to the side.
Not bad lah.
Trying to match this tempo. Just how many heroes are we seeing brought to the mid lane? But immediately,
Ya,
as that
rugi
mid lane
banget
all
lah.
pressure happened, 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄 just bailed out. He's like, I don't want to stay around here. We're not going to get the tower. I know they're going to match us. So he goes back to farm.
Tofu is a little bit deep here.
Another soul assumption.
Wah, rugi banget GG gini.
Okay, well, that's going to cause some issues. Soul Assumption will solve the issues, though. Gets the hit in. 33 able to finish up another and continue to just have this incredible amount of farm top. Net worth right now here on the message.
Yeah, he's having a great time. And we'll have always drinking buddies plus his familiars when it does come back up. Now the cooldown is back, so we'll have that one at the ready. The wards right now placed from Gaming, it's very impressive. So you can tell the type of game that they're liking to play, which they usually do, is apply pressure, take these early towers, and kind of snowball off of that. So Liquid responding nicely, and will be able to respond again. They've got Coil ready, and they've got
diambil buat
every
paknya
time they
atau
have
buat
these two
ini.
ultis, it feels like they can try to match that tempo of Gaimin.
Nisha. Easy deny.
Got him.
Just in time. I wonder if that was going to be ones where they get the pickup and then deny at the same time, but not quite Nisha. Able to take it out before Quinn gets the refuel. Quinn, of course, working well on the way towards that diffuser play first. Wants to get
enggak masuk banget gitu.
Good knockback with a
Mati.
painful break. Keeping it a little bit longer.
Belum level
Any
6.
further lockdown beyond that. So Nisha still able to escape.
But every time he shows his face, Nisha's getting put below 50% HP, so the extra kill threat could come through that next jump. Nisha does have to be very cautious.
I mean, we might see that jump coming, maybe not towards him, but maybe towards the bottom instead. And as soon as they show their hand mid, make that play, Quinn and Tofu fall back.
They've got the Fiends Gate ready.
Has been scanned out though.
Liquid has to be ready with the numbers, because the extra number can be brought from Gaming from that Fiends Gate. So Mickey has to be at ready.
And with the scan hitting, looks like Liquid should not get caught off guard by this. Quinn's looking back towards the mid.
Nisha.
And do have the Fiends Gate, as you say, if you want to make this play over towards him. Silence just set things up. Good angle with the flame break. Keeps him in range of the stun as well for 𝙈𝙀𝘄. Tofu knowing perfectly how to hit these angles and get the most out of Quinn's smoke screens.
It's not your most traditional kind of way to lock down a puck. It's not a stun, but
it's a tricky one.
into a knockback. It's beautiful. 3K lead off that. Now potentially be able to pressure this tower here, and they still have Fiends Gate at the ready. So Liquid, difficult to be able to contest this one until Nisha does respawn.
And with this tower gold, if they're able to take it in a bit more, Quinn's pretty much going to have the diffusal coming out. A very quick time.
A devastating one for these supports, the Shadow Demon in particular, but Nisha is going to need some help, and I'm looking at his itemization right now. He is just queuing up the normal Witchblade and stuff. Will need some type of answer to protect himself versus this Ricky early on.
I mean, with this Ricky getting this sort of a good start, do you imagine we'll see adaptation from the supports item builds on Liquid to try and respond to this?
Probably. I mean, you're going to need to just all queue 4 steps in particular. You know, you're playing versus Ricky. The shard's going to be devastating at some point.
Behind the top, 𝙈𝙀𝘄.
𝙈𝙀𝘄.
It's pretty deep here, but he's got backup from Ace. Comes in with the Fiends Gate. Gaming Gladiators, they've got the numbers, but so has Liquid as well. 33 looking to push back Celery able to Soul Assumptions. 𝙈𝙀𝘄 turns, get the stun, but the disruption save will be there. Nisha buying him some time, but the smoke screen persists. He'll get the orb off, jump out of the side, holds them back with the Dream Core, but the flame break hits. The final round things come through. Tofu able to take Nisha down. Gaming Gladiators considering pushing him for more. Jump forward with the tricks to trade, the snowball. Buys some safety from Boxy. He rolls over towards Tofu. Tofu, he has the laps open ready. The lockdown's there. They bring in Boxy to fall. Gaming Gladiators, they get 2. They're even considering pushing him for more up to the tier 2. Finally, they'll hold back. Liquid, they'll be pushed right back away from this all. And each and every one of these fights, we're seeing both teams turn up in their numbers. But Gaming Gladiators, they've just got that extra little bit of power that's required to make sure they come out on top each and every time.
I mean, it's these auras. You can see that the damage, which was actually even pretty much across the board inside of this fight. 5,000 from both sides, but that little bit of extra sustain that you see that Gaming has. They've got the heal coming out from the Chen. He's got 4 of these auras blocking magic damage, giving extra HP regen, giving extra armor too. That's the difference maker. And now Quinn, the defusal is done. We'll see how much he wants to move up the priority of that shard, since it can be great versus these saves. But right now, Gaming, they're starting to get that ball rolling that we've seen them really take over games with. And it doesn't feel like they're really going to slow down at all.
Not at all, especially if Quinn gets away with this, going straight for the Ags after the defusal. His farm sort of net worth advantage, it's not going to stop unless Liquid can find ways to take him out.
Sesuai dengan ukuran badan gitu ya.
Incredibly difficult. And yeah, with the addition of Ace now having the Crimson Guard, these are really coming together for Gaimin Gladiators in the way you can only imagine they plan for when they look to try and strike hard at Liquid in this game one with this first draft.
And especially with like a Riki pick, you know, their idea, and I think a good idea versus Liquid would be shut down Nisha in a lot of these games. So that is exactly what they've done so far. And yeah, difficult to see how Nisha can be protected unless they fully play around him, but he needs this protection. He cannot go down at the start of the fight. They need multiple different orbs, multiple different silences to come in. If he goes in like he did last time and just gets killed after one full set of spells, it's just not going to be enough for them to push Gaming away. I mean, now getting more auras. The Crimson now online.
It just feels whatever happens now at this stage, these next few minutes of play, I don't know if Liquid can look to fight because the damage is just not going to be there.
No, and 𝙎𝘃, he is spotted. They're going to look to react up here, but the damage is quick. Can 𝙎𝑃𝑠i bail him out?
He's going to try, but there's only so much he can do. The drinking buddy play will come in. It's not going to save him though. 𝙎𝑃𝑠i still to fall. Ace comes over with the Fiend's Gate. They're ready to punish 𝙎𝑃𝑠i as well as 𝙎𝑃𝑠i. Nobody here to help him out. Gaimin Gladiators, they're making it look pretty easy now, picking up kills, picking up objectives.
They're playing too fast, and Liquid, they're not prepared for it, Owen. They're TPing to react, but then by the time that they TP and react, it feels like it's too late. They have to be there at least with one of those extra heroes to bail someone out first. Gaimin now gets a tier 2 at the 15-minute mark.
This is crazy.
And those auras, they're
Kan gue udah bilang, draftnya tuh kayak sama tadi, hampir mirip gamenya kedua lawan Tundra itu.
And Pipe is soon going to be on the horizon for Ace. Liquid, they
Yang
only
bedanya,
have that boot to the bearing at the moment on 33, so not really that much damage mitigation coming out for them versus what is heavy damage from Gaming and heavy damage mitigation.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Even if Liquid land their spells, what sort of combo is there that they have right now that gets even close to threatening Gaimin Gladiators in a 5v5?
It's just got to catch heroes isolated really for the most part, but yeah, they're starting to get very tanky. Even Quinn, without having auras, he's sitting at close to 1500 HP on a Riki when he's on those strength treads. And he is going to wait, so he's just going to go down the normal, like, just scaling build rather than going for his axe or his shard. He doesn't feel like he needs it probably, because of how good this early game has gone, he probably can go for this type of play that allows him to scale and then go back for the shard when he feels necessary. Because so far, they haven't been able to save the puck anyway. Liquid.
So they can find some of these pickoffs that they desperately need. Tofu, he'll get caught out. It's one quick one here for Liquid. Maybe see if they can get something else with the Dream Coil setup. Quinn's been found. The follow-up silence, they've got it completely locked down. Liquid, they find the chance here to strike at Gaimin Gladiators one by one. And they get one of the big ones. Quinn, he's out.
Best way to be able to play versus Gaming, split them up, catch them when they are moving away. When they're grouped, very strong, but if you catch some of these individual heroes, that's the power of the lineup.
Absolutely, a team fight's not an option right now for Liquid. No. They're finding their opportunities here to take something away from Gaimin Gladiators in terms of this one by one.
They will start to get these items that will allow them to start getting more team fights, though. More damage in particular for 𝙎𝑃𝑠i. I believe the Gleipnir is now going to be finished, so smaller tools to be able to enable them to take actual head-on 5v5s rather than just needing pickoffs.
Bottom lane, they'll keep their eyes on Nisha.
They're going to go for him right away.
Quinn. He's ready to lead in. 𝙎𝑃𝑠i is standing by his side, but how much can the Tusk do to save the puck? The smoke screen's there. Fiend's Gate comes in. Drinking buddies will drag him out the side. The pit catches onto the three of them. Dredger gets the pull back onto Insania. The shards will actually get some space there for Insania, but Quinn's able to jump over. The stun comes out though.
Dia nge-ban ini kan, dia nge-ban Fight Spirit. Tapi dia nggak ketahuan.
Mati dia.
They'll look towards Ace. 𝙎𝑃𝑠i charging forward. Nisha, he's been caught again. This time he'll fall. 𝙎𝑃𝑠i caught by the lasso. Dredger beating into it. 𝙎𝑃𝑠i turns. They've taken down a second. Double kill for 𝙎𝑃𝑠i. Sorry, got in the front. Triple kill for 𝙎𝑃𝑠i. Liquid. What a way to turn around the fight that Gaimin Gladiators absolutely put everything into. And it was the little things, as I said, 𝙎𝑃𝑠i. A fantastic angle with the shards, giving Insania just that little bit of movement, little bit of space to get out, to be able to turn, survive, get the demonic purge off.
They were prepared for that fight. That's the important thing. They didn't have to TP every single hero. They had 𝙎𝑃𝑠i in position for the initial go. I can't believe Quinn lives, by the way. He actually dodged demonic purge with his tricks of the trade there, so that's the only reason he actually survives in it instead of losing 4 heroes. Liquid, the numbers were there. They were super prepared.
Crazy stuff. I mean, now the goal difference, it's flickering between the two of them. The exact fight that Liquid needed to find to take away that lead. Gaming Gladiators were starting to build.
It's so much gold that they can get if they're able to just get 𝙎𝘆𝘾𝙄𝘼 getting to this turret kind of position, and 33 able to just shoot, what, 5, 6 soul assumptions, so he got a ton of bonus gold as well.
Enggak sih, ada Ricky.
And now starting to accrue these items, these auras.
Ricky agaknya udah annoying.
Now they're ready to go.
Mau nggak mau udah ada satu slot item buat mid-game atau buat dust.
Quinn is scouting them to dust.
Ketahuan sih.
Straight to the high ground.
A little awkward here now.
Gaming Gladiators is looking back at them.
He's got a lasso in 2 seconds here.
Topu's tempted to go, see if we can get any sort of catch off to the side of the Fiend's Gate. It's coming in.
Tapi dapat carry-nya lumayan.
Alone there. It looks like some sort of attempt there for Gaming Gladiators to try and pincer in Liquid, but Liquid just ends up catching 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄 alone. There's nobody by his side. The Fiend's Gate was laid down, but they weren't going to be able to get to him in time to help out.
They're still looking for the fight. Ace actually goes through this
portal. Dewa kalau menang tuh, Pak.
He's pretty tanky. I mean, but they might find the setup here. Boxy can get the angle. See how much they want to try and chase for this Liquid. Ace into the trees. Shots will find him. I mean, slowly but surely, Liquid they're surrounding him. Gaming Gladiators are coming from the side.
Dapat Furionya dapat tuh. Furionya dapat.
Or is it a mistake? He's going to try and push it forward, but Liquid they can turn. They can bring down Ace. The coil is there. Liquid they're tearing them apart here. Quinn trying to run just back in onto the side. The all-consideration takes him out. Sprout catches Celery. Liquid.
They're just winning all these fights now.
Bisa ini nggak pakai dagger tapi pakai ini.
And now this tower is in trouble. They've got a glyph. Beautiful fights coming out. Boxy in particular tanking up, being able to get these beautiful shards to start it off. And honestly, Ace, he kind of just delivered himself a little bit there.
I mean, that's why I felt that maybe this was going to be like a calculated bait by him. But you're going through the gate. They just turn chasing down. At the end of the day, he only ends up baiting his own team into a fight that goes horrifically.
And look at another aura, full Shivas for 33. Massive to be able to counteract a lot of this healing, but also just to stop these heroes from kind of bursting him down at all. He's 7-0 and 7 on this Visage now.
I see it again, as you say, now Boxy.
Kurang
exactly where
banget
to find Ace in the tree line. Gaming Gladiators, they really try and rally around their underlord at this point, but at that stage he's too low.
The coil catches literally everybody all clumped up. Nisha, he's made the full recovery from that early game. It's a distant memory now. And he does have his defensive Force Staff. They have the Ghost Scepter on the Shadow Demons. They've got the answers now to be able to protect themselves versus this Ricky. He's just died a couple times in a row.
A smile's coming out there from Nisha. It's got to feel pretty good having the impact that he's having now in these fights after such a tough start off the back of the laning stage. And needs to calm down a bit again. Gaming Gladiators will claim their Tormentor.
They're playing to their strength though, and it is daytime, so that Roche potentially an option here for Liquid if they want to group up and go for it now that they have this great way to team fight, great way to keep these lanes in an aggressive position too. Gaimin has to be careful about these next few moments. They cannot make another mistake like that versus Liquid, or it's going to be difficult to recover. They literally hand-delivered 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄𝘼 in that fight and also Ace afterwards. Now, yeah, they're going to go for this Roche, and it's tough to contest this one. Not going to make it in time.
Smoke coming out from Gaming Gladiators. They're going to look to try and swing across towards the mid, but indeed with the movements from Nisha over towards Roshan and the rest of his team, unlikely that they actually get a catch. They could look to continue to swing down and maybe try and find post Aegis, but that would be a risky call to make.
Yeah, especially at this point now that 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄𝘼 is not nearly as farmed as this Nature's Prophet, and 𝙎𝘆𝘆𝘃 is massive. 4,000 difference between him and that CK.
That's sort of the cleanup that he's been enabled to have in the last few fights. It's massively propelled him ahead.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, Quinn, he does have his Aghanims finished, but that shard has been delayed a lot. We saw a couple saves come out that he maybe could have gone down the route of going for it, so could maybe have been an error that he wanted to go for this type of scaling rather than just being able to match the pressure of Liquid, not having that shard to stop these saves. And Liquid now, with this momentum, they're on the high ground. These towers drop very fast.
Tapi ini kadang tuh ada yang ini ya.
They've got the Aegis ready, of course, and 𝙎𝘆𝘆𝑃 is ready to frontline. Gladiators, they have
kadang kalau misalnya ada yang nge-counter gitu tetap nggak bisa ini ya.
Tier 3's gone.
I mean, oh, and who used the glyph there? That tower's
nggak bisa mainnya.
don't have it for these racks.
Kalau di ranked gitu,
Main apa?
kalau bisa lu main pak, terus di counter pakai face spirit.
𝙎𝘆𝑃 is actually going to back off and start dealing with the top, but of course teleportation will be ready if they want to go for round 2 here on the bottom lane.
They can always look to re-go.
Yeah.
Gaimin has to be careful how far they step out here. The Orchid is ready on 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄𝘼 for that extra catch for Nisha. They should have identified that one. They should see it.
Mereka lagi
They do have multiple ways to bail Nisha out if he does get caught even from one of these extra silences. Yeah, Gaimin trapped in their base with 5 for a second there. You see that gold start to quickly swing even more. Mickey is just going to keep growing, and the CK is not be able to get outside the map in a similar fashion.
Yeah, Mickey about halfway towards the BKB and still having the 3.5 minutes on the Aegis. Very likely he's going to have that window where he'll have both BKB and Aegis to try and push forward and look to take a set of racks away from Gaming Gladiators.
And Liquid playing it very smart. They're just sweeping across toward the map, not giving them an opportunity to look for this Nature's Prophet to find some type of kill. Quinn now will have that shard finished, so that extra minus armor prevention of the, any of these saves that can come out on that smoke screen target. Maybe Gaming's going to look to make a move off of that. If they can lasso somebody, catch them inside of that one, they could get some type of these kills if they find Liquid a bit split up here.
It depends how sort of far Quinn wants to delve into Liquid's half of the map.
It is scary.
It's very spooky right now. They have limited, if any, vision on Liquid's side.
And look at how they're playing as well too. The two supports on the side of Liquid. You see Boxy is playing near the puck, and you see the Shadow Demon is playing near the Nature's Prophet. So they have a guaranteed way to kind of bail out. Even though there is this shard, of course, on this Ricky, they're preparing for this next move that could come out from Gaimin.
I mean, with the D-Ward occurring, Liquid are definitely going to expect that there could be a high chance that Gaming Gladiators are looking for something around this area. And they're playing incredibly defensive.
Yeah.
Waiting, sensing if Gaming Gladiators do try and lead the charge here with Quinn.
Hey, they're just playing smart. They're sitting on top of a sentry. So if Quinn does walk up too far, could just get burst down instantly via its call from a coil.
That's like Quinn knows, playing to the edge of the map.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Middle tower, everyone, go, now!
Will clear the wave, does show himself for a second. The dust, not quite in range.
Not gonna quite clip him. Quinn. And perfectly sneaky. Did the damage out, but stepping up here. That's a full Parasma now on Nisha.
Just steps up the aggression. Feels like he doesn't need to have that defense anymore. He is very tanky with the Pupil's Gift. It is a 2,500 HP puck.
I mean, Liquid's ready to go. So if they can get the catch it, Quinn turns from smoke screen, force forward for Nisha, able to jump forward, get the dream call up onto the two of them. A beautiful setup there comes in from Nisha. The Feast Game will come in and attempts to turn things around. Quinn's already gone. He's going to get left behind. Gaming Gladiators cannot fight Liquid right now. And now beyond the tier 2, they may just find Ace on top of it all. They get the silence, the shard trap from Boxy. They'll find a third Liquid.
They can go high ground again. There's still not that glyph available. They can start threatening this. I mean, they can start threatening racks and maybe even threatening the close-up of this game. Gaming, they cannot contest this group up.
This is going to be such a strong push. A minute left on the Aegis. And all BKB coming out from Mickey.
And these racks are dead. The birds plus this tree, it just dies in a heartbeat.
And they can look for more.
Sekarang kalau misalnya carry-nya rank,
it feels like they probably got it here. I mean, still 20 seconds for the Underlord, the one who can deep push. The glyph is popped, but they're sending trains even down toward bottom.
They're not going anywhere, Liquid.
They're like, oh, Gaimin, you like to play with your 25-minute timings? Well, so do we. 26 minutes. They're looking to potentially close this out here.
They've really sort of turned the game on its head if you consider what we were seeing in the first 10 minutes of this one. Liquid hitting back harder than ever here. 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼 going to try and start some action, but the BKB comes down from 33. Illusions will remain on 33, and they have the lasso as well, dragging in the Visage. 33, they're going to be any sort of save for him. There is not. 33 will fall.
Can they chase for more?
They need more Gaming Gladiators.
Nice charge, trapping 𝙎𝙁𝘾𝙄𝘼.
See what they can find, but Ace is caught in the Sprout, trying to get out of this. The body purges down upon him. Boxy comes in with a punch up. The Dream Call catching the ball. Ace, he's out. Has to buy back a Gaming Gladiators trying to find Boxy in return. Jump forward for Quinn, but he's caught by the silence. He's trying to get away. The right clicks from Mickey, and Nisha are too much. Quinn goes down.
They tried to chase to get some kills, but 𝙎𝙁𝘾𝙄𝘼 was stuck in shards for the entire duration for it. While Ace was going down, he couldn't help his buddy. Liquid continue to play strong. Nisha.
Nisha's trusting in Insania. Insania, he'll have to save or the offensive disruption when needed. Gives Nisha the chance to continue to play and live. The orb comes in for Nisha, he jumps in.
Lah, misalnya ngapain lah?
Right now, Mickey steps forward, gets the drag back in.
Ya mati lah. Mickey-nya mati lah. Enggak lo gimana itu mati kok. Begitu ngapain Mickey? Mati misalnya. Oh enggak. Oh Mickey dari lagi dari. Oh nice.
They're looking to end it all, and the buyback from Mickey. Quinn's gone.
Boleh.
This is likely Megas.
Boleh.
Can Ace hold on to it. They've got a buyback from 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼. Liquid, will they respect the
That's the
buy?
question, how confident do Liquid play? Yes, they know they're going to win for a minute.
It's 5v4.
How much can they take? Liquid.
Waiting in the wings, looking for a lasso target.
Still being very careful indeed, respecting the catch from Bat.
It's just tough because the double saves 𝙎𝘋𝘄. He's at the ready. His BKB's up in 4 seconds.
That's the mid-rack's gone. Liquid.
Final set.
I'll tick off another objective, and they're ready to keep it going. 30 seconds, they know there's no Quinn.
It dies so fast. They gotta look to go on the side of Gaimin. They can't just watch these racks go to megas.
Tofu is gonna try with the grab, but the disruption comes in immediately. They tried desperately, Gaimin Gladiators here to fight for
Androidnya dikasih main kok, sumpah
but
anjing.
it won't save Ace. Ace, he's out.
Ya nggak sih, kelihatan nggak sih?
𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 tries to sneak back to the safety of the fountain. Or give
Nggak,
it back.
nggak kayak tadi lawan Tundra loh.
Claim the mega creeps.
29 minutes megas. Good luck coming back from that one versus this type of lineup, and I don't think Liquid's gonna look to get out of the base. They still got 30 seconds to keep the push going.
They know that they can get so much done here. Oh, they do. GG is called a Liquid.
Satu doang. Ya, kalah semua
Game one. Considering what happened in the opening moments and in some of those lanes.
Karena dibilang, Liquid nggak sih coy, 3-0 coy.
I think they really started to identify
Yeah.
quite quickly. I mean, it was pretty much all
Baru
around
game
that
pertama,
bottom
baru game
fight that they
pertama.
needed to just have the number.
Belum panas harusnya. Tapi kayaknya kayaknya udah habis dia tenaganya buat tadi lawan Tundra. Juga Tundra sengaja dilatih.
Resets the fight, and then the dive. You can see Gaimin trying to push forward for it, but multiple different saves coming out from him with the snowballs, drinking buddies, shards, etc. That was beautiful from Liquid.
Hey, incredible stuff across the board. Boxing and standing with the saves in a game against
Nggak ada battle pass
that was
kan?
getting kind of out of control those opening minutes. It didn't matter.
Ada
They
battle
still
pass nggak
found the chance to get these incredible saves occurring. The damage out from them from 33.
Oh, beli bet, bet.
𝙎𝘋𝘄𝘼 making it quite the comeback story that game on his puck. What a game one. Liquid, they'll take the first.
Pada gue gak hancur semua, Cok. Anjing.
Cok, tinggal 49 darah gue, Cok. Gimana? Nah, 29. Babi. 25. Sekali hit mati nih anjing. Sekali getok ya. Not. Gila, rekor 124.
Their defusal, Ricky timing, hunting for Furion deep in the jungle, killing Puck a few times over and over again. But this fight here, power of Tusk here. He actually tag team pulled out Nisha's Puck from that smoke cloud, making it so that he was alive for long enough to cast the coil later on here, which is where they got the turnaround fight. And then we just saw all of the damage coming out through Visage's Soul Assumption, through 𝙎𝘋𝘄𝘼 on his Nature's Prophet, who was joining every single fight as early as he could. It was just beautifully played.
They needed all the auras early on so they can take the fights. Visage, he's getting all the money in the world. If you look at the network chart, he's always top 3, top 2 here already. Some really nicely placed shards from Boxy. He's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
This drinking buddy is pretty much acting as the force staff, and you can also use it on birds. So the birds go brrr pretty much every single fight. And the coil has been something that they didn't have any tools to deal with, because Ricky, yeah, he's annoying, but the problem always was with the hero that how do you get to your BKB timing? Like, sure, you're having a good time, you did solo kill him in the mid lane, but after that, you can feel him suffer. And itemization-wise, they were really on point for Team Liquid. This force tap on Puck, forces out of the cloud, and knowing that he needs to itemize for himself. Ricky had the shard at that moment, so others can't really use any of the abilities, and after that, the game was pretty much done so.
Yeah, and Liquid identified that after that fight, the game was theirs. They made a beautiful play where they cut off 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 trying to join his team in the triangle, killed him first. They snowballed off of that, and they realized that this was their game at that point. All they had to do was bring their heroes together, place some sentries, and there's nothing Gaimin could do. That is the issue with Ricky. While he is very snowbally, he's also very reverse snowbally, because once you've itemized against him, and his net worth is low, there's really not that much he can do. And we also saw the power of Tusk, not just as the pseudo save, as the pseudo first stuff, but the tag team, the drinking buddies damage on the Prophet, he was out DPSing the Crimson Guard on Underlord. Underlord just looked so squishy in this game.
And it was a slippery slope for Gaimin, right? When you have Ricky and CK as your position 1 and 2, if you're not finding pick-up, you're not dictating the pace of the game, your enemy balls up. Orang timnya aja belum ini loh. Identified that very quickly as it hit kind of at the 20-minute mark, and then sure, Quinn might have some laning advantage, 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄𝘼 might have an early orchid, but that's all they've got. They're hoping for a pick. It felt like the last 10 minutes of the game was just Liquid sweeping through the map, finding whoever they want, and Gaimin was never really in position to utilize the blink from the bat, the jump of a CK, and again, it's testament to Liquid. They itemize, they identify a window, and when they want to break their opponent, and they did it so swiftly.
Yeah, and we knew that Gaimin was ahead at like minute 15. But Lacoste, was their plan to be even further ahead? Where did they fall with their plans?
I saw Tofu diving through 4 towers 8 minutes in, so they wanted to play this hyper-aggressive, which I don't really mind. I think this is how you need to strike back against Team Liquid. But the problem was, I'm going to go back to Ricky. This is super strong hero, but that's why everybody practiced it. But it has some of the flaws still where you're unable, like if you get focused down. And I also want to highlight the Shiva's guard, the bongo boots, the boots of bearing from Visage. I think this is the key moment. As well for the game. You're playing against CK, so you want to slow down his illusions. You really never felt those illusions dealing damage, fighting into all of that. And I said during the draft, they don't have the Shiva's hero. You know what Visage does? Buys Shiva's as the second item, buying all these small items to be on top of the network pretty much. Bracer, Null Talisman, Boots of Bearing, so they can strike back. He understands that they need any kind of item they can have early on to punch back, because they're playing so fast on game in the first 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, and you see the item that 33 has. I think, strategically, I think Gaimin coming into this game 1, they put such a large target on Nisha's back. They wanted to shut him down. They wanted to kill him very early. They're trying to prevent him from having a game. But they kind of forgot about applying the pressure to 𝑚iKe or to 33.
Sekali ini naik nanti
dapatnya apa, Man? Series, right? Like when you think about like the previous run in playoffs, like he's been like the unkillable mid laner because he can focus other, the strategies of 33 in the early game. But coming into this one, Nisha in the last 6 playoff games, totaling, he only has 10 deaths. The fact that he's died 4 times in a single game shows that Gaimin wanted to shut him down. But maybe going into game 2, they're thinking, wait a second, we're wasting too many resources killing the mid lane. 33's hit, like Lacoste was mentioning, the Boots of Bearing, the Shivas, 𝑚iKe's got the 𝙈𝘀𝘿, the BKB. I think Gaimin maybe have a misread of who they need to shut down, because it doesn't matter if Nisha dies 4 times, nearly...
ini
need to stop 33 from breaking open the game on these tempo heroes from the offlane.
Yeah, there was a lot of freedom coming out for the other 2 cores of Team Liquid there, Effie.
There was, but there was pressure on them, because once Ricky got that defusal, we saw them scouting for Nature's Prophet in the jungle. We saw him getting lassoed a few times. We saw Quinn on that Ricky hunting anyone he could see.
Tapi kan masih ini, Man, reputasinya masih.
The issue with Gaimin is that Ricky kind of tied their entire draft together in the sense that you have this Batrider, you have this jump target, this jump hero in CK.
Kan ini masih honor kan?
Shadow Demon on the enemy team or the Tusk are able to cast their spells to save them. Your initiation is broken. You have no means to fight back. And once Ricky got to the point where his game was too difficult, there was nobody stopping the 2 saves from the supports. If
berarti masih di friendly ini.
Kept jumping the supports, we would have seen
reputasi.
As we've seen with the Storm Spirit, once they group out as 5, you don't
kalau ini naik berarti kan ke Honored.
Play in the game.
Dari Honored langsung sini. Dari sini ke sini ya.
Duration at every single level, it gets even better. You've got a buff so you can stand inside of the cloud, even if the allies, even if the enemies range are attacking you from the inside, you're still gonna get the miss chance. So really good spell. The experiment for Ricky probably failed. I don't think we're going to see it again, but it looked really good for the first like 12-13 minutes of the game.
It did, and then it fell off a cliff. That happens sometimes. It's fine. It's game 1 of a best-of-5 grand finals. Now, during that game, once Team Liquid got off a couple of good team fights, you could sense that emotions were high and everybody was in great spirits. And I wonder if the comms were like that.
Cuman tidak sebesar impactnya, tidak sebesar fight spirit.
I'm not thinking. It's a good fight, guys. Just watch me. Watch me. Yeah, I'm fine.
Tergantung playernya nggak sih, Coy? Sama pas kita lagi war gede gitu.
Any silence? Okay, I'm killing Chen with
Enggak, si Boxy nggak modal, tuh. Udah modal Ricky-nya.
Ini model begitu? Gaya.
Oh, you gotta love it if your carries popping out like that. I think that's very healthy when your carry is making those calls to you and just basically pops up and keeps the team.
I gotta say, his name is Mekewu. Woo! You know, gotta hype it up.
It's the balance between like the core and the support. You can hear like this, like maybe I don't have anything. It doesn't matter if you have nothing. I'm the core. Go and then
go.
Yeah, exactly. I just love hearing the team comms every single time, and a little bit of energy as well. Hearing the emotion, the woo, like of course it means so much to them. And that's game 1 down. Just 2 more to go.
2 more to go for Team Liquid. I love hearing the emotions coming out there as well. I also always love hearing from Purge.
Thanks, Shiver. Yeah, I want to look over how the Riki did in this game. It's very effective against the Puck in the mid lane. Quinn started things off. He's got high damage. Puck has low armor. Any trades that he takes are just going to be advantageous here. So he basically just secures a lot of
rata-rata pada ngambil mon ya bannya.
As that laning stage continues.
Kenapa?
And then does a little blink strike to split. Might freeze on me because it's been freezing before, but does a little tricks of the trade doesn't work. Thank you. That's how he gets the first blood. 1 minute and 54 seconds into the game, super early. And Liquid did a really good job trying to limit what this Riki can do because the silence against Puck and the high physical damage is so much. They were bringing tons of heroes to almost every single rune fight, but he has really high base armor and there's that much magic nuke on the Liquid squad at this stage in the game, so he ends up dodging a lot of these. Here's another gank on Nisha to show just how much pressure was on him. A little salvation outside of the smoke cloud, but he gets pushed back in with the flame break to secure yet another kill. And then they went across the map. This is that other kill that you guys probably saw. Nature's Prophet getting jumped on by just 2 heroes. A relatively clean kill, and once again Underlord crossing the map. So this is the basic facet of what Gladiators wanted to do this game to end up securing victory, but this team fight was the real big one. There's only 6 times in a row that you can gank Nisha before you react to it really well, and that's what Liquid did here. I love this ice shards here. Ends up creating a zone that pushes the Shadow Demon to the right, and as a result, the Riki dives going for the kill, and they're able to turn this one really effectively. So that was a really good moment for Liquid, but ultimately, it was that team fight around the top lane. They tried to engage in this area of the map to look for kills. They couldn't find it. This ward spots 𝙈𝘀𝘆. He gets cleaned up absolutely for free. That was really nice. And then for some reason, I'm not sure why, Ace decides to take the portal here to go to the top side of the map. Felt he wanted to be there, but he gets spotted. Now here's the Liquid vision. They actually don't know exactly where he is, but they're chasing. And he gets scared. He uses his second skill, and that reveals where he is. They end up catching him. They force a team fight. For some reason, Quinn goes in here, he gets coiled. This was the beginning of the end for Gladiators losing their advantage. So a crucial mistake there, uncharacteristically as well. So that's how they get behind.
Thank you, Purge. A tiny bit of nerves coming out there from Gaming Gladiators, the way that those plays were described. I think there's one important thing that this game had that I don't think other games will have. It's time to go back to the drawing board and talk about the draft, because I want to talk about the one point where I thought, in my humble opinion, where things went a little bit awry, and I would love to have an explanation. Lacoste, Rubik. We saw the Rubik ban. Why didn't they ban Tusk?
Because they wanted to pick Underlord. It's one of the worst matchups when it comes down to heroes. You can solo win the game. You steal Pit of Malice, you steal Firestorm. These are going to be your 2 best spells. You have better cast range, you have a spell amplification on top of that, so very difficult one, but looking for the adjustments in game number 2, this Tusk, too powerful hero, especially for Boxy. I know I'm going to sound slightly biased, but Boxy for me has been the best position 4 player in the world for quite some time. He's doing some insane things every single time with the shards. He's always up to something. Never underestimate him.
He was the hero of that fight at minute 17 where Liquid turned the game around. That was all Tusk and his plays. So I do agree with you, Shiver, that Tusk should be banned out. Liquid Boxy just plays that hero too well, and the flex is still there even though we mainly see it being played here. I think that if you're putting yourself in a position where you're first picking Underlord, not allowing yourself to not give away Tusk to Liquid, you have to rethink your opener. Don't open with this Underlord if you are still allowing heroes like Shadow Demon and Tusk through, because you also drafted a Batrider. Batrider is completely countered by saves from the enemy supports.
I think it also goes down to the CK pick, right? Like, sure, you want to get your CK to kill Visage, but then you're bringing the CK to the mid lane to, you know, contain the Puck inside the smoke screen, using the Flame break from the Batrider as well. Like, you're doing everything to kill Puck, but you didn't ever really kill Visage. He died 1 time in the game. The fact that 22 minutes, 33 has Boots of Bearing and Shivas, your entire plan of win lanes, tempo pickoff falls apart. So for Gaimin to even have a fight in this best of 5, they need to make sure their safe lane can kill off 33. And don't just run to mid lane.
Babi, kalah ini ban.
And And Gaimin need to identify that and hopefully fix that for the upcoming game.
Yeah, so we feel like Gaimin potentially drafted a little bit too one-dimensional, that if indeed the tempo could not continue, which it didn't, because Team Liquid put a stop to that, they didn't have anything Lacoste to fall back on in their draft.
They were super strong first like 15-ish minutes of the game. If they continued the domination, the lineup would look really good, but they also needed some extra items. They needed Ricky to have a BKB, which never came down to that. And we see a lot of these lineups that go pretty much all in, where you're strong for like 20 minutes, then you're vulnerable between 25 and 35, maybe 40. That they do fell short, but I wouldn't say there was anything wrong with Gaming Gladiators lineup. They tried something. It's a BO5. That's a different beast. You want to experiment a little bit more, try to put them in a position where they don't feel too comfortable, especially with this last pick Ricky. And I think we're going to see more of these picks. Maybe not Ricky, but they have been getting. We should also take a look at how the teams have done against the meta thus far, on why we see these two teams going a little bit beyond what you might have seen over the last 2 weeks. Effie, if we focus on Team Liquid, they have had tremendous success against the heroes that a lot of teams would consider to be the meta heroes.
They really have. They've been dominating so much throughout this tournament, so I thought it would be cool if we took a look at the meta heroes that they've beat the most. Mirana, which is the darling from the support role because of the carry flex, they've beat her. She's only beat them 1 time out of 6 games. Dragon Knight, 2 of which were games against Gaimin yesterday. They have beat Dragon Knight 4 times. They beat Timbersaw 4 times. The heroes they've lost to, Kunkka. Kunkka's probably the only hero, when I was looking at all of their stats, that Liquid have struggled against.
Yeah, what you're showing here with the graphic is basically Liquid has lost to moments where teams survive the Liquid aggression. If Liquid want to go and try and break the map at 20 minutes, if they're running into a brick wall and they mis-execute, that's when the game can get difficult. But the thing here in this matchup, Gaimin likes to play quick. And unless Gaimin want to change their playstyle in a grand finals, we are just going to see 2 teams clashing into each other to see who breaks the map first to then close out the game. Because if you swap the drafts around, Gaimin will do the same thing. They'll win that 1-1 fight, then they'll just break the map in the game. So I think, at least for Gaimin, if they can just slot in a couple counter-aggression heroes, it might allow them to...
Where do you plan on placing?
Yeah, with this type of draft, it is so volatile. One mis-execution and... see ya.
Yeah, this is also a best of 5, which is a whole different beast from what the players have played so far, as they are ready to take the stage again. Game number 2 soon being shown on your screens. I'm sure emotions are high, and all the energy that this Royal Arena has to give, both teams will soak up, because they need to go head-to-head against each other. And when we're focusing on this second game, we are focusing on the learning curve, which in a best of 5 is a little bit different than in a best of 3 Lacoste. Do you feel like both of these teams sometimes have teams like testing the waters, you know, letting a hero through to see if they can play against it?
Absolutely, because you want to have that advantage. You pick something very cheesy in game 1. If it works, they need to make all the adaptation, but you have also other strategies prepared. I would say Team Liquid is in a good hands right now, considering that they only played 5 different heroes from their offlane role and 5 different heroes from their position 4 role. So that means that they have a lot of stuff prepared. They've been winning most of their games. They played every single series in the upper bracket was a 2-0, so they didn't show. They were never had their backs against the wall. That means that they have a lot of heroes they can still play, but they're not going to change anything, because for now, it is working.
Oh, yang di sini ya.
But that also means that 10 unique heroes from their offlane in Foxy and 33 should make it, so that they are easier to focus within a draft. And that really does go back to the supports that Gaimin went through. I think that if you can limit the hero pool of 1 out of the 2 in that offlane duo, you're making the draft and the game much easier on yourself.
So, yeah, who are you going to focus on? If you had to choose, pick your poison, T.
I mean, there's what, 5 types of poison you have to take, but I'd argue maybe you know what's coming every single time, so find safe lane combinations that can at least play into it, right? Like 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄, he's played, of course, Alchemist, but it's getting banned out. I think like Razor's going to be pretty good for 𝙈𝙀𝘄 if you could pressure in lane. If you push back 33, like, I just want Celery and 𝙈𝙀𝘄 to have kill threat. If kill threat independently is available, that's when the twin gate you then make moves, and I think that's what maybe Gaimin was missing a little bit in that previous game.
Nunggu di
It could
sini.
be that they were missing that. We're
Dulu
talking about
Ronaldo ya, bisa
adaptations
Ronaldo
being
ya.
made, and of course it is Gaming Gladiators that lost that first game, so they will be focused most on making adaptations. And even though Team Liquid won, I do want to focus a little bit on those first 10 minutes because Team Liquid winning, great, but I'm sure they did not like feeling like they did in those first 10 to 15 minutes, Lacoste. I'm sure they're going to try to avoid that.
Oh, that's for sure. I mean, they were, what, 7k gold down in the first 11, 12 minutes, so they will try to punch back. A little bit of a misplay, sometimes it does happen. You know, Nisha solo dying to Ricky, underestimating. I'm not sure if he played as many times this matchup. Casters also talked about it. They didn't see it in a really long time. So sometimes these forgotten heroes, you tend to be surprised by what they can do, especially with the small buffs throughout the last couple of months that did happen.
I think that's the hero that they will think about for sure, especially if they get Nisha that puck in this game too. I would not be surprised at all to see Ricky banned out in that final phase, because even though Gaimin did lose, they showed their hand there. Like, that it was an incredibly dominant first 15 minutes. And for Liquid, they just did a great job at bouncing back. The two heroes they had on their side lanes, Nature's Prophet and Visage, are just very good money printers. Visage, with a couple of kills, any comeback fight is just topping the net worth. Nature's Prophet, when he gets kicked out of lane, he has that ability to just be anywhere he needs to be. The enemy jungle, his jungle, he can find the farm. So I think that Liquid at the moment are feeling very good about themselves looking into that game too, and they're not going to make any gameplay adjustments, just draft adjustments.
Yeah, I can see a world where Gaimin respect the Nature's Prophet a little bit more, put that into the ban phase. Maybe even we see the Naga Siren that's been banned pretty much in every single game of TI. That might slip through in one game, just to put a little bit more respect on 33.
And you think it will slip through in favor of who?
Probably Liquid will be picking it up.
They will be picking it up?
Potentially.
Okay, we'll see. I don't know if Naga Siren will make an appearance, as this is the most dominant hero that we've seen over the last 2 weeks. But we're going to find out what is coming our way for game number 2.
Team Liquid versus Gaming Gladiators. Grand Finals, Game 2.
What is coming our way for game number 2, Effie?
I got a little too excited there, Steven, but for a Gaimin, I think that they really do need to give 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄 a hero with a better timing. The reason why these semi-carry ranged heroes like Wind Ranger, like Lina, have been so popular is they get that Gleipnir timing and then they have kill threat around the map. If all of this damage is happening in the first 15 minutes, you want a carry that within that time can take advantage of it economically and be able to join the fight explosively.
If they want to go for a carry, I would not mind to see Wind Ranger for 𝙈𝙀𝘄. If they want to go for a support, Mirana is still available, so they do have a ban into a pick. Either that or take Shadow Demon, because Shadow Demon, played by Tofu, always a 3 to watch. This guy making some insane plays, hunting people down.
Well, there is a Naga Siren, and it will be on Gaming Gladiator side, T-Gov.
Fair play. So the logic of this one was, I feel like this is where, when you get to a grand finals, the heroes that always get banned, they have to appear at some point, because there is like the respect of the game. And here, Gaimin, they have first pick, they ban the Village, the Doom, maybe they could give it to Liquid, pick a hero themselves, but instead, they take it, and Liquid instant response to the Nature's Prophet.
Naga Siren is so hard to play against though. I mean, she's been banned almost every game for a reason. She has such high armor on lane where she doesn't lose trades. She provides map play with her illusions where as a position 5, she can push out whichever lane that she chooses. And then she has the ultimate reset tool in the game. That Song of the Siren with the card is, it just flips teamfights over their head. We saw that the Kunkka win rate against Liquid is good for that reason. If they can prolong these fights, find that reset, stop that timing of their aggression, kite out the fights, should be good for Gaimin. So I'm surprised this Naga was given away.
I mean, of course, the classic as well, very strong with the illusion, with the dash resistance, you know, push waves like we said with the damage, like it is really obnoxious to play into. But there is a world where, like, if the game is too quick, then sure, Naga, she likes a little bit more of a, let me use my song for that one big fight, let me, you know, get the vision from multiple opportunities. If the game's too quick, it's like you're not always going to have song every single fight. That's why I think Liquid insta-pick their Prophet, because the speed in which they can play with this hero they can eat through, you know, one ultimate from a Naga Siren. Like, it's not going to be the worst.
Nanti kita ngambil ini aja ya, paling atas ya.
Inevitable pressure and have more heroes to protect Naga, not having to be the only hero to survive the fight, or at least, you know, disengage from the fight.
Naga is also a hero that can stop some of these pushes while creep cutting, creating those illusions. You cut one creep wave, maybe two of them. One of the reasons why the hero is so popular is you get quite a lot of farm. This is one of the most farm-heavy position 5s in the game right now, I would say, and also one of the reasons why this hero is the most contested hero of the International.
And another strength of Naga is in the snare is such a high value at level 1. Like, this hero's kill threat comes online very early on lane. So I'd like for you to take advantage of this setup with the ensnare. Like, with one of those Ďačio turret heroes, even Alina could be really cool here. Just any kind of follow-up damage to make it so that Naga isn't just a song.
Shadow Demon being picked up. Team Liquid got one of the saving supports again, as we do have to note that once again...
Babi, ayo maju nih. Ya Allah, udah pak lagi deh. Baru juga masuk. Juga masuk.
Может быть, это был байт, гениальный байт сейчас. По моим скромным ощущениям.
It could get a little bit clunky, hence why I think Liquid hedged their bets, went for the Shadow Demon. If Gaimin don't pick it up, they'll take it themselves.
Kalau nyari
And also, Shadow Demon is the anti-ace hero. If you're playing against ace, he's going to have a trillion auras. With the Shadow Demon Purge, you can just remove that on a single target and to keep them out early.
Yeah, but not in this one. Centaur, he has, with the Stampede, this is the statement. This is not anti-carry. Shadow Demon, we don't care too much about it. Once you pop it, we're going to be able to reset. You also have Naga Siren. So Gaimin Gladiators looking forward to seeing some of these more prolonged team fights.
And once again, they're respecting what Naga Siren can suffer with, because they're
heroes,
in theory, should be independent, not requiring heroes to help them out. Like Centaur plus ranged hero, when you get Centaur to his first cheap item, you can leave him on an island. He can play by himself, and that's when you make other moves. And Enchantress, how many times have we seen Enchantress just free cast the spells? You know, Impetus constantly, Dragon Lance, Moon Shards, like Snaking, Celery, like every POS 5 at some point has just had an insane game on this hero.
Now, I will say that Naga Siren has been incredibly popular, but mostly as a position 5, and you are also right, it is normally Celery that plays the Enchantress. So which one would you like to see bumped up in priority? As, once again, the Tusk in the hands of Team Liquid, so they got the double saving support, and they follow that up with the 33 Bristleback, or Mickey Bristleback.
Yeah, but with this draft that Liquid have crafted, it's skirmish, 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 run at you, run at you, run at you, and there are no stuns on the
belum kelihatan,
Cok. So I want to see
NP-nya mau
with this
jadi
18 pick, explore the lack of stuns and go for a or puck themselves. Something that can have free reign at later parts of this game.
Berapanya GG kayak tadi itu loh, game
Tofu, the last time he played Enchantress was in 2023. Before that was only a game 2019.
NPM juga nggak begitu
pro games on Enchantress. So it's not as if it's like a specialty for Tofu. And I feel like Naga Siren is always going to be the 5 position. Unless Tofu wants to bump it up in priority. Again, I feel like Naga
BB-nya antara
needs to be the 4. But yeah, Tofu's going to be he's not too, at least competitively seasoned on.
In that case, you can always just have a support top. Like, you can have Celery Rain bottom. He doesn't necessarily have to go top if you are committing to playing this Naga Siren.
Sama SD kan kelihatan tuh.
And now the counter aggression pick with the puck. You want to try and prevent that movement from Liquid. My concern here, where is the damage? When Liquid gets to like Bloodstone, Axe on Bristle, and Prophet has his BKB, what stops them from just walking down the lane, hitting the tower with a tree, Tusk and SD saving? There's no real
kalau BB-nya tuh pasti carry. MP-nya mid.
For Ďačio. I mean, you need bonus damage. She provides that damage to the
masih
entirety of your team.
Hero-heronya 3-3 gitu.
Strong on lane versus Bristleback, and it'll give them that early tempo to play on. Also, like I mentioned earlier, no stuns for the puck, so I do think that Team Liquid needs to draft a failsafe, a means to stop Quinn if his game starts to get out of hand.
I feel like I prefer to see like a Monkey King type option for Gaimin to take a little bit more fight. I'm worried like a Luna is a bit too slow, where after lane you play to the jungle and there's no real map play to be had. Invading stacks, like contesting is a key theme for Gaimin, at least in this one.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing some stunners from the mid lane for Team Liquid. 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼 definitely comes to mind. You're playing against Naga. There's going to be a lot more illusions. Instant stun against Puck. This is something that they did play once or twice against the same matchup. The other one is Tiny. I think this hero also works because you want to have some extra burst damage when it comes down to the Enchantress. Avalanche, great tool against the Centaur, and also you can toss somebody into the team. Bristleback is not answered yet.
I just realized, yeah, Monkey's banned, so well. But that type of hero, and along that line of that type of hero, 𝙈𝙀 banned out as well. We haven't really seen too much 𝙈𝙀, but they are respecting the thought of, what if this core just blows up our Bristle? If we don't actually end the game in 25 minutes, does it not get pretty scary? And yeah, they're banning out these heroes that have that X factor, that comeback potential. And that is true. Boxy on Tusk is pretty free win.
I like the 𝙈𝙀𝘾𝘄𝘼 idea you mentioned, Bloodcast, or DK for Team Liquid. Just that stun, that ability to play off of an initiation that doesn't come from your Tusk will simplify for Liquid. It will really go a long way.
Well, let's see.
SK ada naga siren.
Also half a minute
Ada
left in
Centaur.
their bonus time.
Nggak akan bisa main tuh SK.
But just about to play, but what their game plan will be.
Iya, gue tahu.
And what their
nggak akan bisa main SK-nya.
That is the main question. I just wanna get this out. Naga Siren, there's no chance it's gonna play it as core, right?
No,
mereka butuh burst damage buat Naga Siren.
It's been a long time since Naga has been played as a core.
Another option for 𝙈𝙀𝘶 could be the Alchemist. That way they can play the Eng 5 and then experiment. Okay, the DK does come out. They stole it. They took it away. I think this is excellent. And now they have a carry on 𝙈𝙀𝘶 where he just buys Blink Dagger first, which is the item timing we talked about around that minute 15. Runs in with his team, has the ability to take the towers, has the ability later on in the game to outscale the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, this is a good game where there's two types of Dragon Knight, right? You got the Dragon Knight, which is the high-speed Blink Orchid, or you have the scaling Dragon Knight with the Armlet into SMY, and then you like Daedalus Satanic, and you become the unkillable Red Facet DK. Potentially this time around, I'd like to see him go greedier to become the true core of the game, because if they do go active, they still have damage issues early on. So I'm hoping, for at least gaming's sake, it does feel like a flip on the script. They aren't going to be about how quickly can you scale whilst dealing with Liquid.
What you're describing is some K1.
Yeah, I want K1 level DK.
Exactly. Yeah, because he was staying 5k ahead, and Tiny comes out. A good solution, as we mentioned, great against Puck in the lane. You always have some kind of a stun cheap as well. Blink Dagger, this is something that they have been lacking. I see a lot of speed on side of Team Liquid again, and I think they're going to be hitting an earlier timing. 𝙎𝘾𝘄𝘼 on his Nature's Prophet, double save again. You can make quite a lot of stacks with these heroes, and Team Liquid, so far in this tournament, has been top 2 teams when it comes down to stacking. You have Tiny, who can clear the stacks, and most importantly, Bristleback. I think 33 in this one takes priority, because once he gets stacked, his item timings, you did mention the Aghanim Scepter, the Bloodstone, SNY, that's going to follow up later. I think this Bristleback has a pretty great entry to this game.
I think we've got Celery on Enchantress. We've seen him excel on that hero. We have Quinn playing versus the one threat of the Avalanche toss Tiny. This should be a really great puck game if he gets a few support rotations to mid. He's got a bone to pick with Team Liquid. I think Quinn will take this game too.
𝙈𝙀𝘶 has to ignore his team in this game. Stop playing the active carry that you've done in the past. I need you to focus up, just hit the creeps, become the K1 of Western Europe, and make sure that when the game gets tough, you've got 3-4 big items to bring to the fight. If you're not, then yeah, Liquid are scary as ever.
I can't wait. I feel like this game, both teams will bring that aggression inside the game. Before we head to that game number 2 of this Grand Finals, though, we're first going to head over to the stage where Sir Action Slacks is with Coach CY.
Apakah gamenya sulit?
Mungkin. tapi sebenarnya Liquid hero depan semua loh. Iya nggak sih, hero depan semua nggak sih tuh?
Butuh item juga.
Iya. Tapi not bad lah. Saya masih bisa mengimbangi pick-pickannya GG Gimang lah.
Oh my god, it's almost time!
1000 lebih.
Iya, bisa sih.
Nggak tahu.
Total geng sih kayaknya 25 lah ya. 2 lah.
Physical damage-nya PA aja nggak sampai segitu nggak sih, coy?
Ini gue levelingnya follow, gak XP gitu.
Ya nggak sih? Tapi gue nggak tahu udah lama nggak.
Udah sampai itu viral.
Bakal game panjang nggak ya?
Enggak, Pak. Enggak. Kayak tadi sampai ke mid game doang. Tapi soalnya apa? Kedua tim bukan carry yang late game gitu loh. Tau gak sih? Kayak lu main cuma sampai mid game doang gitu. Beda kayak tadi game ketiganya GG sama Tundra. Tundra itu kan memang sengaja untuk dilihat dia karena mereka ngepick hero carry yang memang buat late game gitu.
Kalau made them just come back in that game after that 7K deficit that they had just for some clutch saves and aggression. And yeah, I mean, we'll have to see if this type of gaming strategy ends up working because it is a bit different from the style that we've seen them run in some of these games in this tournament.
Already seeing here setting up around the early action. No one going to find any fights off the back of the first bounty runes. But yeah, what do you sort of make of gaming's overall direction this time around then in comparison to what they went for in game 1?
More scaling. They're going to be able to just play the game to the later stages and stuff like that. I feel like that last one is a very standard. They want to snowball out of control with this Underlord and Chen and just completely dictate the pace of that early first 20 minutes. But yeah, Liquid, they fought back formidably. This one feels like they can look to stall the game out, play more about that economy game and stuff like that with the DK. Just, is it going to work is a bit of a question. Because they're Liquid, they did switch things up as well. Even though they have 3 common heroes, they bring in this Bristleback that's not been played too much throughout this tournament. But I was looking actually just before this game started. 33 has been kind of playing it in quite a bit of pubs.
And is there anything specific about the Bristle right now that you could imagine 33, is the reason why 33 feels good about this hero in this meta?
Yeah, I mean, you're able to fight super fast. You thrive off of stacks, and he's playing with 2 of the better stackers in the game, the Shadow Demon in particular. And he's just able to park himself in front of towers and defend maybe some of these early aggressive moves.
Well, level 1, though, could be a little bit vulnerable. The snowball save's going to come out for now, but 33 still getting brought incredibly low here. And they're trying to bait one another in. Maybe 𝙈𝙀𝘶𝑜's the one getting baited in. Have up to, what, the 3 stacks of the quill sprays there, so 𝙈𝙀𝘶𝑜 had to be careful. Both cores getting harassed very low by one another's team's supports.
They make the call though, Boxy's like, all right, maybe there's a little bit of a hard lane to just play straight up. He's going to try to at least pull this wave on the side here, and it should be successful. Mid, Quinn, we'll see how he handles versus Tiny, another hero that's not been played the most throughout this tournament, but a standard counter versus the puck.
Yeah, one that historically we've seen Nisha have some explosive performances on. See how well he's able to potentially get a lead in this matchup. How does this work? We saw obviously switched around last time, Nisha being on the puck.
Oh, jadi UBL-nya malah level 1.
Oh, is it also something that he can have a little bit of an edge early on, or is it not quite the same?
Yeah, slight edge in the denies, but it's a very skilled matchup, right? I think I've seen either of these
tapi nggak boleh pakai multi-shoot sama aim-shoot.
Early CS and stuff like that.
Cuma nge-hit biasa gitu loh.
You just get so much extra healing when you're playing in the lane just from this puckish, this innate ability. You're able to just walk in, take tower hits, dodge spells as well too. So
namanya Baywan pakai pet anjing.
Looking down at the safe lane this time around from
pet lawan pet gitu. Mana lawan aing gimana?
Shouldn't quite kill him, but at least it's going to force him right back. And Sani having to be careful as Tofu tries to push forward in return.
Oh, and this matchup actually in the mid lane, something really interesting is, of course, you can dodge normal spells and also the tree grab. I think Nisha has to be careful every time he throws the tree at the puck, because if you dodge that one, you actually get 4 times the amount because it's a spell projectile. That's what it looked like, at least. I believe he healed for like 100 or something when he threw the tree and dodged it. I'll keep eyes on see if that mechanic actually works like that. But
so far in the CS in the mid, it's proven to be pretty even in performance. 16-1 on Quinn, 14-3 for Nisha.
Yeah, pretty solid stuff. And also, one thing that we do get to see, which I think has not really gotten through in too many of these games, it's this Naga Siren. And it's not a 5-position Naga Siren either, which is very interesting to see. They do want Celery playing this Enchantress, but it's playing interesting.
Quite a few quill spray stacks onto 𝙈𝙀𝘶𝑜. He's got to back off. And the heals for Celery coming in. I mean, you feel both teams here, Liquid and Gaimin, really trying to push one another's cause to the edge, to the limits here in this laning stage. Top. Just the question is going to be who's the first to fall off the back of these back and forth fights between 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 and 33.
Just have to be careful because it's such explosive damage that can come from a Bristleback out of nowhere, and they do have a healing Lotus on the Tusk as well. So if you do get over aggressive, overzealous, they could just pop that Lotus, get an extra quill or two out. So you do have to be a bit careful on the side of Gaimin how aggressive you want to get onto 33. But 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄, he's farming good. That's the important thing. So 21 and 4, and he is pretty much full HP.
And overall, do you see Gaimin Gladiators maybe having a bit of a better plan for dealing with mid-K if the fight started to get out of control? Because we saw last game, despite that early lead the Gaimin Gladiators had, when they started to sort of slip behind, there were so many fights that mid-K was just able to find prime position to sit in place, turret out that damage, and get just this incredible net worth lead. This time, do they have better answers to the safe lane Prophet?
I feel like they actually had... They had some really good heroes versus the Prophet in the last game, to be honest with you. So I'm not 100% sure, but they do have good ways to get on top of him and bring him down to more control, I would say, than that last one. But there's still these saves, so it's tough to really say, because the Shadow Demon and his Tusk, we saw what they were able to do to just stop any disruption if they were in a good position, which after the first 12 minutes, they were always in that right spot.
If anything, you know, we saw how well Liquid supports were able to get the saves up for the game against a smoke screen, you know, where Ricky was involved. This time that's not there, so it may even be a little bit easier for Liquid to pull off these clutch saves when Gaimin Gladiators start making moves.
Gitu. Dia kan biar mana tahu damage-nya berapa gitu kan.
This mid matchup is hype. I mean, it's very, very even. Just 100 gold difference between the two of them.
They're going to hit pretty similar pace here in the mid.
But the puck can stay sustained a little bit easier, I would say, at this point, just because of that constant healing that's coming out. So Nisha actually does get pushed away from the lane.
They're going to go for 𝙈𝙀𝘄. Straight away, they see that he's alone. The TP comes in from mid-K. 𝙈𝙀𝘄's gone. It's first blood for 33.
Heads up stuff, and immediately can just TP back to bottom. Love it. mid-K tried to do this that last game, too. Early TP around that 4-5 minute mark. This time it works out just a bit better. And 33 now, top of that net worth. DK Enchantress lane, usually a lane that it's pretty difficult to bully, but if you're going to be able to bring the numbers like that, it is beautiful.
And in terms of the Naga Siren, right, one of the edges, right, with this hero is the presence in the lane. I mean, the question is, has TopUp been able to do enough in this laning stage? Because looking at the farm, not really caused any slowdown for mid-K.
No, and most of the times when I've seen this hero played so dominantly, it's because you're playing with that range core in the safe lane. You're able to abuse either this ensnare plus real combo with the you get some early kills. So, yeah, definitely going to be a different kind of approach from Tofu and see what he's able to do. Right now, it's just him using mirror images to kind of block camps and manipulate waves like that, but it's not really having the effect that maybe they wanted to in this bottom lane. Yes, Ace is you're not really putting pressure onto mid-K.
Cara ngilangin bapaknya.
I'm gonna go for another move down towards the bottom.
Oh, this is cool. They're actually bringing 4 heroes. So I guess this is the way they want to pressure because they don't have the best dual pressure. They want to do this, but Boxy's reading the movement.
Liquid seem to be relatively prepared for this potential play, or maybe they're just going to look to go aggressive first themselves. They do. They go straight over towards Tofu.
Creep.
We're going to get the follow-ups done as well from Ace. This could give Gaimin Gladiators the chance to fight back. Celery and Ace, do they have enough damage to threaten mid-K? A bit of body blocking here from Tofu with the Naga Siren illusion, but mid-K is still able to get around, get back to safe to me. So yeah, 𝙈𝙀𝘄 didn't want to be a part of this. Resumes farm up top. So Gaimin Gladiators, as soon as they lose Tofu there, they decide against trying to make that sort of wraparound play.
The wisdom move, it kind of gets stolen. He's able to just take down away Tofu. He's already living.
Let's go.
He's got no way out.
Does he see him? He's sneaking.
He's actually been able to juke perfectly outside of vision. I don't think Tofu's seen him at all.
Celery, they see this with the scan. Celery's trying to catch him up, and Mickey's just waltzing past them.
They see him, of course, now with the micro. I mean, surely he doesn't get a
Surely not. Ace is looking to go and get him now.
Yeah, they're going to put an end to him here, Ace.
Either way.
And then if he can do some crazy sort of sprout play, he tries, but the Twirling Blades there, Ace will be able to slowly but surely catch him out and cut him down. So he gets the wisdom, does cost him his life.
Always painful to lose these wisdom runes. They're not really the most, I would say, the most level dependent supports on the side of Gaimin Gladiators, though, right? The level 6s aren't really that impactful from either one of them. Yes, the Naga song later on will be, but early on, them actually missing out on that XP might not be the most atrocious thing. Because sometimes it's like a Snapfire that doesn't get a 6 super early, but these two, we'll see what type of result it ends up happening. Of course, the supports on Liquid, they're going to be super happy, and they're going to be very high level. So Boxy, he's already level 5.
Iya berarti gede
In terms of some of the individual farm we're seeing at 33, he's getting quite a scary bit of space up top.
There is. They're going for the surround play bottom. 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝑼's got involved. 𝙎𝑗𝑔
He's trying to TP on top, and 𝙈𝙀𝘄𝑼's found him. In on top with the Dragon Tail. Gaimin Gladiators, have they got any further cancel for the TP of 𝙎𝑗𝑔? They don't, so they'll have to turn and sell for 𝙎𝑗𝑔. Liquid, they get 𝙎𝑗𝑔 out.
Heavy commitment, though. It is a Stampede plus a DK form to at least try to pressure tower and get a kill. They just get a support. And yeah, like you said, in the meantime, 33, he's just doing it, maximizing mechanics.
He's massive.
Yeah, he's just pulling creeps into jungle creeps, stacking them up as much as possible. This is going to be an absurdly fast Ags timing for him.
And we see the progress between the two mid laners, Nisha and Quinn, continues to be incredibly close.
Dead even. Literally 8 gold between the two of them or something, or 9. My math was bad.
But yeah, looking at 33, see, you got to sort of ask the question, Gaimin Gladiators, what's the plan with regards to this Bristle? Because at the moment, 33 is on track to get one of the faster Ags timings you'll see on a Bristleback this patch.
I imagine it's just to get a really, really farm DK. Maybe at some point the Silver Edge later down the lines can be something they look for an answer, but I would imagine it's 𝙈𝙀𝘄𝑼 getting this armlet, getting this type of crazy type of farm to do with him, because besides that, their damage is definitely quite limited versus a very farmed Bristle in the early game. And speaking of very farmed Bristle, he does still have those stacks to go back to as well, which I believe is like a double stack and a triple on the Ancients.
Yeah, that's insane. Actually, if things continue like this, this is going to be a completely insane algorithms timing. Yep. This game for 33. He's already half the way there.
Well, tapi enggak kok, maksudnya lebih damage-nya lebih gede ini kalau ini biasa.
Do have the tools to make plays, definitely on a heroes outside of the Bristle, so we'll see what Gaimin Gladiators look to make their moves. And just in general look to see if they try and check out this area and get some information regarding the stacks of Team Liquid. Celery, caught in.
Big Wrath of Nature.
And with the burst coming in as well from the snowball, Stampede is not going to get Celery out in time. Same time on top, 𝙈𝙀𝘄𝑼's going to try to set him on a 33. He really is, and backup is in for it. Holds back 𝙈𝙀𝘄𝑼. With these two heroes, there's just not a chance, even with Quinn being present. He knows that using a Dream Coil there is just not going to do a whole lot at all. This Bristleback is very unlikely to die unless they bring on 5, and even at that, it might not still be an easy job.
No, absolutely. It's going to be till later on when they have the answers, especially, like we say, the DK, or if they can get him actually facing the right target, because they do have stuns at the least to be able to stop and hold that Bristleback in place. Nisha?
Going to try and get the cash. Nisha opting to immediately break the Dream Coil. TP's were going to come in, but they've actually backed off on that Gaimin Gladiators. They know they're not getting a kill quick and easy. Nisha's going to be fine.
Quinn's in trouble.
He's ended up under the tower, jumping over towards the orb in an attempt to get away from Nisha and Insania. He's got another orb to try and break away. Have they got anything to stop it? They have not. So Quinn is able to dance safely back to the side of Celery's Enchantress.
Almost had the vision there from Nisha. If he was able to get that toss, the phase shift and everything was actually down, could have almost maybe gotten that pocket. But down he smoke instantly, even without the coil at the ready. This is a very unexpected move that could catch Liquid off guard here. They're going to throw the scan.
Let's see what they can find. 𝙎𝑗𝑔 would be the ideal catch.
I mean, they have this deep ward. It's about to expire as well, too. 𝙎𝑗𝑔.
Tapi kan kalau kabum ini kan kebanyakan ininya ya, hitnya ya.
Yeah, this is a solid play here from Gaimin Gladiators, but it will get shown now. So TPs do start to come through. Maybe these two can't get the burst off in time to kill him. 𝙎𝑗𝑔's going to come in with the scope.
They got played
from 𝙎𝑗𝑔, and indeed they just turn and kill Quinn off.
𝙎𝑗𝑔 was that was the fastest TP I've ever seen. It was before they even showed on the smoke. It felt like that was crazy. He's on point with this Tusk.
It looked like they were going to get away with it as well, if it weren't to be for this pesky Tusk. 𝙎𝑗𝑔, save after save.
Dire's middle tower is
𝙎𝑗𝑔's doing some really cool little stuff here too. Just planting this tree for extra damage. That's actually kind of neat. Just this GG branch with his innate. Actually very cool. I don't think I've seen many people do that. I was wondering why he was just randomly dropping the GG branch, and I'm like, oh, very cool.
And the farm continues, and indeed this Bristleback 33. He's completely out of control. The Aghanims, ridiculous timing. He had a pre-12 minutes, I believe.
That's insane. And he's got the Voodoo Mask.
Yeah, the spell life steal's already out on top of it.
Overall, looking at the lineup of Gaimin Gladiators too, nobody really wants to build a Vessel. I mean, Vessel's kind of a dead item right now, but no one wants to build Vessel, and Shivas is not going to come down for ages, even if it does come out for something like Puck. So definitely going to be some problems that they have with this Bristle.
I mean, for Gaimin Gladiators, what sort of item timing or strength do you think they're looking towards to make them this game?
I think it's going to be pretty farm heavy actually on this map gaming. I think it's a very different strategy that they've gone for this game around. Usually they're around like 25-minute aura timings. This is a lineup where we may not even see too many auras come out from either side, let's be honest with you. So definitely a bit of a different kind of style game that it could lead up to these like late games, which I think we're all looking forward to. We got one of these games around like the 20 to 35 minute mark that kind of head. This one could get pretty late game if they're into playing just for this farm game, which for gaming, it looks like they want to. So Liquid definitely have a way to set tempo though. They have this Bristleback who's massive. They can force objectives very early on, and that's what it feels like they're going to start doing, playing around 33.
Yeah, we'll have to see how much they can force, because indeed, if the game gets to a point where we're sort of 25 minutes in and the Bristol's at the high ground of Gaimin Gladiators are going to have to come in with some sort of answer.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's definitely the ideal play the Liquid wants to do, is pressure the map early.
Strong lead in from Quinn. Do they have the damage for facing the Stampede and the Who Stomp? They certainly will. McKay, there's no saving him this time. Gaimin Gladiators, they get the kill, but can they get it? Nisha is in with the combo.
Masih nonton gua. Ambil mulai ini.
He's been caught in by the shards. 33 and Insane are ready to chase down Ace. Celery's going to TP out.
Gua ngeliat gua.
For the bigger target.
Aman aja,
getting Ace as well.
They'll get the trades. And the more advantageous ones, they do have to swing 4 heroes down here, so it's quite a bit expended. And 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄 will be happy to be able to farm off of that timing. Liquid, it's such quick reactions that they've been able to do here. And Nisha now at this point has a very large separation between him and Quinn. The amp damage rune already finished up onto him, or amp damage is on for him, and he's going to have a phylactery pretty early on. So the scaling is also going to come from Nisha.
It's just taking that little bit more time and just been that bit more hard for Quinn to find successful kills off the back of his Dream Club play.
Just be so careful, because there is this type of explosive damage. The tagging is always going to be a bit of a problem for him. And Boxy so far, no matter what lineup he's against, it feels like if he gets his Tusk, it's a problem.
So nice play there, Celery with the wild Ripper trying to tear himself away from Nisha. Nisha for now is going to continue to chase.
They've got the TP coming in.
Indeed, Nisha slowly playing around with Celery. They've got the numbers here. Insane and Boxy, McKay, the whole team pretty much turning up to get another kill on the board here, Liquid.
And the crazy thing in the meantime, look where 33 is. He's just occupying the enemy triangle, kind of challenging them, telling them to come at him, because he knows he's pretty much invulnerable unless they bring all 5. Buys an early shard as well too, so he's got the hairball even stronger. He is a big problem. 𝙈𝙀𝘄 is farming, but he needs a couple bit more items before he wants to be able to join versus this Bristle.
Tapi Hong, kalau seumpama ya, naga sirennya ini tuh dia tadi carry gitu. Dan dia ngawat. Beda cerita kalau misalnya naga sirennya ini carry. Dia masih bisa kuat sih sebenarnya. Iya kan? Iya. Kalau misalnya jadi info tuh kayak kurang gitu. Nah. Udah, ini gue 3-0, Cok.
Liquid's playing too fast for this gaming strategy at the moment. Yes, 𝙈𝙀𝘄 is farming, but everybody else is starting to fall further and further behind. They haven't been able to really evolve Tofu either. I know he's just sitting back, kind of trying to get some farm going, but they can't even reset and avoid the fights that Liquid's bringing to them. The timings are accelerating fast. And so they're losing access to so much, like 33. He just keeps taking away these Ancients. I believe they've been stacking some Ancients on their side, cleaning them up too. So they're farming, it feels like 70% of the map. Gaming under a lot of pressure here.
That Silver Edge, as you say, cannot come any sooner for 𝙈𝙀𝘄. He needs it yesterday against this Bristle. I mean, once it's there, that will be the big test of whether Gaimin Gladiators can bring together a fight to slow them down.
Yeah, but it's not just the Bristle, right? It's Nisha scaling. McKay is starting to get some scaling too, even though he's died twice. He's getting closer and closer to having his big item. He actually has it. Sorry. So Gleipnir's already done, so Liquid can just keep looking to pressure, and Gaming could really struggle in the damage department to kind of dissuade and push them off these towers, or if that early rush, because Liquid feels like they have options right now how they want to pressure the map.
Oh yeah, they're ready to get into the tier 2 tower. If Nisha sees a chance to jump, he's going to be straight in for it. He's got an arcane rune in the bottle as well.
And he's got that phylactery, so that burst damage
is
there.
Kalau misalnya naga sirennya jadi carry kan dia bisa nge-push slam pakai bayangan kan.
They don't want to go for a full-out fight around here.
I mean, Liquid's gonna have a pretty good idea that Gaming Gladiators is playing for this tree
Meskipun
line.
dia ada NP pun juga tetap pasti bakal kesulitan juga.
High ground up to the base. There's going to be no defense outside of a fortification here. They'll push them back temporarily.
This tower's going down. Oh,
Ya, maksudnya kenapa gitu harus maksain DK gitu di depan mata, takut mungkin takut si misalnya itu pakai DK buat ngonter paknya itu.
It's so dangerous for him to step up. Just this tiny pick, it's honestly working wonders to just not allow this puck to have any type of opportunities in the map to split it. Get any type of that extra far. Quinn is very poor right now.
Last picknya DK kan?
Looking to be all on 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼.
Yeah, it definitely is right now. And look at the positioning, like Celery, he's trying to find desperate places.
Enggak, maksud gua udah ada pak, kenapa harus masih ada carry-nya DK dan udah kelihatan agak siren.
Firm control. Roche soon on the menu. Maybe they'll wait for it to shift down to bottom, but they really feel like they can kind of go anywhere right now. And of course, 33, he gets the vampire fangs. I know Sand Kings have been the ones kind of thriving off of this one, but this is definitely one of those other heroes that can become pretty much unkillable on top of already being unkillable. This just adds an extra layer.
Yeah, they've just not been able to slow him down one bit this game. It's just been completely free for 33. It's 19 minutes so far.
And Quinn, he got spotted for a second there, his orb. We'll just be able to split it up.
They just have to keep so much distance between themselves and Liquid, and even at that, as we're seeing Liquid, for good setup of 𝙎𝘶𝘶 TPing in and getting the catch with the Gleipnir, they can still find kill opportunities. So Gaming Gladiators, they're having to play so cautious right now.
This is probably one of the, I think this might be one of the first times I've seen this tournament that Gaming is just full out split farming. They don't really want a full out fight, but Nisha now shows.
See if they can punish Nisha here on his own.
He's got a regen rune.
Backup is coming over. I don't think they can this tiny. Nisha's ready to turn things around. Gaming Gladiators. Quinn will be able to jump down to low ground in time. Tofu comes in with the song. And that may just be enough to save Ace. Indeed, Ace will get out. Tofu able to make sure there'll be no casualties this time for Gaming Gladiators.
Look how much they just expended, though. They're trying to get Nisha, and he had the regen rune. He's full HP. This thing, too, it's gonna fall.
And it seemed like even if he didn't, I don't know if they were getting him there.
Oh, okay. They used the... I mean, this is their high ground glyph.
Coba lihat dong DK-nya dong.
This is a dangerous one to use at times when you are behind like this.
Let's see how much Liquid want to push it. Tower's gone. They're going to be tempted to maybe take the Tormentor first.
Nggak, DK-nya itemnya apa? Udah menit berapa ya? 28?
There's going to be no struggle taking this one away from
nggak ada item.
So Tormentor for Liquid, just a shard there for Boxy.
They use the glyph. They're forcing because this glyph is on cooldown.
Kalaupun dia mau buat apa itu? Mau buat Silver Edge? Kenapa nggak?
Sure, Jenkins is losing it. These glyphs that people use sometimes are very, very dangerous.
I've got the blink now on Quinn, but
they need more
going
damage.
in for action. It just does not seem appealing.
No, they need the next item really on 𝙈𝙀𝘶𝘶. But the items are just flirting it too fast from Liquid. Roche, it's up if they want to go for it, but they're still looking to apply pressure around here, at least to knock away this Wisdom Rune.
Foto lagi tidur, biar apa katanya.
And at the same time, they keep the efficiency up Liquid. Nisha continues to clean up stacks in the jungle that are being made, and 𝙎𝘶𝘶 just finding completely free space on the other side of the map, far, far away from any chance of Gaming Gladiators getting out and finding him.
And Liquid's Tricore is looking beautiful. And overall for Gaming Gladiators, they kind of are in this 4-protect-1 a bit for this DK because of how hard the Pucks game has gone. Yes, Pucks can scale, but right now Quinn is in a very dangerous position versus this tiny.
𝙈𝙀𝘶𝘶 tries to get out with this early play, but sentries are already laid down. They're already prepared for it. And of course, at this stage, still just the Shadow Blade alone. It's quite a bit more until he's got the fully fledged Silver Edge. So for now, the farm just has to continue for Gaming Gladiators. Quinn?
Liquid just wants to force it. The glyph, it's still on cooldown for some time.
I mean, it may be at a point, maybe Gaming Gladiators just have to let this set of racks go.
It might feel like it, yeah.
It's a tough call to make, but in reality, what do you have right now?
You can't stop this bristle. You cannot touch this bristleback.
And Quinn's here, but outside of an illusory orb, that's about it really when it comes to the defense. Tofu just nearly getting it up on the next round.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, their axes are just gone.
They just don't have the defense right now. They don't have the answer. They have to let Liquid take that full set.
Dangerous times here.
Lu ngepick Nagasiren support buat apa
on 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄 at this point. I don't think the silver edge is even gonna matter now, because like you said, it's a tri-scaling core lineup here for Liquid. They can go back for Roche and look to probably continue this pressure here.
And they just have so many saves as well. If 𝙈𝘀𝘄 is able to kind of get in and start off the action on a core, it's incredibly likely Boxer and Insania, they're going to get the saves off. Sure, Gaming Gladiators, they've got some ways to get to the back lines between the blink of Ace and the blink of Quinn. But finding both of the Liquid supports, it's not going to be easy.
No, and it's the thing is too, is these heroes are not squishy by any means too. I'm just still looking at damage. Break, let's say, right, for the DK on this DK for Bristle. But Tiny has 3,000 HP. Bristle also has like 2,600. The Nature's Prophet is also incredibly tanky too. They may be able to focus fire one target, but it feels very difficult for them to bring down all of these heroes. And Liquid is also the Gathering Lotus' own. So on top of having this tankiness, they have a greater Healing Lotus as well in the Shadow Demon to limit even more the damage that Gaming Gladiators is lacking. They're going to keep this pressure going. Celery?
Nggak usah banyak-banyak kok.
To put the Stampede. And Gaming Gladiators, they don't want to lose even the supports at this point. Just try and stop the bleeding.
Glyph is back up to 𝙈𝘀𝘄 in a dangerous position up here.
Bad Dude's top tower gonna fall over soon.
It's going to be another objective that Gaming Gladiators, they're not going to want to do anything about.
There's 4 minutes still left on this Aegis too. Liquid can look to continue pressure. They do have to address the lanes a little bit here, but 𝙎𝘶𝘶, he can always just back up and join his team. 33's forcing it. Strategy right now. It's working beautifully from Liquid. Ace has bought it. I mean, they need this type of healing reduction, right? So a Shiva's on a Centaur. They need to try to fight and push this back. They cannot lose another set.
These are the two big item timings. Ace with the Shivas, and now 𝙈𝘀𝘄 with the Silver Edge. They're going to try and start off the Edge very quickly. They'll be able to take the Aegis into 33's hands.
That's the one.
Boxy and 𝙎𝘶𝘶 turn attention over towards Ace. He's able to put the blame out. Tofu using the song. Gaming Gladiators, they're going to consider if they want to do something aggressive.
Udah gitu doang, Jing.
Step to the side of the fight for now. No, he's going to drag to the side of the drinking, but it's recalled down. The three of them, 𝙈𝘀𝘄, Celery trying to bring the damage. Take that Boxy. 33's going to get pumped up by the heel of the Lotus, Stebling from Insania, passing it over. 33 will be able to back away, but Gaming Gladiators, they'll continue the chase. Comes in from Quinn. They're on to Insania. 33 𝙎𝘶𝘶, they're looking to bail out of the fight. 𝙈𝘀𝘄, can he get us off in time? He can't. The two cores will get out, but Gaming Gladiators, a successful defense. The big items coming just in time between the Shivas and the Silver Edge. It gives them the extra bit of power to push Liquid back.
It was exactly when they needed it. If they didn't get these items pretty much at that exact moment, these Raxes are going down. And it does seem to catch Liquid off guard.
Aganimnya Nagasiren sekarang apa sih?
Overzealous blink forward and gets himself caught in no man's
cuman ulti terus ada ikatnya kan?
Watch this jump from 𝙎𝘶𝘶. This was very, very dangerous. It just puts his team in position where they can just get gone on afterwards.
Iya, maksudnya pas ketika lagi multi kan langsung bisa ngikat kan? Coba lihat Aganimnya. Ya kan, bener kan?
As he gets caught in the front. I mean, just that whole sort of start where Tofu uses the song to allow them to back off. You know, they were ready to hold back and not do anything, but at the same time, they were also ready if Liquid were to go that little bit too deep and make that sort of aggressive play. And that indeed was what ended up happening. They get punished, Liquid. Gaming Gladiators taking away some of that lead.
That's big. That's what their lineup was about. It's not the standard Gaming Gladiators lineup that they usually go for. It's a much more scaling one. They do need to be able to protect themselves for these next... I mean, the pushes are going to continue coming, so they just have to be prepared and make sure that 𝙈𝘀𝘄 stays at this top net worth.
Because, yeah, I guess that's the question. After that sort of defense, you know, if you're Liquid and you get pushed back like that, you don't have the Aegis anymore. You're going to have to wait a long time until Roshan's back up. What's the game plan? Can you afford to sit back, or do you have to keep your foot on the pedal and go again?
I think you want to keep your foot on the pedal. It's probably just playing around with these extra BKB timings, though. When you see that type of pressure play come happen, you're like, okay, our Tiny will go BKB probably, and then also the Bristle back, just to be able to force the issue or force the next fight. And they do have at least the one on the Bristle. I see 𝙎𝘶𝘶, he still went a little bit greedy. He did go Echo Saber instead of the BKB just yet. But they do have triple BKB timing, so I'd imagine
BB-nya apa bar itemnya?
Pressure. Gaming, they just want to keep looking to scale, but they can't fight if it comes to their high ground.
𝙈𝘀𝘄 feeling.
Tapi dia kalau ke break, dia buat BKB.
Wondering if he does want to go down this Satanic route.
Dia ke break
sama Silver Edge. Both feel good.
Tetap masuk ya.
Smoke play from Liquid. They're ready to try and see if they can get a catch outside of the base that could lead them into the possibility of pushing for the high ground once more.
So it's two BKBs. They have lanes in good position too. This bottom lane is always going to keep pushing in because of that early Rax that they got. So looking to swing and catch somebody, but Gaming, they're ready for this. Prepared inside the base, just using the illusions to split push.
I guess the question is if they themselves want to.
Sekarang cara ngilangin breaknya Silver Edge pakai apa? Item apa sekarang?
Nice little semi-push going up top with this Dark Troll Summoner. They will use the glyph on the side of Liquid to stop it.
Efek dari Silver Edge itu loh.
Breaknya. Want to fight on the side of Liquid, but Gaimin.
Itemnya apa?
They're gonna have to wait a little bit of time for the other Dragon Form to come.
Selain Eul, masa ya bu Eul kan akhir.
Kind of comboing with the ending of that smoke.
And look at the neutral item that 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 shows too. He's just jacked up on the armor. He gets the crack.
Iya, BKB
Not
masih
usually the most ideal for the damage potential, but he's sitting at 45 armor or more.
That's fair. It's a whole lot of physical coming out from Team Liquid.
For sure.
Apa?
So start to tentatively head out to the base Gaming Gladiators, but for now, Liquid very much elsewhere.
Coba dong, DK-nya dong, gue mau baca Super Edge-nya sekarang. Bedanya apa sama yang kemarin? Super Edge, coba deketin Super Edge-nya.
To come in and return as
oh ya masih ya.
After that last attempt to push high ground, didn't go
masih
too
sama.
Very careful about how they go for it again. Regaining that lead, we're starting to see that network grow once more, back up to a 5k lead for Liquid with these more passive moments.
Always inside the base though, it's more dangerous than those like outside fights when you're diving, committing forward. So around that Roche fight in 2 minutes or so, that's probably what Liquid is looking for, like you were saying. The BKB still will be stalled out from 𝙎𝙀, but 𝙎𝙀 did find himself a nemesis curse. So
looking at some of the initial Edge touch down to 33, he can, the Dragon Tail's done to follow things up, some of the saves there. Snowball's in and Boxy's ready to help turn things around. TP comes in from 𝙎𝑬. They're going to look straight at him. Try and get the squish kills first, and with the BKB pop by 𝙎𝑬, he can continue to punch into Tofu. Tofu is surviving for this damage. 𝙎𝑬's not got quite enough to kill Tofu off, and Tofu, he's able to get away. Liquid the turn up towards Ace instead, but the Stampede's in.
Pinter sih. Sumpah pinter. Nisanya masuknya pinter nih. Nisanya pinter kok masuk itu. Jadi nunggu songnya dulu, baru dia masuk ke dalam.
Escape and Liquid, they're going to try and do their best not to let them. 𝙎𝙀 back in with another toss combo onto Celery. Liquid take the team fight.
Gaimin thought they could re-go. They had the break potential. We saw 𝙈𝙀𝘄𝑼, he turns and gets that second hit, but it's an instant disruption from Insania, and they just turn and get right on top of him. He is still semi-fragile on this DK if they have those numbers. And that's a 10,000 gold lead. They can look to barrel it down. They can look for another lane here.
They certainly can. No need to necessarily wait now for the Roshan respawn. 33 at level 20, storming down the mid here, and Tofu's trying to cut sort of the waves with the illusions, but Liquid can quickly clean through those.
Bloodstone's about to be finished for him too, so I mean, you didn't kill him yet. You killed him the once on the Aegis with the Silver Edge. The Bloodstone's going to make it a lot harder. Quinn trying to stall things out. Backdoor kicks in for a second here.
They really don't want to have to use 𝙈𝙀𝘄𝑼's buyback. 20 seconds until he's back, and they've got the fortification, so they should be able to push Liquid back without the presence of the DK.
But another flurry of items going to come out, and I believe they also lost their gem in that last engagement. Celebrate. They had it for 5-6 minutes or something, and now they have it on Insania. So overall, all these wards that Gaimin didn't place with that type of outside
Anjing, kayak kira apa ya?
Completely gone from them. The map is dark. And that Roche, it's going to be potential soon. Let's see how quick the spawn is. Gaimin have to be prepared.
𝙎𝑬's got his next time done, the full Silver Edge. So in a situation where we saw, that last team fight, a bit of a messy start in where they were trying to focus Tofu, but they didn't quite have the damage to bring him down. With that extra bit of damage the Silver Edge brings, should be a little easier to dispatch at the supports during the Song of the Siren if 𝙎𝑬 gets his BKB off first.
And now they can, to be honest with you, they might be able to do initiations onto a DK. If 𝙈𝙀𝘄𝑼 shows himself aggressively, there could be a tossback, a break, and this DK will look very fragile. So big damage increase coming out from 𝙎𝑬. Gaimin have to be positioned down here. They have to be ready for the Roche spawn. Trying to get ward control.
They absolutely want to contest this. Liquid.
Sneaking in, they've got the vision.
And he's in with the opening, the avalanche toss combo straight away, bringing him down to about 10% HP here almost on the puck. Quinn, he's got to get out. It pops the off, but Boxy's in with a punch up. Quinn's out of the fight. Celery, he'll try for the TP. Have they got anywhere to stop it? They don't. So Celery will live, but that's Quinn out for a full minute.
It's no hesitation. The second they put the ward down, it's an instant jump. They got dropped, what? It was like 10% HP just from the combo from 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼. There's no way that Gaimin can react in time. That Roche, 15 seconds, but they'll have more than enough time to get it.
And we've seen multiple times as well, 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼 with the blink. He's now
so quick.
More than ready to catch Quinn after he's tried to jaunt out with the illusory orb. He's always there with a follow-up 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼.
Yeah, and even though Quinn, he does have a Defiant Shell and all this little bit of extra armor and stuff, he is still just very burstable from all this damage that Liquid has at this point.
Massive amounts being done by that Nature's Wrath from 𝙎𝙾𝘄. The farm continues as he's ready now to swing over towards that Roche pit. I'll pick up another Aegis here.
Just realized 𝙎𝙗 is just 0, 2, and 12. He's just the assist king this game with those Wrath of Natures.
Yeah, the highest kills they have right now. It's all on boxing. He's got 7 kills right now, 7, 2, and 6 on his tusk.
Him and 𝙎𝙗 have really just putting a hurt on Quinn. This game in particular, it's every single time Quinn showed, they double jump him, and he's either dead or put in a position where he just can't really fight afterwards. The fact that 𝙎𝙗 got Nemesis Curse also does make it a lot harder for Quinn to survive that huge burst damage that comes out. They do have 𝙬𝙀𝘄 with this data list, but it's no defensive items really for him whatsoever.
I like it though. It's all in on the damage.
He has to go all in.
All in on the damage here for 𝙬𝙀𝘄.
It is really a 4 protect 1 in the utmost, so he needs to just go all in on this. And this next fight, it's probably the most important one for them.
Yeah, if he gets to freely attack, you cannot underestimate how much this dragon's going to hit hard.
And they have the buff ups, right? I believe Tofu did finish a Flads as well. They had the Solar Crest from the last fight too, so just throw everything onto him and hope for the best.
See what they can get. This is going to be into 33's Aegis.
And 33 with that Bloodstone that was finished up on top of the other items that he's got now. He is even tankier, and there is a double save as well too, so they need to find the back line. They need to do some crazy type of simultaneous initiation.
Let's see how prepared Liquid's for this, because Liquid's going to know that their creeps are pushing all the way up to Gaimin Gladiators base, and Gaimin Gladiators, they're not doing anything about it, so Liquid, they'll know that they're out on the map.
They got the scan. Oh, puts him on the cliff.
Indeed, okay. He's going to get dragged back down though, 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼, having to make sure that 33 doesn't get stuck in any awkward spots there on the cliff.
𝙎𝙗𝘖's taking the base.
He's just got to put the Stampede. They've got to try and get out of this because Quinn, he's been caught by the initial combo. Tofu does have the potential of the song, if required, to get Quinn out of this.
He's caught by this time.
I mean, the Strobo's going to catch onto him. The song comes out. And it's going to be enough to allow time for Quinn to get away from this. Yeah, he's out with the blink. Tofu coming in clutch with the save, but indeed at the same time in the base, what happened, Fog?
𝙎𝙗𝘖 he took the racks. I mean, he got caught because of the Invis DK sneaking around, but he got the objective, so well worth it for him to be able to get that racks.
𝙬𝙀𝘖 in the mid. And he wants to try and finish this job off. Quinn is being caught. 𝙎𝙗𝘖 has to put the BKB and run. He's too low to want to stick around for this one.
Liquid gotta look to reset for those 60 seconds. Gaimin can't quite take advantage after getting this kill on the Nature's Prophet. Yeah, losing another set of racks when you're at this deficit is painful.
Yeah, the rat potential is strong as ever. Always this Nature's Prophet, especially with the amount of farm that 𝙎𝙗𝘖 has. They'll certainly be looking for that sort of play again, and respect. Gaimin Gladiators, they've got to be prepared for it.
There's only one more.
Something that works their favor. If they can set up a successful trap for the Nature's Prophet, it could be the beginning of 𝙎𝙗𝘖's demise.
Yeah, I don't think 𝙎𝙗𝘖's going to go for some type of play. I think now it's like he's going to join his team and look to go for the press, because there's only one lane remaining. He doesn't need to take that type of crazy risk. That one was just, he tried to seize an opportunity because he saw a couple people. It's just a nice move from 𝙬𝙀𝘄 to catch him off guard there. But Liquid, I imagine when he respawns, they're just going to look to group. And we'll see how Gaimin can fight back for it. 𝙬𝙀𝘄's damage is definitely there if he's able to get these attacks off. A new neutral item soon too would be quite nice for him. I know the Craggy gives him some defensive capability, but we all want just full out aggression for 𝙬𝙀𝘄.
Yeah, going to go straight for that Ags after the Silver Edge, and now over towards the Tormentor. They'll be able to take this one. The smoke comes out from Liquid. They want to make the most out of these final couple of minutes of 33's Aegis.
2 minutes remaining on it. Quinn has to be careful of his positioning. So much burst damage if they see
beli kopi, katanya.
If they do get the chance to jump him, and Quinn is not going to play to take any chances. He's back to the base.
𝙎𝙗𝘖 joining the squad. They're smoked up.
Creeps are being cut at the moment in the mid lane, but the top lane pushing in. Nisha or 𝙬𝙀𝘖 both ready for potential initiation. It's just going to be the illusion for now, baiting some of the action.
Smoke didn't break.
Could look to go again around the mid, but Gaimin Gladiators likely to sit a safe space away from Liquid here. Nobody wants to get caught by the jump of Nisha.
33's gone for Greaves of his own. Yeah, that's very interesting. Just extra little aura. Drinking buddies.
Quinn's going to try and jump in with the Waning Rift onto the 3, and the Mace tries to come with the follow-up, but the Avalanche trips him up. The Dream Calls down, but the BKB's popped by 𝙎𝙗𝘖. Gonna back off for now here, Liquid.
33 standing his ground.
Gua tahu.
Continue just to be this sort of impenetrable brick wall between Liquid and Gaming Gladiators.
And they did get the tower, did get whittled down from these constant hits from the trade and from those tosses. Does eventually die. DK form was used as well too, so there will perhaps be a little bit of a window if Liquid wants to siege once that DK form goes down.
Kalau Bloodstone diklik kan dia tetap ini kan.
Last seconds or so of this Aegis.
Duracho.
He's going to try to start the action and try and see if they can
Ionic masih bisa, Wak. Lepas ketika dia tuh lihat tuh. Dia break tuh dananya.
Boxy's still alive.
Nggak ada rasa sumpah. Ada super X dia masih nggak mati itu BB-nya.
It's about to get taken away from him. So 33 will get tossed back to safety. Liquid, they'll pull back with the Aegis expired.
How is Boxy living all these
Iya,
moves?
kayak jadi carry.
What 10% HP it felt like for 30 seconds. That was a lot used there from Gaimin. 10 seconds till DK.
Miki apa sih FP-nya?
They don't quite have the damage though, and again the disruption saved there from Insania. Ace is caught on the front, they're bursting through this centaur incredibly quickly. Ace is gone and he doesn't have buyback.
The saves every single time. One final Rax remaining. Ace down for 60. Gaimin. Can they continue holding on? Liquid, they'll back up and reset off of that.
They will. I think a little bit of a sigh of relief there for Gaming Gladiators in a situation where they don't have their centaur Ace for 50 seconds. Liquid are going to actually pull back away from them and not try to continue the push quite now.
So many of these fights, Gaming's just getting caught from what I think it was a 3-man Ava toss there, and then a Wrath of Nature comes through, and multiple heroes are just at sub 50% HP. It's scary for them to commit afterwards. And these two supports on Liquid, they have to be addressed. Somehow they have to start getting like extra silences or something, because the saves, they're perfect. The disruptions are coming out almost instantly. The drinking buddy snowballs, etc. It's there just too fast. Gaimin have to try to stop this.
I mean, on paper, you've got to imagine it's Quinn on the puck that's got to find the position to disrupt the disruptions effectively, put a stop to these sort of players coming in from the back lines.
𝙈𝘀𝘿 has found another damage item, so Mindbreaker from that neutral item, of course, and yet the Aghanim's finished up, so a bit strong and almost 25. Quinn as well has kicked up the pressure. Parazma is finished with the Mindbreaker of his own, so maybe like even these little silences or something that he can do with these extra attacks could be a little bit of an X-Factor difference maker. Still very difficult for Gaimin. They can't get through these tanky cores with these double saves.
And Liquid, really with how long they were able to get the action going throughout the end of that Aegis, it's getting close to the time where we will see Roshan pop up once more. And Liquid, with this sort of a lead, maybe not too much of a reason to take too many risks. So
I think they'll wait for that, Rosh.
I think so too.
𝙈𝘀𝘿 trying to do some sneaky plays here, but he's got
eyes on him.
Yeah.
He's going to get the jump. 33's coming with the damage. Backup is there for 𝙈𝘀𝘿. 𝙈𝘀𝘿's have to bail to the high ground. Gaming Gladiators do split.
Nggak ada sentry tadi.
Disruption off. Nisha, eyes over towards Tofu. They've been able to burn through the two supports. This is the sort of fight Gaming Gladiators need in terms of the start of it. Can they get Nisha with the BKB TP out? They've got nothing to stop it. He'll get away, but the song's up to put a stop to the escape. But
Gaming
Gladiators surround the nature's puppet. There's no save left for Mickey as Gladiators hit back hard.
𝙈𝘀𝘿 with the sneaky play, just playing around. He looks like he's, I mean, it's like a typical 𝙈𝘀𝘿. Hey guys, we got him.
That was a good bait.
He's got the whole team with him.
They could try for a bit of a push themselves. I mean, with this,
Inilah dilama-lamain sih. Sumpah aja kalau game dilama-lamain itu bisa kena ini.
Not yet. 500 gold away. He probably doesn't want to use it anyway. They've got the glyph. We'll be able to stall things out a bit here.
It is a okay. Still 1 minute and 45 seconds for the Roshan. So when he's back in, Liquid will have the full lineup back in force.
That could have been a pretty crucial moment. If one of those instant spawns came, it could have potentially
Well,
stuck
check this
there.
out again. I mean, you're absolutely right. 𝙈𝘀𝘿, he just kind of going for the bait play here, and Liquid, they kind of take the bait.
And they took the fight too. I was watching Mickey attempting for some split push potentially. It seemed like sending his trade, but he made the call to join. So they thought that they could probably take this fight, but overall, positioning from Gaming was a bit too superior with that song that isolates Mickey afterwards. And the damage from 𝙈𝘀𝘿, it's getting pretty scary.
And Mickey, and that BKB just not lasting quite long enough to allow the safety to escape. Comes to an end, and Tofu's got the answer.
Ayo.
1 minute till the rush. They're gonna check it
depan
out.
ya.
They wish it was up immediately. 20 seconds to make it. Liquid still gotta make the smoke up. They don't have the same information, so they've got to at least get something. They've got to poke their face there to see. AC was finished for Nisha.
I may have the net worth lead, but Gaming Gladiators certainly have the position advantage here.
𝙎𝘖𝘋𝘄.
He's going to find 33 to start things off. He's going to try and open the play. There'll be an avalanche. Trips up Quinn straight away. Quinn, you've got to be careful. Burst down about a third of the HP. Straight everyone's Insania. The coil's there. Quinn, he's been able to isolate the two supports on the back line. The 𝙎𝘖𝘋𝘄, he's bringing in the damage. They're taking down Insania. Boxy getting low. He'll get another snowball off though, Boxy. And finished on Tofu. Buyback comes in from Quinn. Snowball over towards Celery, but Boxy had to blink out. Still alive somehow on this task. 33 pops the BKB, tries to move forward, but Mickey's actually popped 33 off it inadvertently there with the Sprout. Goes for 𝙎𝘋𝘄. 𝙎𝘋𝘄's able to get over this sort of area of the map that Liquid they can't traverse quite as easily. He's breaking away from them, but they've got the chase down. They've got another set of catch with the Sprout, and Mickey bringing in the damage. Liquid, they push for the fight. They get the combo onto Quinn. He's run out of orbs to jump to. He's got it back up in a second. Quinn comes in there hard from Nisha.
Nah, nggak bisa depan gua ada
It's
itu.
a die back on him.
Depan gua ada
Liquid, they push for the fight. They take it, and they're straight into the Roche pit.
Nobody else is doing damage but 𝙎𝘋𝘄. At some point, he just can't do it on his own. These three tanky cores, they sustain through all of it. With that buyback coming in, Quinn actually buys back, TPs to the top outpost, and goes through the twin gate to try to get involved because he got picked off very early on there. This avalanche from Nisha was absolutely absurd. It kind of read the play and broke that initial go that Gaming wanted to get to try to pop 𝙎𝘋𝘄. And there you see Quinn, he does get punched up and brought down, so they have that number advantage for good amount of time in this fight.
Times in this game, we're seeing Boxy just living on a slither of health.
Unbelievable
And
stuff.
getting to play out another multiple sets of his abilities. And this gives them the chance for Liquid to re-engage. And at this part of the fight, you know, Quinn, as you say, buying back, it's just not enough to shift the tides of the team fight.
No, it takes him too long to get there because it's not like it's his outpost bottom. He had to TP top, go through a twin gate. It took him an extra 15 seconds or so to re-get inside that fight. And now Mega's been claimed. Liquid, they have 45 seconds.
They're pushing on. The fortification comes out. 40 seconds in which Gaming Gladiators is going to have to try and defend with that win. Ace looking for the leader, but he gets caught immediately by the avalanche. Bounces away the Ogre Seal turn. The Stampede's there to get back.
Iya, si paling jago. Nah, Aing nggak bilang, bro. Aing nggak bilang, bro.
They are playing so aggressive
Ini
from the
3-0,
early game
Hong.
to the mid
3-0.
game. They're just very confident in the way they're playing and have to give tons of commands. I mean, the Boxy Tusk is just unbelievable. How many times is he living on slivers of HP? But at the end there,
3-0.
Tak tungguin di sini.
Nggak perlu. Biar apa sih?
Doing it in sort of two incredible fashions so far as well, this best of five. The first game coming in with sure that they don't make mistakes, don't let it slip away from them. A couple of times, Gaming Gladiators, they did come back with a pretty decent pushback, but it was never enough to slow Liquid down. And as you say, they're kind of drawing to some of these heroes that you're getting through, like the support picks. I can't imagine we're going to see the Shadow Demon Tusk duo get through.
there's no way you can give them both, and probably at least not that Tusk, because Boxy out of control.
Well, there we go. So far, ladies and gentlemen, crazy stuff from Team Liquid here in this best of five. They are 2 games up, 1 game away from claiming the championship title against Gaming Gladiators. Can Gaming Gladiators turn this one around? It's going to be tough. 2-0 at the moment for Team Liquid.
Oh, how the tables have turned. It was just about a month ago in this grand finals duo. These two teams were up against each other in a best of 5, and it was Gaming Gladiators that was up 2 games in a grand finals, and they made it look easy. I will say this is a very competitive final so far because Gaming Gladiators is putting up one heck of a fight. But Team Liquid doing it here again in Game 2. Now on match points in this best of 5. Before we get to Game 3, there's so much to talk about, and I think there's one thing I just like to highlight. I think sometimes when we see patch notes in the cost and we see a hero having +1 armor and everybody's like, yeah, sure, whatever. I think Boxy just proved how important just one different in stat can make. How did he live so frequently in such sliver of HP?
Yeah, Boxy definitely a professional e-gamer that reads patch notes. This guy is playing out of his freaking mind. I did praise him before this game. I've been praising him throughout the whole year. Definitely deserves the praise. And with drinking buddies or shooting buddies, because he's pulling them out of so many troubles. I gotta point out the support duo, Insania and Boxy. playing the same heroes twice in a row, having Shadow Demon, having Tusk as well, you have this break mechanic, but it's gonna be nullified by both Disruption and the Snowball, so you're not gonna get the full value. One of the reasons why 33 was playing so aggressive into them.
Yeah, those two supports, they went for Blink Dagger so early on. You had these double blinks in a game where Gaimin were already on the back foot, making it so that any move that they tried to make, the Liquid supports were there to counteract them. And in games where you're losing so far, you just need any kill that you can get you back. But no, Boxy and Insane an amazing job.
Enggak, maksudnya yang di band
error pas 4-nya. He hit his item timing so early from a free lane to being uncontested in the triangle to showing up bottom at minute 14 with an Aghanim, a Voodoo map completely popping off.
Liquid, they just have such a formidable triple threat, right? You've got the Tusk, the SD, and the Tiny. At any minute, if you don't execute on your jump, like you said, the saves are going to come into play, Nisha's going to hit a clutch avalanche. BKBs weren't really a thing for gaming too much in this game. So the avalanche at the top, it was such high value for Liquid to utilize. And you've got to go to Gaimin. They're drafting themselves.
Udah sih kayak 2017 dulu yang lawan apa tuh newbie gaming.
And they're making themselves, like they're making the fight so difficult. And that's why Liquid is such a strong team. They exploit their opponent's inability to hit.
Yang Liquid menang 3-0, udah sama aja nih.
It's a stomp into a Silver Edge break and then you murder. But Liquid, they have the support, the Tiny, to completely break that apart. So even when there's a comeback on the cards,
dari game 1 game 2 kan sebenarnya udah ke counter hero-heronya. Gigi gimana kan counter-counternya. Cuman kayak ketika war gede tuh kayak bingung dulu.
In the next game, like it feels like it's illegal. Like in this fight as well, it's like the DK goes in,
yang diarah BB-nya
for long enough onto the Bristle because they have no follow-up damage, and then it's fully disjointed. Liquid keep fighting back, allowing for the fight to extend further. Huck goes down, has to buy back, but where's the damage? The DK, no BKB, no Satanic available. Like it's just, he doesn't even have Satanic. He went for the Aghanims. Gaimin, it's such a struggle for them. Liquid are just out of this world at the moment.
They have to split this up, this duo, because it's doing way too much. They try to counter it with Ricky in game 1. They had something prepared where you are going to pick up that shard. That cloud for Ricky is going to be something very good against both of these spells, especially once you pick up the shard, of course. But second game, they try to counter it with the silence. Buck, to jump the back lines, it was not enough. Ace also picked up the Blink Dagger relatively early on, Blade Mail into Blink Dagger. This was like top 3 Blink Dagger purchases when it comes down to timing. And also Void Spirit. I think this is the key hero that has been banned in most of these Quinn a matchup where he's going to be able to jump the back line and
on the Tusk, he goes for a Halberd. We've only seen 4 other games of Halberd being picked up. The item is non-existent in the meta due to the fact that when you BKB, the disarm just gets removed. But Boxy, he identifies the fact that against the Ratchet, he does everything. He goes for the Armor build, the Daedalus. Like, if he doesn't have a game, then there is no damage to come out. So he goes for a that no other player cares about. And it comes in clutch. Again, Boxy, the Tusk, please ban it. Or
siapa tahu kan lu resist gitu.
On the topic of the Dragon Knight, all of that net worth was on 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄 this game. Often Gaimin would try to make these moves with Quinn and both of his supports, but it just wasn't enough numbers. They didn't do the damage. And typically when you think about Gaimin and they snowball from the lanes into the mid game and just pop off on the map, it's
aku ngetulis
Quinn +2, right? They play as a ball themselves. This time around, that wasn't happening.
Nah, di Neko 1 second lah.
Level 3 at minute 7, and Mickey TPs in, steals the Wisdom Rune. And that's one of the hardest games I've seen Tofu play. And Quinn, without the turrets that are his supports usually, without that duo that he's able to play with, couldn't find as many moves in that early game.
So why was Naga having such a hard time? Because I've been told this is supposed to be the most contested hero and banned all the time, T.
Because of the lane. You know, Gaimin, they don't really want to put Enchantress on Tofu, therefore they force the Naga into the 4 role. They've done this before on Tofu, where he sometimes plays Bane in the 4 position, so he plays the 5 in a more greedy style. But I think Gaimin are in their own heads. The TI meta dictates, if Naga available, must pick. I personally think that they didn't need to pick Naga in this game. They could have allowed him to take it, forced the SD to not get picked up because Naga's in play, and you cannot put it in the 4 role. It needs to be the 5 position, opening up the fights with Song, and your 4 has to be damaging and threatening in lane. Your Naga central lane is a passive non-pressure lane, and I think fundamentally Gaimin kind of overcooked their draft here. They kind of stumbled into it, and yeah, I think this is probably one of the weakest drafts we've seen from Gaimin so far at TI.
Well, lots to learn from that game, and we saw a lot of high fives coming out from Team Liquid. We saw in the previous game they already had some good comms, some happy moments. I'm sure there's more of the same in game 2.
On me. I'm tipping. I'm alive. Can we go fight? I'm coming from the left, Nara.
Naga will sleep. Naga sleeping. Naga can die.
Killing Naga.
I'm going center.
Naga dying. Okay. They fucked up the sleep. It's really bad.
Center.
Yeah, center. Sprouting him.
DK.
I clipped him.
Here, perched.
Lu perhati si Boxy deh, Cok.
Everyone on DK right now.
Ateng.
Eh,
Si Boxy santai loh
I'm
anjing.
not sprouting there. He cannot kill.
ya emang kan?
Yeah, but
Chill
he
ya.
has gem on the.
Dia nggak banyak ngomong ya.
Nggak banyak ngomong ya. Ya makanya kontrol ininya kan si Boxy.
The focus one by one, Team Liquid is taking out Gaming Gladiators in that game, and then you hear it again, the same as game number one. Mickey is the one leading the charge, saying I'm going on that guy, and everybody is following. Now I know we talk a lot about Shadow Demon, and wow, we saw 33 Bristle at free game, but come on, that was twice in a row with Team Liquid. Nature's Prophet as their first pick, Effie. Is he not the problem? The Nature's Prophet.
I think the Nature's Prophet is putting Gaming in a position where they feel the need to respond to it with either Chen or Enchantress. In that game 1, they picked Chen. In that game 2, they picked Enchantress, because to them, they want a hero that can steal the creep and counteract potential tower pressure. But by doing this, in game 2, they put the Naga Siren on 4, instead of maybe even rotating the heroes around, let Celery go bottom with Ace, let Tofu play it on the 5. No, they overcooked because of this Nature's Prophet. So maybe just, take a breather, take a step back. You can still play those heroes if you want to. You can still let the Nature's Prophet through, but not at the sake of putting Naga Siren in an unfavorable position.
Babi,
This is the big boy. Didn't die a single time in the previous game. Loved his itemization of picking up this early Aghanim Scepter, because they've been stacking a lot for him, knowing that the safe lane is not going to be as pressuring as it should be. So his itemization, Aghanim Scepter, picks it up relatively early on. Voodoo Mask, just have a little bit of that spell lifesteal, and then gets SNY, becomes super tanky.
But this is Bristle's minute 14 inventory. Minute 14, double bracer, arcane, voodoo mask, Aghanim Scepter. And he went bottom. They were smoked bottom, and this is when he made their first big play to kind of have a comeback in the early game. He smoked with Ace's Blink Dagger on the Centaur, got 1 kill, but then here comes 33 with that ridiculous net worth, just comes in with his Ags and just melts Centaur at that point, and it changed a lot too.
Yeah, Mr. Why the game was so difficult. You've got a DK pick into a Bristle, never push the Bristle out of lane. You don't really want to contest stacks too early. Then you've already conceded the off lane, like I mentioned, so you're always playing for the comeback. So again, Gaimin, please, in this next game, bring a little bit more.
Otherwise, we could just
beat Liquid 2 games in a row by 20 minutes. They just control everything.
I'm sure that they'll come back swinging in that third game. Before we get there, though, we're first going to check in what Tsunami and Slacks are up to.
That is right, Sheever. I am here in the crowd. Hello, Copenhagen.
I love the energy right now.
What the?
I feel, I'm there too. I'm hiding on the side of you.
This is a split screen.
We're split screening.
Well,
we're doing PvP right now, Slacks.
Listen up, man. I went and found some Gaimin Gladiator homies in the crowd. Everyone over here is a gaming. What is this? Liquid, get the hell out of here! Get out! Get out! This is all Gaming Gladiator fans right here, and they can use some energy.
Kopi bro, kopi dulu nggak sih bro? Kopi nggak sih bro? Kopi bro. Kopi bro. Ya sudah.
Aing gua udah kelap nih, udah kelap. Apa? Ya, Aing nggak bilang dia ya, Aing nggak bilang dia.
We trust you, Tofu. Please. We can do it. 3 matches. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go! All right. You promised me full energy. I will give you full energy. I'm gonna do something I never do. I'm gonna let you hold the mic. Do not make me regret this, okay? You've got this.
Okay, guys. In Norway, we have a word that's called forsvinn, and it rhymes with quinn. So it basically means quinn or disappear. So can I get a quinn or forsvinn? Quinn or forsvinn? Quinn or forsvinn? Quinn or forsvinn? You got this guy 3 games now, baby!
Yeah, baby! All right, good luck, Tsunami. Good luck following that up.
That's very cute, Slacks. I like that you found fans. But let me just ask the whole arena. Royal Arena in Copenhagen. Are you rooting for Liquid right now?
What more do I need to say, Slacks? I think they did the talking for me.
Boo. That is bull! All right, Gaming Gladiator fans, one more time. He thinks he's already won. This team thinks they've already won, but we are still here. GG, one more time. Are you ready?
All right, forget the partisanship. Royal Arena, are you ready for some more Dota? I guarantee you it'll be a game 3 no matter what, so let's get into it.
Thank you very much, and I know that we've got a lot of fans for both teams in this arena. I think more than anything, though, they are fans of Dota 2, so whether you are rooting for Gaming Gladiators or for Team Liquid, seeing more Dota is never a bad thing. I will say it has happened. Grand Finals where there's a reverse sweep. It's not unheard of. The last time it happened, actually, unfortunately for Gaming Gladiators, Effie, they were on the receiving end of that one. In Kuala Lumpur, just about almost a year ago.
That was so fun. That was one of my favorite grand finals ever. This was versus 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼, who pulled out this great comeback versus their lone druid strategy. And Gaimin, they often are put in positions where they're so dominant, they start to lose a few games, and they kind of crumble. I feel like in positions in these grand finals where we've seen them put under pressure slightly, it starts to snowball, because at last TI as well, 2023, they just got 3-0'd by Team Spirit. I refuse to believe, though, 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼, that it's going to happen again. I refuse to believe we're going to see another 3-0 grand finals.
I refuse as well, but we're going to find out. Game 3, what has it got in store for us? We'll have to wait and see a little bit longer, though. But first, we're going to check in with Purge.
Thanks, 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝑼. I want to look back at that game one more time right before the next game starts. And the key hero was the Bristleback, in my opinion. Watch how 3-3 plays this level 1 where he's vulnerable here. He just presses Quill Spray. Nice snowball from Tusk is going to buy him a couple seconds to press Quill Spray some more. And that basically gets him past the dangerous part of the laning stage, which gets him to the 5-minute mark where he's pretty much by himself against 𝙎𝙀𝘼𝑰. There was a nice rotation from 𝙎𝑘𝑠y. 𝑚𝑘𝑗 TP's in as well, and that's going to get him first blood. That's the last time he sees a hero for a long time, because he's basically just Quill Spraying out these lanes. And then, and then what he does afterwards is he starts pulling the creep waves into the jungle to clear stacks. So he's absolutely maximizing farm. This is the fastest way that you can farm in the early game, and he's getting completely uncontested. And then afterwards, he's going to clear these ancient stacks. He did get blocked by Gaming Gladiators earlier, but they were eventually dewarded. He gets 500 gold from the ancients, 400 from this large camp stack. It was a huge amount of net worth, which led to a 12-minute AGS and his ultimate rotation bottom. Now, this part of the game is really crucial for what it gives to Gaming Gladiators. By him playing this area, this is a really dangerous part of the map for the Radiant team. Most heroes just don't even touch this area. So really, the normal safe area that they take is like this. But they got a whole extra this on the map. Look how much less map space that there is on the Gaming Gladiators side of the map. They just have less resources to collect as the game goes on. And that's solely because he was so stupidly far ahead and he was playing an incredibly tanky hero. And this ultimately culminates with them collecting more gold slowly over time, and that makes their high grounds even easier, especially when they have those saves to back him up when he does get gone on. So Bloodstone on top of that, Aegis to heal up, he's able to do damage. It just makes their game and their sieging a lot easier. It's really hard to get a net worth advantage against Gaming Gladiators, but Liquid found a way in game number 2.
Thanks, Purge. They did. And there's one thing that we talked about before game number 2. One thing that we said Gaming Gladiators should address, one or the other. They should either try to ban out 𝙎𝑘𝑠y or ban out 33. And they chose to do the latter, 𝑇Gov. They chose to try to ban out 33. A lot of bans. We got Doom, Visage, Beastmaster, all removed from the pool. And so he got a Bristleback. And I thought he had a hero pool that was relatively small. Like, they did what we said.
Yeah,
it kind of backfired.
They banned out 33, but then also kind of strategically banned themselves out of even playing the game. So I hope they find kind of some middle ground as they walk onto the stage and they can hear me, so I'll be polite and say, good luck guys, you got this.
I think we want to wish all 10 players the best of luck in this third game of a best of 5 for Team Liquid. They are on match point. 2-0 up against their nemesis team, against a team that has beaten them so many times in grand finals, time and time again. Was it all just a plot to learn and grow to finally, at the grandest of stages, be able to eliminate them and to take that crown, Lacoste?
Patience is the key. They've been very patient, waiting for ages, waiting forever pretty much. Because last year at PI, they also got eliminated by them. So I think this team is hungry for revenge, and it seems like the time has come for Team Liquid. I want to see if Quinn is ready. I want to see if he has a chewing gum in his mouth. Every single time he does, he's fully focused. Didn't notice it on the camera, so would like to see what he's doing right now.
I'm sure we'll get him on your screen in just a little bit. For now, we're seeing the man that has a chance of being a repeat TI champion, Effie.
He is a problem. I mean, Liquid came in full form today. They came to play. They are increasing the tempo that we've already seen dominate so many teams. They've increased it by 5 notches today, where they're making Gaming Gladiators, a team famous for their tempo, look like they can't play into it. And it's all at the core of 33 and his hero pool and the timings that he plays on. In game 1, his Visage just created such a problem after one team fight. The net worth is reversed. In this game 2, his Bristleback just completely free farms and becomes this body that blocks off Gaimin from the rest of his team. They have to do something about him, T.
Again, the cool thing with 33 is, like, when we think about our 2-time TI winners, right? It's like the core of OG doing it, this core of Spirit doing it, right? But to be an individual player, to go from one team of Tundra to move to a brand new team, and then to use the systems that you maybe learned at Tundra, adopt it to Liquid, to then push them to a grand final with a single game away, like, that is testament to who 33 is as a player, as a person, because normally you need, you know, multiple layers of experience to get to this position. So yeah, again, a single game and 33 will book himself into a very elite club.
Really does. And I wonder, what is the biggest difference that we see from the previous grand finals that these two teams played, where the result was so vastly different, to this grand finals, Lacoste? Because it does feel like we see an entirely different Team Liquid on the stage here.
They learned a lot. They also have a new perspective. We said that KP joined the team, so having some new, fresh ideas, because they were always so close, but had this like mental thing, I would say, when it comes down to playing against Gaming Gladiators. And also meta does favor them. Some of the heroes that are super strong right now, 33, he is popping off. And that's why I said coming into the series that his hero pool looks small, but they also have a lot of heroes that they haven't showed yet, knowing that they had all the 2-0s in the upper bracket, so they didn't play as many matches as other teams.
Also, I feel like in the history of Liquid and Gaimin often was the team that presented their strategies, and Liquid have kept adapting. It's like, oh, we need to beat the ace here, we need to beat the, you know, the Quinn aggression. But this is like the first time I've seen Liquid make a statement as, this is our Dota. You draft against us. You know, they're confident. They're not coming into the series thinking, oh my god, our nemesis, we have to beat them. Like, they've made a statement in game 1 in the entire playoff bracket, and Gaimin are the ones second guessing themselves. They're picking a CK Ricky in game 1. They're going for like a game 2 Naga Siren when they don't really want to play it with a puck, and like everything's just a bit discombobulated. I said that, yeah, that's cool. For Gaimin. And Liquid, they're not. They're just continuing to do the same thing game and game again.
Mm-hmm. And they are making the statements that T is talking about, because they're first phasing Nature's Prophet. They're letting Celery's signature Zoo heroes go through, heroes that typically counter that hero. They're letting DK go through in games that it looks really good. They beat DK 5 times now, 100% win rate Liquid has against that hero. They just eliminated Gaimin's confidence yesterday in that hero, and they're throwing out picks. They don't care if those picks get countered. They're challenging Gaimin to play the counter picks, and Gaimin are doing that and losing.
Yeah, I wonder, this game that we just watched, game number 2, had that Naga Siren in it, the one that we've seen banned for the majority of this event. Being able to beat it, T, surely gives a gigantic strategic advantage for Team Liquid.
I mean, we're looking at the ages, it feels like, you know, they're minutes away from potentially lifting it. And that's where, strategically, I agree. Naga Siren is going to be a key piece of the puzzle here. Will Gaimin ban it? Are they scared to pick it again? Honestly, if I'm Gaimin, maybe give it to Liquid. Try and show us how, you know, we just saw Naga lose. Try and beat it yourself.
Let's see if they will allow Team Liquid to have that. Let's see if they can 3-0 this grand finals, or if Gaming Gladiator will push it to a next game. We're going to head into this third game.
Team Liquid versus Gaming Gladiators Grand Finals Game 3.
It is match point for Team Liquid. 2 games up here, and they will start this game 3 on the Dire side. They will have their first pick. It means Gaming Gladiators is Radiant side, and they will have their overall last pick. And it also means that we already know what the Naga side will do. And we've seen the learning curve for the Tusk as well, as both Naga and Tusk, together with the Doom and the Sand King, are banned in this 3rd game. Team Liquid, they have so far banned that Broodmother as well as the Lone Druid, and we'll follow that up with 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼's Alchemist as well. But once again, for the 3rd time in a row, Nature's Prophet, first pick by Team Liquid.
Prophet lagi coy. Gila sih coy.
Game sih nggak sih 3-0 nggak sih coy? Enggak ya. 3-0.
Coba kita lihat ya Tuxnya di banned apa dikasih lepas ya? Tuxnya ya.
Apa ya?
Tux. Itu Ux.
Team Liquid's turn to ban.
Apaan, Bro?
Oke, di banned, Jai.
Today, when it's a good game for Wind Ranger, you should pick it, and also the itemization that he did go for the Revenant's Brooch. There's still a lot of things in Dota to be explored.
And it's going to give 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 earlier timing to play on. It's going to give him the ability to go through the gate and help his team when the side lanes are going poorly. He couldn't do that in either game. We've seen 𝙈𝙀𝘿 just hit the jungle, come out with a minute 15 Maelstrom into BKB, collapse with his team, and take a lot of objectives. I want to see that kind of playstyle out of 𝙈𝙀𝘿. We don't want to see him sitting back and farming on a DK for 50 minutes.
Yeah, and in the previous game, we saw elements of the strategy come into life for Gaimin. Like when Liquid came to the high ground, there was points of pressure. Liquid had to second guess how often they could be aggressive. It was just 𝙈𝙀𝘿 versus the world. So this time around, with the Windrunner, have some elements of, you know, Tofu being able to make a statement. And then when Liquid comes for that inevitable death ball, be ready, have the tools to try and withstand it. Because so far, not the case.
And also just hero to hero, Wind Ranger has a very comfortable matchup against Nature's Prophet with the Wind Run, with the power shot to cut through his Sprout. With the Whirlwind later on, she's always going to be able to output damage even if she's Gleipnir'd.
Yeah, we got a Monkey King and a Shadow Demon ban. It is Team Liquid themselves that ban out the Shadow Demon there. So 2 saving supports that we've seen so far in both games are removed. I wanted to point out that in terms of offlaners, we now do see the Bristleback removed from the pool by Gaimin themselves, but that Visage is still in. Ooh. The one that we saw coming out for Team Liquid in game number 1, Visage is still in, and T-Gov, that's a Marcy.
I would love to see Liquid go for a Treant Protector now, but I'll cover that in a second. Gaimin though, with the Marcy, we used to see it a lot when it was about maybe half a year ago, because against ranged cores, you get that phase boots BKB, you get a basher, you lock onto a ranged hero, and they don't get to play Dota. They get, you know, half HP, 100 to 0 by the support. It also amps up the Windrunner, and it does take a bit of time though, but it's the aggression that Gaimin expect. Liquid though, like I said, the Treant Protector, I'd love this here. The Overgrowth against Windrunner, you get Maelstrom BKB, Overgrowth, you're now nullified in the fight. Wow. The speed in which Liquid want to play.
It's the same for every single game. Visage gives them that extra gold. We've seen game 1, that Visage, even though they were 7k gold down, all it takes is one good fight. Suddenly your net worth is going to skyrocket because of your facet. I want to see what the pairing is going to be, if they want to go for another melee hero. So far, Boxy, the only melee hero he has played in the tournament has been Tusk, but Boxy also has different heroes that he can bring. I think 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 is going to be probably contested as well when it comes down to Boxy, because what Wind Ranger wants to do, she wants to run in, and it's going to be hard to maneuver. That's why Clockwork is also going to be a strong pickup against her.
You're also comfortable putting this Clockwork on Boxy if another support presents itself, and it creates a good lane with Visage. On the topic of Marcy, we could... I know Mirana hasn't been doing that great, but this idea of picking Mirana with Marcy and a ranged core, like amplifying her damage to the max and taking fights based off of that, could be a strategy that reemerges in this grand finals.
We did see Gaming Gladiator go for the Mirana Marcy combo, but they did it on the 2 support positions rather than going for that Mirana as a core. Can still be a flex the same way that Gaming Gladiators have played Wind Ranger as both a carry and a mid lane this event so far.
Gaimin just need to respect that their heroes do not provide damage without items. And right now Liquid are reminding Gaimin, if you do not win your lanes to enable yourself to farm, we are going to break your map. So the next 2 picks, I'd like to see them at least be able to push out the lanes or provide purpose, because I don't think going for pick-off play on Gaimin is going to help you. Even if you get pick-off, you are going to miss out.
Radiant team pick.
Let's see what they get. The Underlord.
I mean, Underlord is the hero that you kind of default to when you're playing against push lineups. So things like Nature's Prophet and Visage that are going to run at your buildings, you can offset that with your Firestorm, with your early auras, and group up early on in the game. So it is an 8 specialty hero. It did lose in game 1, but it feels quite protected in this game 2. There's no Bristleback in the pool. Monkey King was taken out by Team Liquid. Alchemist was taken out by Team Liquid. And the only heroes that are good against Underlord that are left in the pool aren't good in this meta. You know, heroes like Ursa and Slark.
You did mention, Effie, that this Clockwork can be played as a position 4. You know who's a really good position 5 player? That's Insania with his Rubik, potentially. If he wants to steal some of the spells, mostly against the Underlord, now it might be the time to bang it out.
They'll first go back for that Nisha Puck. So we'll have to wait and see what comes out in that final phase, as Mirana will be the hero picked up by Gaming Gladiators. Again, the flex potential still there. We have seen them run this earlier. It was actually the same lane as Mirana Underlord in their second game against Tundra today.
It's a much better game style for Tofu to play a hero that's not going to be level 3, minute 7, something that can play with Quinn early on. And like I mentioned earlier, the Solar Flare as a means to buff up damage on Windranger, with that also Solar Crust that's going to be bought by one of the 2 supports placed on her with the sidekick, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, Quinn has to find a hero that can punish Puck in the lane. If Quinn can shut out the Puck, then there's life to Gaimin's draft. The Underlord will buy the auras, you'll get to the BKB timing Windrunner, and there's a game on your hand. So I'm really looking at Quinn, finding the hero that can stop Puck from just blowing up this game. And
Tapi nggak apa-apa sih,
Extreme Gaming, they utilize this multiple times to prevent Puck from playing the game. Quinn just needs to go, he's got the last pick, a lot of pressure on him, he has to find the hero
tuh bukan hero yang kuat untuk melawan.
his streak of being undefeated in Puck.
Yeah, Void Spirit's still available, so I think they will still remove it, because it's a good matchup. It's also a physical damage. They want something that's going to scale, something that's going to utilize this Mirana ulti, maybe even this sidekick. Most of the damage is going to be on the Windranger, but we've seen 4 Protect 1 strategies not working most of the time, because you are lacking damage in this mid and late game fight.
This is where it's funny what's been going on with DK, because it's another great DK pick for Gaming Gladiators, but every time they run it, every time they run it against Liquid, this DK would fit the bill of the instant stun versus the Puck, a hero that takes advantage of Solar Flare, like you mentioned. I think their confidence in this hero is broken at the moment.
So much damage with the last pick as well. Dark Killer plus Visage in lane, super high damage, Clock and Nature's Prophet. They both like to play onto the map as well. It is so scary how quick Liquid Will Quinn answer this with a counter-aggressive hero? Will he have the hero that shuts down Puck in lane? The team fight. There's so many questions that Gaimin need to answer this last pick, but you can't answer them all with a single hero. They're going to have to choose one of the poisons and then try and cure it.
Give me Shaker or give me that Ricky again. It looks like a god-tier Ricky game one more time. They tried it, it didn't work, but this time around they don't have the double save.
You believe in it?
I do believe in the hero. I thought the hero was going to be picked up so much more, but seems like they were other heroes available on the menu throughout the tournament. Dark Willow is one that I did mention where they're going to be couples maneuvering, and you can also control the fight. So you have Cogs, you have Puck Coil, you have Dark Willow with the Terrorize, with the Bramble. So everybody needs to get into the fight somehow pre-BKB. When it's
why not?
Jadi SF dulu dong.
Yeah, I was going to say like maybe they go for a Timber for another body, but the Quinn Pangalair wreaked havoc in 2023. You know, it fell off a little bit in 2024, but it is a Quinn specialty. It is a hero that can buy time, that can open up the game, and that's all Gaimin really need to do. You go to a high ground or an objective defense. If the Pango and Underlord can keep the fight going, eventually the double buff up of Marty and Mirana will give Winner access to the fight. But it's all about buying time. Gaimin need to choose the correct fights. If they take 1 or 2 bad fights, that's it. The map's lost. You're gonna struggle so much. So a lot of pressure again on Gaimin.
The thing is, Puck is very happy to play against Tango with that Dream Coil. If you're picking this Tango, you're defaulting for comfort in this potential loss of the grand finals. Give your players their best heroes, their most comfortable picks. And what this Tango will do is control the backlines in a way that he wasn't able to comfortably in the last game. And as the awal-awal doang. Nanti abis itu baru kita Dyrachyo just comes in as a beast with all of this damage and takes his team to a
Ini
game
kan udah nggak kayak dulu loh, Pei.
Gue masih penasaran soal. Siapa tahu gue bisa bantai-bantai musuh ini ya, siapa tahu ya. Coba ya.
Aduh, life killer lagi.
Coy,
Peternya.
masih boxy pakai Dracula anjing.
Ini kita bisa kalah loh, Pei.
Santai. Kita punya Luna.
Kalian pada pakai itu sih kalau di sini.
Ada, Cok.
Oh, biar sama ya.
Ya udah. Aku di atas gue sambil lihat itu juga. Iya, gue udah suruh. Oi. Ya, halo. Siapa tuh? Wah, liar sih.
Tapi sama aja nggak sih sebenarnya? Sama aja nggak sih?
Antara kita menang atau kita menang ini Son, pilihannya Son.
Berapa tuh?
Ini menangis loh, Pei. Omni Knight, Pei.
Masalahnya Centaur, coy. Awal dealer, coy.
Wah, predik apa nih? Magic Pure ya, Magic Pure sih.
Jalanin aja deh, Pei.
Sumpah, ini farming gaming, coy.
Aduh. WR bisa.
Ini masalahnya di Twitter nih, Pei. Item lu udah nggak bisa di-ream loh, Pei.
I know. Cuma satu.
Masih di harga 4 belum? 5.
Wah.
Nah, gue pelantik gitu.
Well, there we have it there, Blitz. Coming with some jokes about his support. So the funny thing is, I guess this draft, so from Liquid, we are seeing indeed a bit of a change. It's not the tough Shadow Demon again this time. The claws that he was talking up there, Blitz, on his team Liquid. They're getting to play stuff that we've already seen so far this series, and it's looked pretty good, Fog.
Yeah, this time I would say their draft it's much more aggression. Last time we saw multiple different saves and stuff like that. This time it's all out, just go time. But Gaming, they've got a very formidable draft. They've got Quinn on his signature Pango that he's been waiting to bust out here. They've got this Wind Ranger with tons of amplification from the Solar Flare, from the Marcy. Should be in for a treat for this one.
We
Let's hope so.
absolutely should. Hopefully indeed. 2-0 at the moment, Liquid. Just this one game that stands between them and claiming that championship title here at the International 2024. Can Gaming Gladiators turn these things around? And as you say, the Quinn Pango coming in last. I mean, as talked about by the panel, obviously a comfort pick for Quinn, but also on paper, looking at the matchups, a good game for the Pango in general, or what do you sort of see the future being for Quinn this game?
Just has to really watch out for the puck coils for the most part inside this early game. Besides that, there's not really a BKB piercing disable. Once he gets rolling in most of these fights, he's gonna just be able to kind of commit forward there. So just has to watch out for those early initiations that come out from the puck, the silence in particular. But yeah, it can look like a very good Pango game if he's able to get through that type of stage of these silences. 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄, let's see how he's able to sustain it, because Boxy at 33, they've been menaces with this Visage combo.
Yeah, look how low 𝙈𝙀𝘄 is. He's got to be careful sneaking around the trees here. Boxy is hunting for him.
He's got power. Boxy might just be able to find him.
If he could get 2 more hits in, he'll pretty much have. And the Tango regen starting to kick in for 𝙈𝙀𝘄. I mean, either way, this is pretty painful, being forced right back from the lane.
All right, Celery, you're farming under the tower now.
All right, Celery moving up to the carry. I mean, between the parts, we have that Wind Ranger support. We'll see how much of a hit that sort of takes to him at this early first wave or so that 𝙈𝙀𝘄 just gets completely forced away from.
He got every last hit, Owen. Celery got 8 of them.
He's ready.
He literally got every single one of those last hits. So even though the Wind Ranger got 0, he did ensure to get those. And he's level 2. 𝙈𝙀𝘄. There's no level 1, but they do have that power spec of the 2 now on the Marcy. Very well done there from Celery.
And this bottom lane, they've got to be so careful again. This Boxy 33 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄 Visage. Just we've seen 33's Visage. If he starts to get these kills, get that gold advantage, this hero, especially in 33's hands, gets completely out of control.
Does get the Shadow Realm off. They've got the level 2. 𝙈𝙀𝘄 has to be super careful. If that was level 2 Boxy, that's probably a kill on 𝙈𝙀𝘄 there, because they would have had those brambles.
Yeah, he has to be
careful.
So careful here, 𝙈𝙀𝘄. whilst Liquid have this XP advantage against him in the lane.
It's tough to look away from here. We are able to glance toward the mid right now. We see Quinn doing very good in that matchup versus Nisha. Brambles come out bottom, doesn't catch the 𝙎𝘀𝘿𝘄𝘼, but Celery put low. A second Soul Assumption.
It's a lot of damage. It's from the Shadow Realm with the Soul Assumption. It's set up. First blood for 33. As I say, you've got to keep an eye on how much money this lad's going to be able to make from this lane. Getting a first blood, getting actions with the Soul Assumptions. This could be tough for Gaming Gladiators down here.
It could definitely be tough to 𝙎𝘀𝘿𝘄𝘼 in particular. When you mess up your first wave like this, and you have to just bring so much extra regen, it is tough to kind of recover when this just gets so much extra gold. You can bring all this extra mana regen to keep getting the spam going. And overall for Windranger in this game, now that we can look at a little bit of hesitation for a moment that he's not dying, there's an insane amount of magical burst for this hero. Not the tankiest if you get off to a little bit of a tough start. If they just throw constant nukes onto her early, could be difficult for 𝙎𝘀𝘄𝘼.
Quite the recovery required. 3 minutes in, just 4 last hits here so far that 𝙎𝘀𝘄𝘼's been able to find in the safe lane.
I can't even look elsewhere. I keep trying to look to a different lane to see how they're doing, but yeah, they just keep getting put so low, and the wave's going to push out again.
I think so far on the other side of the map, 𝙎𝘀𝘄𝘼 15 for 4 against the 7 for 3. Another lane in which Gaming Gladiators having a bit of a slower start when it comes to the farm in the core matchup.
This is the power of this Nature's Prophet with this Treant. The Mirana in general can't really apply too much pressure up here. You can try to like arrow this Treant and stuff like that, being able to slow down the farm of 𝙎𝘀𝘄𝘼, it's going to take quite a bit longer. Maybe when level 3 comes out onto Ace, they can look to start putting a little more aggression, but it's very good lanes kind of across the board from Liquid. It's just Quinn having that advantage in mid.
He's got to do a lot on his Pango. Well, we have seen him in the past really pop off when he gets a good start in the Pango there. He's going to have to do something crazy this game because, yeah, the openings on the side lanes are pretty much the rougher ones that Gaming Gladiators have had so far this series.
It's wild to see how much last hits the supports have. Of course, we mentioned Celery with the 10 that he had from those first 2 or 3 waves, but also Tofu's just been arrowing creeps and also getting some himself, so the CS looks pretty bad on the cores, but at the least they do have a couple extra on those supports that almost not fully even things out, but kind of do.
Trying with the jump hits, a good amount of burst thrown down over towards 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄𝘼, but Boxy is able to fight back with the Shadow Realm. He's going to try and do so, but another dispose comes in. Boxy's going to go down. Gaming Gladiators sort of baiting him into trying to take that fight back towards them. They'll come out on top of it and find a very important kill between the two of them to strike back at Liquid on this bottom lane.
The raindrops have started to come out for bottom lane. Most important thing you can pretty much buy when you're playing versus Visage, so you don't just get constantly chunked down. The damage is still incredibly high, but now you'll be able to at least survive the first 2 of those Soul Assumptions. Bottom, they also get another throwback onto 33. I don't believe they have enough damage, though.
It's pretty beefy now with the 2 braces and the wand on top of it. So a lot of burst is going to have to be thrown his way to try and take him down during this early stage of the lane.
Insania getting chased out here a little bit by Tofu. Does have the Lotus, should be fine.
As the mid matchup goes,
getting a bit more even.
It is indeed. A little bit of a catch up for Nisha. I mean, his puck play been pretty phenomenal. I believe yet to lose a game here.
He's really been pushing the limits on some of these
on top lane
heroes as 𝙎𝘀𝘄𝘼.
Talking about pushing the limits here, 𝙎𝘀𝘄𝘼 is going to get run down. Ace and Tofu chasing him off into the trees, and Insania not quite in position or having the tools to hold them back this time.
I like that's like the kind of the result of what happened when Tofu was just clicking and poking Insania on the side there. They see that opportunity to go from it. Swashbuckle, big damage onto Nisha, keeping him low.
And Quinn has hit the 6. Hard for him to make a play on his own against the puck.
Can't look to play for the power rune. It's the biggest power it takes to be there for the Pango. Is playing around that power rune early on with the Rolling Thunder, just kind of chain CCing somebody. Heavy rotations coming in. The coil catches though.
He's going to come out immediately. The silence follow up as well as the TP, and they've got the burst to take Quinn out before he gets the chance for a shield crash.
Tofu will be at least able to take away that rune, so Nisha doesn't get that refill. But Nisha, no hesitation. The second he hits 6, gets that dream coil because Quinn was still low.
Bottom lane, starting to see, 𝙎𝘀𝘄𝘼
getting better.
Indeed, he's recovering slowly but surely after what was a very rough opening few minutes to this 3rd game.
He is isolated though. We are seeing the Marcy making the moves around Celery, looking to get involved elsewhere. Insania.
It's going to be off the mark there with the rebound. Look at the pit. I mean, Insania's going to kind of bring them back over towards him there with a little bit of unfortunate cogs. The arrow angle from Tofu, it's perfect. Comes in, starts also just to the limits of the range. It's enough damage to catch Insania out.
And look at this move, the old school 𝙎𝘀𝘄𝘼 move. Quick movement, 𝙎𝘖 might not expect this.
I don't think he expects this whatsoever. See if 𝙈𝙀𝘿's got enough setup to buy time for the rest of the team to move over. Tofu's trying to head in. He's got the arrow back up in a second, leaps in for the burst damage. 𝙎𝘖, he's got no one to help out. Gaimin Gladiators. The Sprout comes out from 𝙎𝘖, it won't save him. Aggressive moves here that are really helping them just kind of alleviate the pressure that was being applied on them from the rough start to the lanes. Getting 𝙈𝙀𝘿 involved like this, it's these sort of moves that will start to get them the actual overall gold lead in this early game.
I love seeing that move. Celery just ditching bottom a bit, and then you see that 𝙈𝙀𝘿's like, yeah, well, I can just go through this gate. I don't have anybody behind me, but I can just join in to shut down this Nature's Prophet, who dies now back-to-back. 𝙎𝘖 is getting caught out early here. That level 6 is going to come out quite a bit later than they had in those last two games. That Wrath of Nature pressure is not going to be there as early as I think Liquid initially anticipated to have. They will have the 6 on 33, so bottom tower, they do have to have someone here to occupy. 𝙈𝙀𝘿 has to be careful.
He's going to get caught in the bramble. Immediate TP's coming in to try and help it out. They've got the Fiend's Gate as well, bringing in the numbers, Gaimin Gladiators, and 33 is going to go straight away, or at least try to for the Twin Gate, but the pit's there. Into the roll from Quinn. They're going to be able to catch 33 on his attempt in this game. He's bumped down to the low ground. They're still able to reach him with the damage of the Firestorm to take him out. Gaimin Gladiators making some excellent early game moves here, up and down the map, catching Liquid out time and time again.
This time they're on point with these early rotations, just like we saw in the first game in particular. Those first 10 minutes of the first game also, they did have, what, a 7,000 gold lead or so. This one, playing around this Underlord, this map mobility, it's fast.
They know that 𝙎𝘖's around here somewhere, Quinn. See if he's going to be able to bully 𝙎𝘖. 𝙎𝘖 into the trees, pops up the Nature's Wrath, the rebounds in. 𝙎𝘖, he's got no teleportation, no TP scroll, they're both on cooldown. He'll sprout himself in, but they'll still be able to reach over, take him out again. The moves continue from Gaimin Gladiators. In the mid, the jump's made, Nisha's able to burst through. Tofu did have to use the Dream Coil for that in return.
3 kills now onto 𝙎𝘖 though. He still is 900 ahead of 𝙈𝙀𝘿, at least on the gold, but those kills are definitely going to inflate the other cores there of Gaimin Gladiators. Quinn, it's just constant moves around. They are not looking to slow down, even if they don't have Rolling Thunder. They want to occupy these lanes. They don't want to lose these towers early on versus this Nature's Prophet Visage lane.
Bad dude's top tower gonna fall.
More rotations.
Trying to lead in a burst through the Familiars. He's actually able to get one of them there. Easy gold for Quinn.
And he's got Rolling Thunder up in 5 seconds, so he feels safe to do so.
Difficult for Liquid to fight into this area of the map. They have to hold back. They have got the creeps pushing in on them, so 33 will manage to keep farming safely underneath his own tower.
It's been difficult for Liquid to make that first move without coil or without the hook shot. A little difficult for them to at least get a jump onto some of these squishier heroes. I mean, again, look at Quinn. It's immediate aggression. They just keep wanting to look at this top side, keep wanting to slow down 𝙎𝘖.
I mean, eventually, 𝙎𝘖. We'll see if they catch him this time. This time he's at the deepest camp possible.
Doesn't see too much on the map either, so is he going to see this coming?
See what he wants to do after he clears up the camp.
There.
Quinn's actually bailed out. Lucky enough for 𝙎𝘖 that Quinn made that call to pick up the farm in the mid, because if Quinn stuck around, they could have had a shot at taking 𝙎𝘖 down again.
Levels on the supports for Gaimin Gladiators both have hit 6 at a good margin ahead of those supports on the side of Liquid. Big damage that can come between the two of them. The Solar Flare amping up the Marcy. This Marcy definitely has potential to even solo kill some of these cores early on because of how good of a start that Celery's had. Even though it's a 5 position, throw a Solar Flare on there, 𝙎𝘖 could definitely be in trouble.
Yeah, Tofu on top of that. You know, both of the supports on Gaimin Gladiators having, you know, maybe not to plan, but that stronger start. Cores out in the mid, the burst comes through. Quinn, not a chance to get out of this one, but maybe a chance for Gaimin Gladiators' team to find something in return as the numbers turn up. They get the big control onto Nisha, but no further burst as Liquid turn up the full 5-man here to put some pressure in on the mid lane.
They get that initial catch, the coil. It's the one thing that Quinn has to watch out for this game. If they can get burst down during that coil silence. Boxy was there for the follow-up. Nisha applying big pressure onto this mid tower here. I believe he has his Witchblade nearly finished already.
1 point cafe.
At 32, back down towards the bottom lane. Try and make sure that 𝙈𝙀𝘿 doesn't end up getting too much space.
Where did that extra catapult come from? Did that come from like top lane? 2 catapults from 𝙈 were just hitting the mid tower. It's 11 minutes in. Wait, what? That was weird. I didn't see where it actually came from. But 𝙎𝘖, he dies, but it's the thing about the Nature's Prophet is you just get back onto the map really fast and you farm super quick. So still having that disparity between him and this Wind Ranger, 1100 difference between the two of them. Still pretty big. 𝙈𝙀𝘿 is of course going to have these amp ups. He's going to have this amp from the Marcy and from the Solar Flare very early.
Wow, that's jadi farming.
Yeah, 𝙎𝘖 just keeping that difference at the least.
And Quinn wants to keep bringing the action. Down towards the bottom, him and Tofu. They want to try and find 33 ideally. I mean, they'll settle for any core.
Oh, and look at the build that 33 is going for. Just straight Crimson Guard. Knows how much physical damage they have from the Pango. Very cool approach.
And Anisha's pretty far in the mid. Finding the opening onto the puck's pretty difficult for these heroes.
That's always going to be a problem for them, is shutting down this puck. Quinn has to be careful every single time the Nisha does step up. 𝙈𝘀𝘿 can't go for that one. 𝙈𝘀𝘿 now could be in trouble himself.
Sanya's got the hook shot. They're ready to get him with the catch. They drop down the cogs. They manage to trap 𝙈𝘀𝘿. He's gone. Quinn jumps in with the rolling thunder, looking for kills in return here. Got the opening bounce onto Insania. Ace comes over with the Fiend's
Liquid's got the numbers.
He'll get caught in the back line, but Mika TPing over. The Fear catches on to both of the 33, bringing in the Familiar, having the change done to control Gaming Gladiators, take down Celery, and now turn the damage towards Ace. As Liquid, they take out 4.
Big mistake from 𝙈𝘀𝘿, trying to get involved early on. He's still so fragile. There's so much magic damage and control. Nisha just throws the coil out onto him and they bring him down. Quinn can't actually do anything with his Rolling Thunder versus this many heroes. Liquid, they've got all 5 there so fast, even versus that Fiend's game.
And they push so hard off the back of taking a fight like that. The tier 1 in the mid lane wiped out of the game.
Gaimin can't really make too many of these mistakes early on when they're playing versus this fast of a lineup. 𝙈𝘀𝘿 has to look to get involved later on. He can't be the first one to get caught like this.
I see her again.
It's way too aggressive from him. There's no way you're going to catch Nisha like this with this type of shackle shot. And even then, there's not really much follow-up.
And whilst Gaming Gladiators supports, they've got a lot of scaling. They just don't have the methods to sort of bail out of that sort of position. They can't save it.
No, and these, to be honest, those Brambles, Boxy just completely split the fight. Both of those supports can't really jump in through these Brambles or through these cogs. Very effectively. It's a perfect fight from Liquid.
It really is, and as we've seen so many times with 33's Visage, he's always there for the cleanup.
Oh yeah, that extra gold. I mean, you can just roam around as this Visage, it feels like, because of this facet, you just get way too much. And now cleaning up these Ancients on top of having that fight win. Big things going for Liquid, and Crimson Guard, it's very soon finished up for 33, so in that next fight, Gaming does have to be a bit more careful, and 𝙈𝘀𝘿 just has to get involved way later on. Quinn is very close to Blink Dagger, so that's probably how they want to look to take that next fight. But there's definitely a Nisha problem. This puck 3-0-4 so far, having a pretty much, a flawless game. The lane was a little bit difficult, but overall, all of his movements have worked, and every coil has caught a perfect target.
And we saw earlier this series what he could do on the puck when he was just completely crushed in the early game. This time around, he's at the top.
He is. Ace does have a pipe, so they'll be able to stop at least some of this big magic damage that Liquid has early on. It is pretty overwhelming, that damage and control. And their team fight overall for Liquid, it's very threatening. The team fight for Gaming Gladiators is like 90% reliant on how Quinn is able to get with the Rolling Thunder. Liquid, they have just coil, they have the hook shot, they have this Bramble Maze plus follow-up with Terrorize. They have a lot of different ways to control these fights in comparison.
Yeah, they're ready to go again, Liquid. You know, even with the last few fights, kind of Gaming Gladiators have been the ones to sort of hang into the pool with their failed attempts at starting off action. Liquid, they're not afraid to start running at them with the lead that they have. Even with this moment where Nisha hasn't quite got the Blink Dagger pickup, he's very close to the money for it, but was just looking to see if they could try their chances here. With the Dream Coil and the amplified damage route in the bottle. Bottom lane, Tofu trying to TP out, but the Terrorize it's there from Boxy. Liquid, they'll get another pick off.
And now Mika, he's got the Gladiator, so he can get involved a lot easier than 𝙈𝘀𝘿 in particular. He's got a 2,005 gold difference, and this Gladiator, it's going to be annoying for the Pango. Until he has something like a shard or anything to get this dispel, that's an extra form of catch, an extra form of just a little interrupt that Quinn can struggle versus. Liquid accelerating again here. Nisha, like you said, that blink is done. Amp damage, level 13 on this puck. Starting to get heavy momentum their way.
I'm keeping pressure on you, multiple lanes.
And Mika's just always farming. Anytime there's downtime, nature's prophet. You're always able to join every single one of these fights. Liquid, looking for this tier 2 bottom. Does Gaimin want to actually approach down here? It's dangerous.
They've got the fortification, but that might be the extent of their defense for now, Gaming Gladiators, against this heavy push from Liquid.
Look at Nisha, he's jumping in and seeing all 3 heroes there, so he knows that Gaming's potentially mounting a defense. He's got the coil at the ready.
Alright, they want to try for it, Gaimin.
This is risky. The tower's dropping. 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄 does have the maelstrom finished up.
They're bringing the whole team in for this one. Liquid, they themselves, they're also ready to return fire. Teleports at the ready for 𝙎𝘶 if he sees a chance to fight. He's also got the Wrath of Nature back off cooldown. Quinn, he'll start the action though. Looks over towards the backlines, finds the connection onto 33.
This is deep, way too deep here for Quinn.
I mean, fortunately for Gaming Gladiators, Insania is going to whiff that one. Doesn't get the connection. Gives Gaming Gladiators the chance to back up underneath the tier 2. Liquid, they may just be ready to dive it though. The comps are going to get laid down. Push back Quinn. Turn around with the shackle, but Nisha's in with the silence over towards Tofu. Tofu backs off. Solos coming in. They've got the catch with the turret. Foxy forward beautifully there. Onto the 3 of them. The Fear pushes back. They take down the Pango. They turn towards 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄. The Soul Assumption burst, bringing him low. Celery comes in with the rebound to try and get 𝙈𝙀𝘄 out of this one. Celery tries to stand his ground and fight back, but he will fall. Ace to go down as well under the tier 2. They cannot defend.
Liquid is just smashing them. Nisha gets a 3-man coil onto the most crucial target. The Pango gets controlled completely. Quinn, it feels like almost like a super ambitious move for him to dive forward there with that roll of thunder. They just disengage.
He's going to TP beyond the tower. He's going to get the 𝙈𝙀𝘄 as well.
Liquid is doing it.
Oh, kena saling gitu, tai.
This game getting massively out of control for Gaming Gladiators. Just 17 minutes in, they're down 10k gold.
They're feeling desperate. I mean, that whole fight bottom was just super awkward for them trying to force that issue there under the vision of Liquid. Liquid just resets. The Rolling Thunder connects on nobody. Now they can back up, pick up another set of pretty much full items onto these cores. Gaming Gladiators, they need more time to be able to fight, but time does not feel like it's going to be valuing them at all with Liquid getting so much.
Liquid, they don't want to give them any of that. Nisha
going for the solo play. He's got the MP.
They've got so much magical damage here on Nisha alone. The Quinn, he's gone. 𝙎𝘶, he turns up, comes and borrows the kill. After Nisha's hard work.
Hey, Nisha's just running the show.
And Insania, he's got a hook shot if they want to try and make a play here, and he does. He's going to be straight in on the attempted stop to keep pace here, control. Is there anyone else coming in to help out? Insania, he's got Nisha with the backup, jumps in with the silence on with the 2 of them. Gaming Gladiators having to keep that distance.
It's a bit deep this time from Liquid. They will reset. They don't have the damage, but the tower, it's in jeopardy.
It's going down in 18 minutes. Another tier 2 to be taken. Liquid continue to shut down the map.
What you gonna do? Get mad or get even?
Any growth from Gaming, it's just, when was the last time they actually got something going their way? It feels like a long distance memory just from the laning phase. They killed 𝙎𝘶 a couple times, but ever since Liquid just started grouping up and getting Nisha more involved with this Blink Dagger, there's just nothing Gaming can do to really fight back against all this team fight and control.
Already 19 minutes in, it feels like the toughest game for Gaming Gladiators to turn around so far this grand finals.
It's starting to feel like head-on team fights are just absolutely impossible. They have to just try to stall this game out to get more growth. Tofu trying his best.
I'm just trying to waste Liquid's time.
The birds looking to scout him out, but Tofu.
Green dude's top thing.
He's okay for now, but 33 still chasing
He's still
here.
looking, and he's going to find him. Tofu. No escape from this. Leap still on cooldown for a few seconds. 33 is going to be able to claim more money here, taking out another.
It's desperation from Gaimin at this point. They don't have anywhere they can go. They're looking to stay around their Tormentor area, but they can't even look to go for that one there because Liquid could just look to pressure here off that. Roche soon on the menu here for Liquid too. 7 to 15. They feel like they have, what, now 80% control of the map or something. Look at where Gaming is attempting to find farm. They're farming one ancient camp and a hard camp and a medium, and that's kind of it at this point.
And even around this area, they're unlikely really to be able to pull together a defense around these tier 2s. We saw them try to do so on the bottom lane. When this top lane push comes in, we'll see if they attempt to go for it again.
I mean, Quinn's farm, it's just gone. He tried to make that first move with the blink, and if you don't get that first move that catches successfully with these Pangos, it can just be devastating. We see that net worth bottom of the cores. So many different ways to address this Pango. Even if they didn't have the BKB disable, they have the ways to just chain silence and getting that Rolling Thunder.
Oh, Liquid. They're ready to keep the aggression going. Coming in with the smoke. 𝙈𝙀𝘄 showing himself on the wave.
The Wisdom Rune and that Tormentor.
Nisha gonna try and lead him with a Dream Core. 𝙈𝙀𝘄's pretty deep under the tier 2. TP backup starting to come in. Liquid, they'll dive in with the burst, the Soul Assumption. 𝙈𝙀𝘄's so low. Quinn, he'll roll a position and get the Rolling Thunder to try and escape. Liquid, they'll get turned upon it by the Rolling Thunder. Good connection on towards 𝙎𝘶, but indeed 𝙎𝘶's still got half HP to play with. The Terrorist comes out over to the side, catching onto Celery and onto Quinn. Celery, jump out over towards Ace. He'll escape, but Quinn, he gets left behind. The
Atas Om. Aduh, sekarat semua ini.
They're 2 ahead, Owen. The auras that they've got on 33, this block plus this pipe, it just keeps Mickey alive. He also has 2200 HP on top of it. They've run out of damage already here on Gaimin. Liquid can claim this tier 2, claim the Wisdom Rune, deny that away, and even potentially steal a Tormentor. And Gaimin expanded a lot to attempt for that fight and got nothing.
Yeah, they've got so many options, Liquid, on how they want to continue with this advantage. They'll opt to go for some pressure onto the tier 3s.
Look at Nisha pushing the limits here. The Charisma, the damage putting on the Celery. HP, this tower's dropping.
Tofu.
Jadi kribat
Leap
ini.
in trying to burst through some of the wave, but won't be able to stop the push to
Ya,
tower.
ya.
Ace also ready to try and come in with a deep push. Liquid, they'll respect it. They'll back off wave, at least for the next wave. We'll see if they stick around or want to back off for further objectives. Roshan would be available.
𝙈𝘀𝘾𝘄𝘼's gone all aggressive. They're feeling desperate. He's got the Gleipnir done. Can they get any pickup? Nisha's in.
Already in. He's going to jump the backline to get the size on the 2. The 3-man Dream Core comes through as well. Liquid, they'll push forward. They're happy to try and take this fight as they look straight over towards 𝙈𝘀𝘾𝘄𝑼. Hook shot in from Insania. Rolling Thunder comes out from Quinn. Look at the connection onto 33. 33 is incredibly low. They'll get him. They'll take him out with the power shot. Boxy still pushing in, is able to get the damage over towards center with the ultimate. Quinn, the Rolling Thunder comes to an end, but Gaimin Gladiators know they have to push on forward for this fight. They catch Boxy.
Best fight they've had all game here. They push them back. They get 3. Can they catch Nisha? Doesn't look like it. They almost actually got Mika as well. Very close there. 𝙈𝘀𝘾𝘄𝑼 just relentlessly chasing in. Best opportunity they've had this game.
Absolutely, and they were able to take the fight at a moment where they themselves secured the last hit on the Tormentor. They get themselves the shard.
Oh, good eye on that. I actually did not see that. That's pretty huge there. That's why there's that big swing. It went from, what, 15,000 down to 12K because they get that extra bit of increase because of that Tormentor.
Yeah, very impressive signs of life from Gaimin Gladiators considering the position they're in. We saw, Liquid, they got the Tormentor very low, and Nisha gets this good opening, jumping the backlines. They just weren't quite in position to burst and fully focus down one target this time around, Liquid, and that gave Gaimin Gladiators the chance to turn things. Quinn gets off an excellent Rolling Thunder, and Liquid, they're split side to side of the team fight.
90% of it is Quinn, right? We were saying he has to have the biggest impact possible with this Rolling Thunder. He did not get caught by that coil. If Nisha actually catches him there, could be a completely different scenario. Liquid still with a pretty massive lead, and Roche is still at their potential, so they were making the most aggressive play possible trying to steal that Tormentor. Now they'll back up for the safer choice.
Gaimin Gladiators, they're going to need to do that a few more times to be able to hold on this one. And as you say, this next time it's going to be into the Aegis push of Liquid.
But look, it's interesting the build out. It feels almost necessary for 𝙈𝘀𝘾𝘄𝑼, but it's not something we've seen every single time on these Wind Rangers. They've been adapting to get earlier BKBs, but 𝙈𝘀𝘾𝑼's just like, I don't think I can do that. I need the damage to be able to fight through Liquid's advantage at this point. So he's going for the small crit, maybe the BKB after, but you can definitely understand why he just wants all damage.
Talking about BKBs, McKay, he can let the player safe get his online. He's just about 1,000 gold away from having that on top of the Aegis. So we'll have the timing to push him with both. And Gaimin Gladiators, definitely after that hold around the Tormentor, they're going to feel a little stronger. The question is, do they want to take further risks? And the answer is yes, they do. They want to look for the smoke into the Aegis timing, see if they can catch Liquid by surprise.
That is exactly what it is. It's taking a risk, and it could be quite a big one if you do it outside the base here. Nisha is still a very difficult task to solve.
Looking to bait around the rune.
He plays it safe. He's very wary.
He's still looking for opportunities around the mid, but Liquid, they know that this sort of move now at this point is likely as the waves remain undealt with. They know that Gaimin Gladiators are smoked up and looking to try and catch them.
They just saw that power shot as well too, so they know somebody was in the area here. Tofu puts down some vision. Gaimin.
Final few seconds here at the smoke for Gaimin Gladiators. They've been hit by the scan. Liquid, they've got good information on whereabouts Gaimin Gladiators are. They know that Gladiators are outside of the base and looking to make a play. Insania is ready to start charging the walls and they get the set up. There's only onto the one of them. They'll look towards Tofu. Quinn, he's able to get the freedom to get the Rolling Thunder off. The auras are out for Liquid. It's keeping Insania pretty tanky as Tofu. He'll get left behind. As you know, the leaps are there. He's actually able to jump away just in time. The first comes out over towards Boxy. The power shot with 𝙈𝘀𝘾𝘄𝑼. Gaimin Gladiators, the first to claim a kill out of this team fight. Ace, he'll get trapped back by the cogs. The rest of Gaimin Gladiators, they will want to look to try and turn and help him out. Ace getting pulled over the harassment of the familiars. Jump forward from Quinn. He's in with the burst. Looking towards Insania. Ace still alive. Finally falls. Double kill for Mickey. Nisha, he'll jump out with the orb. 33's able to stay on top of Celery. Nuke down the Marcy here with the soul assumption as Liquid. They'll still take the fight despite despite Gaming Gladiators' willingness to try and tackle them now. Immediately on with the push. Liquid, they're up to the top set of racks. 𝙎𝘶 and 33 able to claim those. Quinn's found 33, but outside of the base, Quinn, can he get away from the rest of them? 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄 doing his best to help out as he holds Insania back with the shackle shot. 𝙎𝘶 TPing in Quinn. Can he escape this? He's got shield crash up in a second. The bleed's there. Down to the low ground. 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄 caught back in by the sprout. He turns, gets the shackle shot connection. Whirlwind out onto the two of them, but now he's trying to back away. Insania has the cogs connection. He's trapped in the cogs. 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄, he's gone. Tofu, he's got one more leap still to play with if Liquid can stay on top of him. Quinn, he's still teasing around with him. I mean, if anything, just trying to keep Liquid's attention away from the base, away from the high ground.
Fights lasted 90 seconds or something like that. And they do catch the arrow, but do they have any follow-up? Looks dangerous. Quinn's considering it.
He's tempted to try and look for these crazy plays. He knows there's the Phoenix Gate backup as X is ready to join with them. The buyback comes out from Insania. Gaming Gladiators, they're going to put everything into this fight, and Liquid's ready to try and return fire. The cogs are down. Quinn, his role is about to come to an end. He's got a few more bounces left in. Turns towards Boxy with the swashbuckle, with the shadow realms back up. Boxy's fine.
Quinn's still alive.
Quinn jumps out with the shield crash. He's walking away from this one alive. As Quinn teasing around with Liquid. And despite this 14k gold deficit, Gaming Gladiators, they continue to give Liquid these challenging team fights.
They're just trying to push the limits of their heroes. It's very risky plays that they're going for here, but it pays off. Insania buys back. They don't get that catch onto Quinn. He lives to see another day. The Aghanims is now finished. Still massive gold lead, of course, for Liquid. 𝙎𝘶 still hasn't ages for about 80 seconds, getting closer and closer to that big item, the MKB, to deal with 𝙈𝘀𝘄𝘶. Good holds there at the least there for Gaimin, but they did end up losing the objectives.
For sure. Top racks are gone. Progress made by Liquid. But without a doubt, Gaming Gladiators, Tofu dodging the hook shot. 𝙎𝘶 wants to commit, but he's careful there. Back up to Tofu. He's going to try and get the kill. It wants the BKB, but 𝙎𝘶's surrounded. He's not even going to get Tofu. Tofu gets away. 𝙎𝘶, that's the Aegis gone.
It's him versus the world.
Backup starting to move in. Gaming Gladiators, they want to try and tackle 𝙎𝘶 a second time. Shadow's in with the unleash, gets to dispose backwards. Nishi jumps in with a burst, but he can't save 𝙎𝘶. 𝙎𝘶 gets taken out.
What a beautiful catch.
Rolling Thunder's back up. He's ready for the chase down. They look for Insania. Can he get the opening connection? He can. Insania trapped against the cliff. He'll try and jet back away. The cogs are down, but Quinn's ready to dodge on through the cogs. Stay on top of him. Burns in with a swashbuckle. He's still living on a slither of health for Insania, but Quinn, he's going to blink back up. Jumps in with another shield crash. Quinn continues to toy with Liquid.
He's coming in so clutch. These catches, it's beautiful. 𝙎𝘶 not respecting his opponents. They have an advantage, but he just TPs alone in the middle of 4, trying to get a pick up on just a position for Mirana.
I mean, it was so aggressive.
It's such a risk to go for that type of play. As the first time it feels like this series that Liquid's making some big mistakes and Gaimin is capitalizing on them.
We'll see it again here, you know, Tofu just minding his own business, taunting about. Suddenly a very fun Nature's Prophet comes for him, but it's a good job Tofu. He's got the boys to back him up. They take out the Aegis at this point. Panic starts to set in for Liquid. They know they have to do something to save 𝙎𝘶. Nishi's in with a combo, but they cannot bail 𝙎𝘶 out of that mistake.
Gaimin's trying to snowball off of these kills too. They've got a moment, about 30 seconds at least till clock's up. They're trying to find another opportunity. Rolling Thunder in 10.
Quinn, he is really getting some momentum right now.
Oh, he put this TP in. 𝙎𝘶. BKB up in 1 second.
Oh no, 𝙎𝘶, BKB's back up, but they're completely on top of him. Liquid, can they bail them out of this time around?
Coil on 4.
Get the coil onto the 4 of them, and Quinn was all able to get the roll up. Can he get the angle to go back in the field? We'll push back the rest of Quinn's teammates here. The Gaming Gladiators, they've got the auras popped. Ace is ready to push on. They're ready to try and find some action for this one as the Firestorm pit. Drop down onto 33. Quinn comes in with a shield crack. They're separated 33 for the rest of the team. It's got on the side. And they've got 𝙈𝘀𝘄𝘶. Can they get more? Quinn, this time around, he's run out of options. They'll get him this time. Ace goes for the team.
Mereka mau keluar, coy.
But Liquid, they won't let Gaming Gladiators get away with that one. They felt that they had the chance to punish 𝙎𝘶 again. This time around, they did not. And as you say, at the moment, the BKB came back off cooldown for 𝙎𝘶.
Literally last second. It was 1 second when they jumped him. It came up. He gets it off. He's able to reset a 4-man coil from Nisha. And 33, I actually don't even know how much damage he tanked in that fight because it felt like they were hitting him.
Victor, ini gue mau pakai hero apa aja Son ya. Kalau supportnya berdua kayak gini susah coy mainnya. Gue dari kemarin begitu mulu. Sampai bingung coy mau main hero apa aja.
Everything dies so fast, these buildings.
Gue bantai mid berapa kali main.
He's ready to put a stop that physical damage output from any of Gaimin Gladiators' cores. The mid racks.
Ya, itu loh yang lihat tadi soal kayak gitu loh mainnya.
Gladiators back in play. Liquid will respect that.
Amp damage up top too, Nisha. He's gonna want that one. 7-1 and 14 on this puck. The damage has been absolutely insane from him so far. And 𝙎𝘆𝘆, he does have that big damage item now. On top of all the rest that he has to take himself up, the MKB is finished. Gaimin have had some decent fightbacks climbing back into this game. It's getting harder and harder, it feels like, though.
And they've never quite been able to slow down that progress that Liquid's been making throughout it all.
It's just been growing and growing and growing. And it's not just that gold, the experience is also pretty darn high. Liquid just feeling very comfortable now in these upcoming moments. 2 racks is to pressure. The lanes are always going to give all the information they need. And the scaling just continues to grow. And while for Gaimin, the scaling is mostly just still increasing on 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼. Yes, he has these amplifies, but more and more answers coming out for him.
Ooh, amplified damage and an arcane.
And an octarine that he just purchased before.
This next fight could get messy.
But they just don't really have great control to hold this puck down by any means.
Ace. They're going to try and get the jump on him outside of the base. Nisha starting to tease around. Dream got a hook shot. Not going to quite get the connection in. Now the backup comes in. Quinn with a rolling thunder, but Ace, he's out of the game. We'll see if he considers the buyback. He has got it available. Quinn turning over towards Insane and out of the side. Ace holding back on the buyback for now. So through. Quickly tops to the side. Nisha is back with a 3-man waiting with this. He's been caught in his brow. He's gone. They get 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼. They get Quinn. The buyback they have to come out now as Liquid are onto the tier 4s.
3 buybacks.
I'll push Liquid back for now.
Nisha resetting.
A triple core buyback. Liquid know if they can take out any of these cores once more, they may have just done it here.
They're just getting poked and prodded. They can't even walk up to harass anyone. 33 is taking literally no damage, it feels like.
Well, they get the jump in. So we try to open up with the Unleash. Nisha's in with the 2-man
side.
Coil is on to the 3 of them. Quinn caught in the Sprout will be able to break out. Nisha getting beaten up pretty hard by the Unleash. Boxy just toying around with the terrorized threat. 33 again, so tanky.
So
tossed back in with the Dispose, but again they're fully focusing on the terrorize. It's out onto the 4 of them. Boxy gets the setup. Celery's out. Another buyback has to come into play. Nisha, 4-man waiting rip. The buyback comes off the cards grab. Boxy toying with them all. They'll still manage to scramble their way back to the fountain though, Gaimin Gladiators. But this time, Ace, he's out for 70. Slide forward from Celery. They get the stun opening onto Insane 33, but they don't have the follow-up damage to get the kills. The buildings are being focused. Liquid looking to claim the mega creeps. Rolling for Quinn. Look at the angle to 33. Nisha, he's going to be able to kill them outside of the fountain. They're running out of buybacks, Gaimin Gladiators. Liquid, they'll get the final racks. 33, he'll fall though. He'll immediately buy back. As the mega creeps are out, Liquid, they want to keep this push going. Gaimin Gladiators, it's just 3 against the world now. The tier 4's going down. Liquid, have they done it here? The coil onto the 2 of them as Liquid are getting the space to focus down the ancient jump water. But the orders are out.
Down goes 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼.
He's out.
Liquid are doing it.
To the ancient Liquid are absolutely doing it. Team Liquid.
Unbelievable. How many series was it in best of 5 that they could not bring it to Gaimin Gladiators, but when it mattered at...
Apakah ada game lagi? Game 4?
Phenomenal. Nisha on his puck at level 118. We saw him got so far in previous TIs, so close to the Aegis. This time he's able to do it. And again, as you mentioned, so many grand finals when Team Liquid then fell at the final hurdle. And this time it made it seem like there was no hurdle at all. They stormed through these 3 games.
Only that first game, only those first 10 minutes of that first game looked problematic. These 2 in particular, they just ran the show. The entire team just looking absolutely amazing. Nisha claiming that title at 33 and claimed it for the 2nd time.
A different team, a different style, a different meta, but 33 still having what it takes, especially when it comes to him getting his hands on the Visage. Completely unstoppable in Gaimin Gladiators. So many times they managed to take the championship title in events as big as this one, but this time round they couldn't quite do it. Liquid 3-0 against Gaimin Gladiators here. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your international
Kalah Son. Kalah Kong. Udah Kong. Juara dong. Wah, GG. 3-0 jadi menangin Jay, Liquid Jay. Masih mau main nggak, Son?
Ayo.
Gue pakai apa ya? Itu gue pakai hero apa aja, Son? Bakal susah, Cok. Nggak bisa solo.
Tinggal rastanya juga nggak bisa ngelok orang anjing.
Gue mau main apa? Gue mau suruh gue deh main apa? Nggak bisa, Cok, Rio. Mainnya berdua mulu. Supportnya. Panjang game di atas mulu tuh 2 support. Wah.
Apa ya?
Inilah mengerti gue commenting. Harus autis gitu loh. Gila coy.
I don't know how I feel right now. It's a very interesting experience that we haven't had that much recently. So I don't know. I just feel great. I'm really happy for my teammates. I'm really thankful.
2 kali dong dia juara TI ya.
You know, all the normal stuff, family, friends, everyone who supported us, that helped us get here. Thank you guys so much. All the people in the arena cheering.
Ini kan mereka ditundra.
It gives us the energy. Thank you so much.
Tundra pindah ke Liquid.
Kemarin bukan SGG ya?
Lain kan. Kalau main Spirit. Spirit kan? Spirit apa ini ya? Apa Tundra ya?
Spirit lawan GG itu.
Sebelum Spirit siapa? Tundra kan?
Oh, it feels amazing just being here with the boys. I'm
glad
we get to finally win one after so many tries. And I don't know, I'm speechless.
That's all I need to hear, my man. You're a champion.
It's been a long time coming, a year of adversity through health problems, through the lows and the highs, but you have finally earned it here today. Quite an incredible year. How does it feel to go through all of that to now be a champion?
Ada temannya gitu.
I feel really good to finally win a big LAN. It's my first Dota victory, which is like a tier 1
Sedih coy film itu. Film apa namanya?
It's nice to start with a big one.
Nonton.
Mirip kayak itu coy, situasi rumah gua gitu loh.
Ada si Imas coy.
Apa itu? Ini lo mana ya Niel?
Imas lo teman kita atau teman
MS?
Iya.
Ayo Mes.
I guess with everything I have.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, man. Amazing. Anisha, my man. You've been the rock of this team for so long. You've been an unbelievable pro player. Many have regarded you in the past
Kiri aja, Pai.
greatest players of all time.
Kenapa dia mau main apa?
Tahu dia.
You named all that sucker.
Hello.
Do you feel like one of the greatest players of all time?
Maybe now, I guess.
Nah, sebenarnya dari nggak bisa farming aja. Jadi kayak ini.
Good ya, gue main hero. Gue main hero mid. Yang bener nih. Gue kalau main solo.
Ya bang. Ya.
Cuman lu roll apa?
Support deh.
Terus siapa yang main mid?
Mas kan katanya.
You have had a lot of TI appearances. This is your 6th one. and I know that you always thought that you're the best, but how does it feel to have it be confirmed?
MS mana apa MS?
Those are your words, not mine. But no, it feels amazing, and I'm really happy that we did it. I'm just very happy.
Tell me, does it ever get old winning TI, or does it feel just like the first time?
Carry kan? Jangan main mid.
Jangan main mid tuh.
Spirit lah. Buntu gua main mid gitu. Aduh, gua tuh berapa kali main Son, gua bantai-bantai pun ujung-ujung itu susah cok, mainnya gua bingung cok. Berapa kali deh, semua laning gua menang tuh, gua bantai-bantai mid itu sampai kondisinya gua 6.000, dia 3.000 dan udah main midnya coy. Gua bingung cok, masih terus mid itu gua sampai dibokongin mid. Gua bingung kenapa laning lain itu gak menang-menang ya.
And I noticed that every single time you treat it like a family. This is as much a victory for you as it is for them. You sacrifice yourself for your team. And now it's codified, my man. You are a champion.
I mean, I didn't really sacrifice anything. I feel like they took a chance on a guy who's
carry itu aja Mas, carry Willow.
We had so many losses. We had 5 years without winning anything. We could have
just
been like 20 different times like people told us to. We didn't make a TI and Liquid still kept us on. I didn't do anything here. I'm just so glad that people like Zai, Nisha, Matsu, they took a chance on us. And they were willing to play with us. And I'm so glad that I didn't ruin Nisha's career.
Mid siapa?
Mid siapa terus kalau gini? Mes, nyalakan mic Mes, lu gak mau carry.
Chloe, Jabs, KP.
Terus udah ada carry nih, Mes, sumpah gak bohong gua.
Carry aja gue mid.
Ya lu dah. Lu carry apa gue ya?
Lu mana apa sih Ursa?
Hah? Lu carry, lu mid itu point, mid below. Mending gua mid aja deh, Mes. Gimana? Lu farming aja main itu. Gua yang mouse nanti. Gua main itu nggak bisa mouse ya. Kasih gua aja, gua yang.
Team Liquid are champions, and for one last time, Royal Arena, make some noise for your international 2024 champions, Team Liquid.
Gak ada carry-nya, cok. Gak tumben. Gak ada core lagi.
What an incredible emotional note from Coach Blitz to end on there. Congratulations to your 2024 international champions in Team Liquid, and they prove that consistency pays
Gladiators
getting second place so many times. Epi, it doesn't matter if you get that
pingin orang
W
Indo
again.
menang gitu.
I mean, you heard it from Blitz. It takes a village, and the village is on that stage right now with all of them. I mean, what a hero's journey from Team Liquid. What an emotional journey. It was watching that. Just you can really feel how much this means to all of them. I mean, they've all had to go through so much personal adversity. They all have an incredible story here. I mean, Mickey from switching to mid to carry to becoming one of the best carries in the world. Nisha to finally winning a TI after looking so dominant on that iteration of Secret. 33 winning TI twice with 2 different teams with his style of play. Boxy, after all of his personal issues, who's here, and Insania finally. I mean, after his experience a few TIs ago on that main stage, to be able to still be confident, to be able to still lead his team, to be part of something, it was amazing too.
I mean, this is what TI is about. It's the years of pursuit to get to the final tournament, to finally get yourself to the Aegis. Like, every single player, their dream is to get to this position, to be able to lift it, to put your name in history. The prestige, everything. It comes down to the best tournament of the year, and the moments on Liquid, like, you can see the emotions. They've worked time and time again for multiple years. 4 years for the core of Liquid, 5 years for Nisha, and 6 of course, 33, but they got there. They get themselves in the Aegis, and this is everything.
They will go down as the most successful team in the history of TIs because they did not drop a single game when it comes down to playing from the upper bracket. Clean 2-0s, clean 3-0 in the grand finals. I've been following Nisha's career ever since he started to play professional Dota, ever since he joined Alternate Attack when he was 15 years old. This guy is only 23 years old right now, will turn 24. This guy is a beast. Always believed in him, and this is the crown championship that he needed to take to cement himself, to be immortalized in the game.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, easily one of the best in history.
Easily. I remember just an interview from Boxy just about a year ago at the Bali Major. In an interview, he said, "Well, if we can't get this trophy, if we can't win this time, then when? Then right now, T."
And that's the thing, Liquid, they showed us that Dota, it's not about trying to get the best result, it's about trying to get, you know, the teamwork, the friendship, it's like the journey along the way in which Blitz spoke about how multiple years of not getting the results, but they believed in each other. And you have to believe in your team. That's the whole point of Dota. The only way you win in Dota is to believe in your teammates. When you're losing a game, you don't call GG, you don't give up, you keep trying. And Liquid, over multiple years, had that ethos, and that's the only reason they're standing here today, holding their Aegis, and winning it after also not beating game, but finally they did.
Tahun lalu menang 3-0 loh, gila cepet. Masih banget
like for so
final.
long that Team Liquid was just always one centimeter away from greatness. They kept losing to Gaimin over and over. 5 grand finals over 2 years versus Gaming Gladiators. Only 1 grand finals versus Gaming Gladiators at TI. And you know what they do? They crush them in a 3-0 manner. They absolutely destroy them, and that just makes everything worth it. The whole journey, every grand finals loss, this is the one that counts, Chiefs.
A lot of young Dota fans that I see wearing Team Liquid.
It's the academy team.
Yeah, this is the next generation of Dota players. We might be looking at the next TI winners as well right now on the stage, beside these 5 great players, coaches, and the staff from Team Liquid.
Oh, what a phenomenal sight, I can say that. We heard that 33 is the first player to get a repeat title with a completely different team. Well, guess what? Team Liquid, the organization, is the first organization to get an Aegis with a completely different team,
I mean, it's incredible, and it really boils down to, you know, the mindset and how you want to approach it. And clearly, you know, just trust. You need to have trust, and Liquid have demonstrated that. And, you know, other teams looking at it, you know, when OG won some TIs, people looked at how OG did, they copy-pasted, and then they moved on. They're going to have to look at Liquid and go, how is Liquid able to create these moments? And we're going to see a shift in the kind of the trajectory for teams in the future. Sure.
Yeah, we are going to see a shift. We've seen shifts before. Every TI victory has had an impact on the scene afterwards. We've seen a lot of new players after Team Spirit's first victory, as there were a lot of first-timers in there. We've seen a lot of people following the footsteps of former championships, and I think that this impact, FE, from Team Liquid just promotes finding the right people.
It really does. It's just about connection. It's about how you as people can create a product that not just wins, but shows that you can win through friendship, through resilience, through effort. And this is just the triumph of Spirit here. They've lost so many times to get up after losing so many times. And to be standing here right now as the best team in the world, we can't even emphasize how great it's been for them. It's just unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, but we better believe it. Team Liquid, your TI 2024 champions, they will be having their name on that Aegis. They will be going down in history as the most successful team at an international to never drop a game in playoffs. It is unheard of. It is unprecedented. And I do think that we're going to remember Blitz's speech for a little while as well.
I mean, we're still recovering from it emotionally on the panel. I mean, you can hear it in our voices, but it's like he said, Chiefs, they are the most dominant team at a TI. They did not drop a single game. From all of those losses to not losing a single game to being the best by far. I mean, if you watch them at this tournament, you can say with confidence, you can say with confidence that every single player on this team played their best Dota. Every one of these players contributed to these wins. It wasn't, oh, one player carried, one player played exceptionally well. I just saw 10 out of 10 Dota from everyone.
Yeah, I really did as well. Of course, if you want to hear more about the controversy, there are a lot of sources online. There's documentaries on Boxy in particular, even on his struggles that he suffered through. But overall, this whole team coming together at exactly the right time and believing in each other, that is the lesson, Lacoste, that we'll take away from this international.
Yeah, never give up, pretty much. This is the motto of this team. Dota is a team game after all, and ever since this team has been formed, I feel like they're a big family, you know, one big organization, that they have everything. They show it to the world that they are the best today. As we can see, like, there's a billion interviews out there. Every single time I watch them play, I listen to them. These are the guys that should be your Dota 2 role models.
They are our Dota 2 role models, and they will get a well-deserved break, of course, after this as well. It has been a long road to get to this point. A lot of matches to get to this point. Maybe not as many as there could have been if they went through the lower bracket, but this is the way that Team Liquid plays. It is all in, and it is, in this case, all upper bracket. I believe Team Liquid TGov now has done it both ways, with their first Team Liquid roster going through the lower bracket, and this one upper bracket.
And how do you top this though? The fact that you don't drop a single game in playoffs, you did 3 of the grand finals as well. Like, how does a team ever get close to this type of dominance out of TI? Like, what, you have to never drop a game in groups? You've got to never die in a game in the playoffs as well? Like, it's like near impossible. And again, look at the entire support network of this team as they've moved throughout multiple tournaments throughout the year to get to this position, to learn so much. Incredible, truly incredible.
Yeah, and it is easy to see these players and these coaches and the manager and think of the year they've had. But I want you guys to think of the career that they've had to get to this point. It wasn't just, oh, I'm joining Team Liquid, so now I'm going to be successful. No, it was the whole road to get to this point from the moment they first booted up their Dota 2 game.
And also got to black out the haters, right? Like, how many times, like Blitz said, how many times has, you know, social media, Twitch chat, I see you, you know, they tried to do their thing to, you know, change up the roster, to change it up, but, you know, they had just, you know, they focused up, and here they are. You're wrong, Twitch chat, sorry.
Deep breaths, guys, deep breaths. It's been a long road. It has been 2 weeks of amazing Dota 2, top-tier teams in the world here in Copenhagen going against each other. And it is time to get some final thoughts out from my panel as, this has been an emotional one, Lacoste.
Oh, absolutely. Like, we've seen some great stories. We've seen Synderen, we've seen proposals, we've seen Team Liquid, you know, after losing so many times, now finally lifting the ages. You know, cinema, absolute cinema coming out from them, and we got to give them the hands down, because this team definitely deserved it here.
They really did. I mean, what a beautiful crowd, what beautiful stories. It was emotional, like Lacoste said, but just being a part of it, being involved in this capacity, and just hearing the energy from the arena every day, hearing their unwavering support for the players and the teams that they loved, it's just a reminder that we are the best gaming community. This game has been around for so long, and it's TI. This is just TI vibes too.
I mean, it's the international. It's the best tournament of the year. You know, the players, they love it. The fans, they love it. The crowd, they love it. The aura, everything. It is the best tournament without a shadow of a doubt. And I look forward to, you know, the stories for future years to come.
I also look forward to the stories from future years to come. We've seen that ages. We can all do the math. There were 7 empty spots on the back in the new ring that was placed, with the victory of Team Spirit last year being the first one there. So, you know, we got a couple of years ahead to fill them up for sure, but Team Liquid, they have immortalized themselves as the team to be on that ring, on the back of that Aegis. We're not left empty-handed. We know that with Crownfall Act 4, we'll get, first of all, to play Crownfall Act 4, which I'm incredibly excited about. We get Kez, a samurai assassin, bird assassin. I don't know if it's a samurai. Bird samurai? Bird samurai. That's what we're going for. But that's all we have for now. I don't know when Act 4 comes. I hope it's very soon. What I do know is that we are going to say goodbye to you for this evening. Thank you so much for joining us from all around the world.
Mas, ini kasih gua aja, biar bisa kasih teman aja ini Mas ya.
You've been amazing. Team Liquid, congratulations once more on an amazing and fantastic title. And on behalf of everyone that you saw in front of the camera, but also everyone that you saw behind the camera, the team working around the clock to make this moment here happen. Thank you, and we wish you all the greatest of nights. Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody here in the Royal Arena, please make some noise as we'll open it in style.
Kacau banget, Cok. Son, tahu, tapi kenapa lu gue muter ke situ? Astaga. Ya gue cek loh, gue udah buka map Son padahal. Aduh, gue habisin waktu, coy.
Sama anjing, gue udah geru deh.
Enggak, tadi itu bisa dapat, cuma lu. Wah, mati lagi, coy.
He pretty much fully heals. Falcons survive. Now tap out. GG is called. Falcons dominate game one. They're gonna get 4. It's snaking against the wall. But it's not gonna succeed. Oh my
Astaga, bisanya coy.
They're turning the game around, folks.
DY starting to fall. Ame there too. Getting away. Time zone finally gets dropped. It's on to 23-7. He doesn't have any way to go either. XG, they're going to win the game.
It all comes down to this. Can they get Watson? They've got him. Watson dead. One fight is all it takes. Liquid will take the 2-0. He's got an Aegis. He's got some time walks. He's gonna have to make some smooth moves.
Udah, kenapa gak ini Messi ini? Astaga.
Ame sitting up in the back, jumps through the trees. Wukong's command, dead center is Pure, and he's already been hit by some stuns. They are all in to kill the low drone, but Pure got his BKB up.
Muerta's gone. Ace does not have what it takes to take down the rest of Liquid. They are way too strong, and they fought out for this fight.
Gue bingung mau main role apa, gue nggak tahu, Cok. Gue bingung banget cuma main Dota, gue nggak ngerti.
Left in the tank. GG is called. Tundra eliminate Falcons.
Diam deh.
Are they going to go up to top lane? They're going to go through the gate. They're going to go straight for the throne. All in on this one. They pop their beat. They go straight for the throne, and it is all over.
Liquid, they're onto the edge. Gladiators haven't got anything to stop this. They do not. GG's going to be called. Liquid take game 2.
Ini Son harusnya Son.
Gua ada ulti kok.
Anjing kurir gua gitu lagi. Anjing lah, gak tau gua bingung coy, sumpah. Dan tadi tuh jangan incar PB Son, sumpah. Tadi tuh jangan PB coy. PB tuh gak bakal nge-kill. Gak bakal nge-kill tadi, mending incar WD. Jalan terus coy. Wah, gue bingung coy, gue bikin waktu doang. Zeusnya farming coy. Udah farming. Gak ada yang
Ini paket banget lagi anjing.
Gak bisa coy, gak tau kah.
Mas. Wah.
Anjing.
Power shot from downtown.
Duh, gue denger dulu si Fanny gila, Cok.
Tahu, so coba bukan itu. Duh, kalau